But we need to. Everything needs to be rolling, and then when everything's rolling, we'll just start in there. So we're not like pause it. Welcome. You know what I mean? It has to just be rolling. So
I feel like we should just go ahead and hit record right now, and then whenever I think we'll eventually just fall into it.
So everyone just start it up. Facts. And then it'll just be the opener.
This will be the opening right here, a little cold open.
What's your angle? Okay, that's nice.
Yeah, I look sexy over here.
Christ. Man, cheeching away.
Little Chiefer Chief.
Ooh, I can wipe it too, dog. Shit.
Man, it's like, let me make this sure it's nice and clean for you. Nice and clean.
Yeah. I guess it's better. I was going to have the three of us like this, but...
I like this setup. I like being able to look at y'all.
This feels like... Yeah.
So I was at work the other day, and some of my coworkers were like, "You listen to country music?" And I was like, "I don't necessarily dislike country music, you know what I'm saying? Just like not my go-to listen, you know."
Yeah.
I'll listen to it if somebody else is playing it, but like, so anyways, he was like, how I think of country music, especially the sad country music, is just farmer emo.
Facts.
Because he likes like all like the hardcore, like post-hardcore, metalcore sounding bands, you know what I'm saying? So he's like, I think of it as farmer emo.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
There you go. All right, well, shit. I guess let's begin.
Yes, sir.
Here we are. My name is Eddie. This is Ryan.
Jason.
This is let me introduce
My
you.
bad.
Let me introduce you. This is Jason.
Yeah.
And we are OOA, Oceans on Arrival. Thank you guys for tuning into the podcast. We got a lot to talk about today.
Episode 0, okay.
Episode 0. I'm going to start with Jason, because he has more songs on his album.
Well, first of all, they don't even know what we're talking about.
That's all I'm going to get in there.
All right.
I mean, unless you want to do it, you got it.
No, you got it. Right.
But, so we're going to be talking today about Here I Am, which is Ryan's album, and Endless Destination, which is Jason's album. And that's pretty much all I had to say. And if you want to add anything else to it.
No, that's it. My bad. I didn't mean to. You had it. I thought you better just ask a question right away.
I wasn't going to just dive right in. But,
I was like, all right, well, they don't even know.
Balls deep, right?
Yeah.
But I'll start with Jason. So the first song in your album is called Knock Knock. And the first thing you hear on that album is I think it's like cicadas or something. Or what is it?
Cicadas is the
cicadas, word. Yeah. And that just it kind of catches my attention. The first thing because most people don't use bugs.
Oh, like the rickety sound.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
To create a sound. I think that was pretty unique in what you did there. So you want to talk about that a little bit?
Man, the intro. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I just like having those song intros where you just you don't just come in right away. Sometimes it's cool just to come in right away, but just where you kind of especially if it's an intro for the album, so you want to kind of set a vibe. So that boom 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 with all the rickety sounds, it kind of sets a tone for what the record's gonna be an album, and then also for the song. So just the opening, just to kind of come in, then you come in with the vocals with no drums. It's almost like this open space, this a proclamation. And then if the drums come in.
Facts.
So, yeah, get the vibe right.
One of your lyrics just says, "I'm not lost, but nobody wins."
I am not lost, but nobody wins. Yeah.
So you want to talk about that? What were you feeling in that moment when you were recording that?
It's I feel like saying I'm not lost, but nobody wins is it's saying I'm not lost, I know my way, I know what I'm doing, but that doesn't mean that I'm better than anybody else, or that I'm somehow winning just because I have a direction. But it's reality is the world is the world, and what everybody does affects everybody, whether we know it or not. So it's I'm not lost, I got my bearings in order, and I'm doing what I feel is right, but it's still nobody actually winning, because we don't have world
There's no
peace.
Finish line.
Yeah, we're not there, so... even though some people have what appears to be glory or whatever, money, fame, stuff like that, or success. But in reality, if not everybody can have it, then nobody's free. So, I'm not lost, but nobody wins.
And then there's a drop in the song. It's just like right before it's like nobody's home, nah, nobody home, nah. That drop where like you just get silent. Mm-hmm. You hear like the ambiance start creeping back in, like all that crickety sound, like how you're referencing it, right? Yeah. And then it just like drops.
Yeah.
And then like you go back into it like really hard, and like that was sick. I like that a lot. Oh yeah. I just wanted to mention that if you had something you wanted to add.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that earlier today because I was driving in the car and I was listening to that part. And it made me think I was just like, I feel like for that, like the nobody home is like, you know, I feel like a lot of people you talk to are just like people are just unconsciously going through life. So a lot of times you don't get to the point in conversation where you actually have a real conversation because nobody's home.
Right.
And it's like nobody home, knock knock. Like you're trying to see when you have a conversation, are you there for us to have a conversation? And then if you're not, it's like that's why it's like nobody home, knock knock. I'm all alone, knock knock. Every knock knock is like going to the next person trying to have a conversation, but you can't really always get there. So it's like, you know. Nobody home, knock knock, I'm all alone.
Facts. I like it. I'm gonna go ahead and do the next song on your album.
Okay.
Called Laced in My Blood. We were talking about this the other day. I was saying how I really enjoy like putting like foreign words into songs, right? So like you have I can't even remember what the line is. It's there's something that just popped in my head, but I can't remember. You had two songs that were in two words that are in Spanish.
It says, Ben, are we going to swear or no? Are we swearing today or are we not swearing? Can we swear?
We can swear.
I don't think so.
PG-13.
Yeah. What does that mean?
Like, no F-bombs.
Okay. Well, what was the line then? What's it say? I said, Ben real as F.
Uh-huh.
They ain't get enough once they understand back for more. Adios, be por favor. So that was the line. I just coach you just barely sure. Yeah. So.
Well, I just enjoy
facts.
Like, you know, bringing in like other things, give you something else to think about.
Some flavor.
Yeah. Because when you're always in English, like you can kind of go on autopilot when you're listening.
Yeah.
But like when you have something like new in your ears, like you use the word ear candy, and I like that analogy because like it's just something like new popping in your ear. Yeah,
because you hear English the whole time and then you just switch language real quick and then it's like, even though it's just small, but it's still it's a little your brain has to wire a little differently.
Yeah,
I like doing that to catch because I feel like when I was first making music, I would like just make a loop and that would be the whole song, just an 8-bar loop repeated. But then it's like after a point where the beat never changes, people can just kind of drone into the back of it and they don't really actually listen. So like having those moments where you can just try to catch someone's ear, like what we did. Well, that would be later for him, but
go ahead and say it.
One of his records. What's the one we did? Is it Riding Through the City? Yeah, Riding Through the City is full of ear candy. Like he has the alien line, then I have like the woo come in, and then he has like the when the wall comes down, then we have this crashing noise. There's one other one in there. I forget. What is it?
There's other helicopters in there.
Yeah, there's that for the ambiance and stuff. But during your verse, there's 3 different ear candy sounds that come in. And we used Alien for my verse too. Gunshot's on a different song.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sweet.
But anyway, I like stuff like that because it gets your attention back. Otherwise, you just like, you kind of drone into it, which is okay. Like if you're meditating for like meditation music, you want music that kind of lulls you into it. But then if you're trying to get someone's attention, it's like you want to have something to snap them into it. So I always like doing stuff like that, or drop the beat out. So it's like if you're just kind of numb and then the beat drops and then you bring it back in, you know, get the rhythm.
So I'm going to switch over to Ryan for now. How I want to start your portion of the interview is talk about your cover art.
Oh, the cover art. Oh, okay. Well, we'll bring it out.
So
since you brought it up so fast. Oh, we got a reflection in there. There we go. Slide it like that. Boom. Yeah, there we go.
Fire.
Yep. What do you want to...
Well, I mean, I know there's a lot of hidden messages.
Oh, yeah. Those would be for the interpreter, I would say. Maybe if we talk in person, we can... You know, because there's a whole bunch of different stuff in there. I think that, you know, the one side... I think it's a duality of life, of one side being so, like, third-dimensional, black and white, you know, barren world-type vibes versus, like... light coming through and road maps and color intertwining and just like the whole other like beautiful side of life that some days you feel like that and some days you feel like you're in this like Matrix type, everything's lost vibe, right? So, but I definitely, I think it was important for me to do this because when I graduated, I came and just hopped into his vibe. Really, he was just already making music, and then he got me to like get verses out and start this and that. But then we got to a point where it was like he had said everything he had to say, and I still had a lot to say. So I felt like when you look at it, like I didn't want it to be like Oceans on Arrival, but like Bob Marley and the Wailers, where it's like Jason and everyone else. Like I think it was more like the Beatles in the sense where everyone has their pillar, and without each pillar, it's not the same as what it would be. So I think that this is just the beginning of the foundation of my pillar. Well, now all those other songs and floors that we made are connected on multiple sides, not just standing on one leg, you know. And I think that was important for me to get it done, because now after I've done it, like I feel like free again, or there's nothing else that I have to do. It's just more or less like, what do I want to do now, you know? So
the burden has been lifted.
Yeah, so that was important. The cover was something that just came to my mind, and the sketch was nothing near to what it looks like now, but it was like if you had like a blurred, like if you didn't have, you know, when you go like search for an image, it's like, oh, like sign up here, and then you can see the image. It was like that, where it was like blurred. I could see it, but I didn't have it. It's like wasn't right there. Like you couldn't grab it, and now it's like there. You can grab it. You can put it on a T-shirt or whatever you want to do with it. But I definitely want to blow it up and put it on a big thing. But yeah, we'll let the viewers see what they see and point it out. You know.
Like that answer.
Yeah,
that's fire.
So then your first song on your album was One Taste.
Mm.
All I wanted.
And you released that 2 weeks before you posted the album.
Yeah.
As a single with the music video drop.
Yeah.
So what was like? Why do you think it was necessary to do it like that?
I just felt like it didn't see, like I don't think that it would be like super crucial, but I definitely thought that for anyone who was tuning in or whatever, just give them like a little taste of what it would be and create even a little bit of excitement, even within myself, just hearing it on the Spotify and being like, oh, like it's out. And then getting the video done, like, you know, you're in a time crunch, but you still get it done, you know. And the weather on that day was just perfect. It all aligned for the video to come together. And, you know, it just felt like it was necessary because now, like, if you go look, there's at least something there for now. And then this will come out and everything else will come out following it. And there'll be more and more and more. But for now, it's like a good, like, it's something good to have, I feel like. It's a nice, you know, 3-minute watch, you know. So.
Oh, yeah. It's a great video.
I mean, and this song is one of those songs that you just like, you're right place, right time, had to come, had to do it. You know, wasn't thought of before or anything like that. It just naturally got made and just came out and it was like, damn, this is a beautiful song and almost one that we needed at the time. And we had it for a long time, you know, and eventually it was like, oh, we'll put it on this project, and then it like changed the whole like landscape of how the project was gonna go and what songs would be on it. And I was gonna put the second song, Mirror Mirror, actually first.
Okay.
But then through deliberation with One
I
Taste,
thought One Taste should be first.
it just kind of hit. And then getting to like the last song when I showed my friend the last song, he was like, oh, that should be the outro, and I was like, yo, you're right. So then I did that to One Taste, and he was like, yeah. So it was just like that flow. If you like just ran the album right back into and kept it on a loop, you would flow right back in. So just when I had those two, the end and the beginning, it was like, okay, now I'm just gonna map out the middle route and figure out how I'm gonna get
how we get to this destination.
Yeah, in the balance of like knowing that in today's world, how many people click all the way down versus like reward, like not sacrificing the pathway of the album just to have, oh, I think this song is better than this one, or this one people might like this one more. So so I just like eliminated all that and just was like, all right, if these are gonna be the two, like, how does it really flow? And then like I had it, and then like I think I switched like 1 or 2 songs, and then when I switched that, it was like, all right, that's it. So and then
yeah, I mean the Living a Dream in this One Taste, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves right now,
but it connects because that's how the album started.
The first
really.
time I heard that, I was just like, yeah, because it reminded me of and I'm gonna reference Mac Miller here. You've
Rest in
listened to
peace.
Circle's album, right?
Yeah.
And how it's just like one giant circle. The last notes that clash, and it begins on a what's the word for it? resolution.
Mm.
And like now yours isn't necessarily a clash, but like just like the notes just flow in so well.
Yeah, definitely.
They could be the same song.
Yeah, it
How
definitely goes
easy it
full
flows.
circle. So I definitely like it. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
pop back to
One
Jason.
taste.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
it
song, One Taste, though, to add to that before we skip, that one was cool because I remember I came home from whatever I was doing, and like he was in the studio, and at this point in time when he was making music, I just stayed away from him, like period, because I knew that if I got in the studio, I was gonna have some sort of influence of what was going on, just from even understanding myself. Like if I'm making music and someone walks in who wasn't there when we started, the vibe changes, and then you start thinking. It's like when I like to make music where there's no, it's like one mind, where every single person who's there, we're all tuned in, so it becomes this thing where you're not thinking about what other people are thinking or whatever, unless you're like, yo, do you like that, for whatever, but almost like you don't notice anyone else is there. And so if you walk in mid-session, it's like you're gonna influence it, because it's like now it's like he's making this beat, and it's like if I walk in, it's gonna influence what he's doing. I don't want to influence it, because at this point in time, just like you said earlier about building his pillar, that was something that I was like, he needs to do that. He needs to build his pillar and just establish himself, and I can't help him with that. He's got to do that himself. So I didn't even. So I went and showered, and then I just heard, as I got out the shower, I just heard the beat, and I was like, bro, that is crazy. I was like, got dressed real quick because I was like, I need to get in there. Like, what's going on? And I walk in, and he's sitting there just like turns like this, like looking back, and he's like, I was like, yo, this is, I don't even know what I said. I was like, this is fire, something like that. And he's like, yeah, I just don't know what else to do with it. I was like, nothing, bro. Like, it's done. Like, at the point where it is, like, it's done. You don't need anything else. Because you're trying to add another sound. I was like, nah, like, this is it.
Like, yeah.
And that's when I was just like, for the idea, I was just like, I have this idea, but in a high-pitched voice, be like, all I want is one taste. I just want to hit right now. And then I think maybe I had the next line, that'll make me feel okay.
And we definitely played around.
And then I didn't have the last one. And I was like, what? I don't know what to do next. And then just when you came in, can anybody help out? And that was that.
Yeah, that's definitely like gonna be top 5 for a while. Like we're gonna have to make something that's like completely crazy to beat it out. I don't know. I feel like I don't think it's a triple entendre the right word, but like the whole verse is like I'm speaking to like 4 different entities almost, where every line I could be like use it in this if I'm talking to you or talking to this or talking to that. It's all coinciding where all like would fit and work and would be like it's just unified where it's like truly how I felt, because I could use this in every scenario.
Like one taste could be like one taste of like whatever
That's exactly what I was about
your
to say.
addiction is, like you just want one taste, like you just want to hit right now, or it could, like for the music being like we just want one taste of that, we just want to hit, we want to make a hit, we want to hit, we want something to land with the people, so it's like we just want to hit right now. And then one taste could also be sexually driven.
Right, I mean, there's a lot of different.
Yeah, there's a lot of
I just want that one thing to make it. And I know if I get this one thing, I'll be good.
Yeah,
exactly. But
it's just that like that urge.
After that,
who knows?
And some people like get it like
you feel all right.
Like right away, like right when you wake up. Some people get it, and some people takes them all day. Some people it takes like 2 years to finally get, or even 10 or whatever, to get whatever that taste of what they're looking for is. But they're always some people might never get it. So it's just that longing for like that's really all you can want is that like. In that moment, you know? So, but then at the end of the day, what happens was you have the song. So it's like now at the end of the day, no matter what, you got this song. And that's all we wanted anyway, right? It was just to get whatever we were feeling, just get through that part. And now I always have it. It's always like a jar I can open up. And, it's like one of those like roadblocks where it's like finally like broke down that one. Now there's like all these other ways you can go now because you got through this level of the game or whatever you want to call it.
Right, no, definitely.
So.
Oh, I feel like that's a good transition right there into Invisible Spaceships. That's the third song on Endless Destination for Jason's album.
Yeah.
And I will say that one's a weird one.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely a weird. It's one of my favorites, but it's definitely a weird one.
Yeah, most definitely.
I catch myself singing in the shower sometimes, like, when I'm hungry, I eat a fat sandwich.
Yeah.
It's like, that one part just, like, hits, bro. But, I mean, you talk about a lot of different things in that song. It's like the moon landing never happened. It was me and my pet dragon.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, what are some of these conspiracies that you're talking about?
Oh, man. Song? I mean, first and foremost, I always like to say I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I only deal with facts. Because at the end of the day, it's like this, you can believe something, and you can know something and there's a difference. So to believe it, you have to not know. Like, for example, you know you love your family. You don't have to believe that.
Right.
You don't have to be like, oh, I believe I love my mom. Like, I know I love my mom, period. Like, that's it. There's no belief. You don't have to. So the stuff like all
There's
that.
no doubt in that.
Yeah. The things like all that kind of stuff and the conspiracy theories, like, I don't really believe in any of them where I'm, like, willing to bet my life on it if we were rolling the dice. But it's like, I like the idea of playing around with those things and seeing, well, okay, well, let's poke some holes in some things and let's see what actually lands, because not everything lines up correctly. And if it all lines up correctly, cool, but, you know, a lot of things just look a little weird from the distance. So.
Definitely just opening the conversation. Just get that conversation started.
It's not really about, like,
is,
you know, but it's like, well, you know, who knows what's going on or whatever. So I'd rather be the one with the open mind, like, wondering, than the one who's just like, nah, like, that's legit or that's not.
Like, there's no way that's happening.
Yeah.
So, like, going back to, like, the black and white.
Yeah.
You know, and saying the third dimensional point of view.
Yeah. So in that thing, it's kind of opened up that space, and it's also just channeling a different energy of just, like, you know, the songs that are, like, weird like that. It's like you gotta just whatever comes, just let it happen, and instead of, like, being like, oh man, like, people are gonna think that's weird, and then they'll look at me like that's weird. But it's like, you know, you can't live life like that. You can't live life like I'm thinking about how you're gonna react based on my action. Then you're always clammed up like this, waiting for someone else to do something, then you do something. So it's like you kind of just have to set the tone and just be like, this is what I'm thinking. What do y'all think? And just be like that. So if it's weird, it's like, well, this thought passed through my mind. I might as well share it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then just let it be whatever.
So, what's your pet dragon's name?
I don't know. I have no idea. Pet dragon. Charmander.
I like it. Okay, Charmander the pet dragon.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hopefully we don't get copyrighted.
Yeah, that's charm. I mean, you know, I don't know. That's the first thing I thought of.
Doesn't mean it's spelled the same, you know what I'm saying? You just say it.
And I have one more question. It's like, were you hungry when you made this song?
You know what? The reason I wrote that, when I'm hungry, I eat a fat sandwich, is because, and actually, I, like, wrote that. The second line where I say when I'm hungry. Before that, I said I eat a fat sandwich. Like, okay, I say when I'm hungry, I eat a fat sandwich, and then I'm like, focus on these lines, kind of feeling like a sandwich. The other way I say it is what? I eat a fat sandwich when I'm hungry. Focus on these lines. So I flipped it the way I said it. I can't really remember which way I wrote it, but I ended up, like, messing up mid-thing how I wrote it, and then I just went with the other one. And I can't remember if I freestyled the beginning or the end, or I just kind of flowed off what I had and just pieced it together. But the reason I wrote that line that came in my mind is because one time I bought this big loaf of bread, like a full actual loaf of bread, cut it right down the middle, got a whole head of lettuce, a bunch of tomatoes, put a bunch of stuff on it. And I cooked something. It was like I had some cooked thing on it. I can't remember what it might have been, some like tofu or something. I can't remember what I put on it, but
sounds good. Whatever you made.
I made this huge sandwich. It was literally like a baby, like massive. And I wrapped it in like tin foil, and I was just like throughout like 3 days just piecing down this sandwich. And so it was literally the fattest sandwich I ever had in my life. And so that's how I thought of that. I was like, when I'm hungry, eat a fat sandwich, because it was literally like,
yeah, that's
So
hilarious.
we're gonna have to do that sometime for the podcast.
Yeah.
Jason eating this fat sandwich.
exactly. Or just for the music video, just the building of the fat sandwich. Like, that's the whole video. Like, no words or
Right.
anything. Yeah, it'd be funny.
Now I guess I'll hop into. Well, actually, I'll go back to Ryan. We'll go Mirror Mirror first. And so there's a lot of reference in this song.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you're saying you're referencing the mirror, mirror. You know what I'm saying? Who's the one who can change it all? Asking like the questions.
Yeah.
In the mirror, and then you also have the got out quick like Peter Rabbit.
That's a different one.
That's
is
a
it?
different song.
I think
no,
so.
That's,
Yeah. That's on what song is that called? Relinquish Control.
Messing up his
It's
It's
detail.
all good.
Up.
It's all good.
You know, it's all part of the same feeling.
Yeah, I'm
though,
just-
you
Yeah,
know?
it's all
Okay.
aligned, put together.
That's free to be. That was free
Yeah.
to be. Yeah.
Facts. I was wrong
So
too.
he
So-
knows his stuff.
I was wrong too.
That's a test.
I said relinquish control, so I was wrong too.
He's just testing you.
Yeah, it's all good. But I think Harry Potter's in there.
There's a Harry Potter.
Yeah,
Sorcerer. I
that's-
got the stone and
Yeah.
So
There's a big one.
The fan stone or no?
It's actually, in a way, it's like not exactly how it happened, but the line like that in the lyrics so made it sound like.
So
good,
like when you make music, do you try to make a lot of references, or do you
Actually,
feel like
I had a thought that I would have when I'm speaking, my metaphors are like infinite. I can go all day. I can give you metaphor all day. When I've been making music, I just felt like this beginning point for me was really just getting how I felt out. So it wasn't about to be so clever or to be so, let me hide all these things. It was honestly to be the most upfront as possible. How do I get as like most honest and blunt as you can? So in some ways, like I've just been influenced by Harry Potter my entire life. Like, I saw every one in theaters. I haven't read the books yet. I'm gonna do that, but like, just for whatever reason it stuck with me. So then like in that moment I was making that song on the mirror, and then like I just pictured like Harry in like the room with like he's fighting Voldemort for the first or the second time,
right?
And it's like, and then basically that line just like lined up where just like it all just kind of came into me, and I was like, oh shit, that's clever, that's dope. So then it just kind of fell in, but like, so I feel like I could have more metaphors in my lyrics, but for whatever reason, the past little bit I've been making music has been more just upfront, solid, like try to like I'm not trying to trick you,
And like that's a great word to use, because I was about to say the most direct way to communicate with someone is to just be direct with them rather than using metaphors.
Mm-hmm.
But it's safer to be metaphoric at this point, in the way of society and the world.
In some ways, But I feel like
But I do agree with you.
When you give a metaphor, you give it open for interpretation. But when you're giving a literal, like if I give you a fact statement, like what Jason was talking about earlier, facts are facts, conspiracies are conspiracies. If I give you a fact statement like your color is white, blue, and red, that's a fact. There's nothing changing that. But if I say,
I should take some acid.
Right. If I say like his shirt matches his expression, even though like you have a very basic, but it's like kind of like tribal and colorful and everything like that. But like that leaves it up for interpretation.
Yeah, definitely
like,
a vibe.
Everybody sees your expression differently.
Yeah. And honestly, for the hooks, like that was just an honest question.
That's all right.
Like it's just an honest question. Like mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the one who can change it all? Like who is the one who's gonna like say something or do something like so crazy that like people who are not doing anything are just like, oh my god, and they start doing things like what they're what they want to do. Like if I want to like cook for 1,000 people, like how do I do that? Or if I want to go on stage, or if I want to like make a movie, like how do we get these things, how do we get it going where people are just doing what they want to do and what they're here for, versus like what they're told to do and got pushed into a box where now they have to pay to live, and they're in debt, and they're like always chasing this never ending goal of trying to be free, but like reality they just like continually going down the cycle by following what they've been told the whole time. It's not going to get them to where they want to go. Like that's the point of it all. Just work so the other people get rich.
Yeah, definitely.
So then it was like, mirror on the wall, who's one to change it all? Save the world, find the peace. Mirror, mirror, what do you see? Like asking a question, like what do you see? Anybody? Like what do you see? I hear a call behind the wall, like just right around the corner, right there. You can hear like there's something there. Find that. And then Definitely. At the end it's asking like, is it me? Is it me? And if it's me, what can I do? So that was just more like honest question.
And that sets you up a lot for like your next couple songs.
Yeah, so that's why I put Mirror Mirror up there, because I wanted that to be number one. I wanted Mirror Mirror because that's what I felt was my like state. When I made that, I was like, bam. I was playing it overnight. My mom was like, oh, which one's that one? Like I didn't see it out. I was looking for like Mirror online. I was like, that's not out yet. I just made it yesterday, But she liked it. And that was like one of the first ones she liked right off rip. Like wants it. She wants it. So I was like, all right. So I sent her the file on Bluetooth. And I was like, you can't share anybody. Don't share it. You can't show. Like if you see people, you can show them, but you can't send it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not done. When we were going around the country, it wasn't the same song as to what it got to now. Like we got to a better point where even you said like. I remember talking about one time, I was like, oh, this is a great song, but if we don't get to this, like, it could not have its full potential, right?
Yeah, so then I remember that slightly on the journey. Yeah. I was talking about it, but then, I remember exactly what we were talking about.
And I remember you saying this to me afterwards, like, after you heard the second, like, when we got it to, like, mixed it and mastered it and stuff like that. In some ways, like I like the rough copy. Like I just like not mixed, not mastered. Like this is just how I like made it sound when I was you know. So then in some ways you listen to it so much you get like the what do we call it? Yeah, demoitis, where it's like, oh, I like that one better, and you can't really like get to what you're trying to do because you just like for whatever reason you just kind of like what it was.
Like noise blind to
That's why I feel like I did this for some of the records where I just posted them on SoundCloud like unmixed, unmastered, and they would just like Smooth Poppy has an unmixed, unmastered version on SoundCloud where it's like that was the version that I was playing in my car when I was like, yo, check this out, and it'd be like that, and then. I did that to remove the demoitis when I did the Coldest Ocean. I purposely changed like everything about all the records from the demos. Like I would flip, like when I did Waterfalls, I like was dropping sounds out here and adding stuff here, and I just made it this thing where it's constantly changing, like a waterfall would, ever flowing water. Because I was like, I'm gonna make sure that this sounds nothing like what I've been listening to for the past like how many months I had those records. So that I was like, I had to purposely shake whatever my mind already thought about it, just purposely flip it so it's like. So for me, it's new too. Otherwise,
so do you think that sitting on songs, right? Because like you had Mirror Mirror, right? And you're like, yeah, this is it. Like I know the song's gonna be good. It might not be where it needs to be right this second, but we're gonna get it there. Do you think that it's more potent to progress the song how you think it should be progressed? Like you maybe even rest on it for a little bit, and 2 weeks from later you've been thinking on it for a while. You got new thoughts, new ideas, right? Come back into it, you build it more, and then do you rinse repeat until you like it, or do you just if you feel like you have that feeling on the first take, you just post it?
I think it depends on what you're gonna do with the song, because every song you make you're like that's album, or you make it you're like I don't know, and if you're like I don't know, then you're supposed to just leave it alone. And then if you guys like it's not an album but I want to post it, then it's done. Well, because it's single, so you just mix it whatever you can, master it, because it's just a single. It's not supposed to be whatever. So I think because you could have a song sound like this, but then you put it in the album, but now you want it to sound like a little different because now it's mixed in with all these songs. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it really depends on what you want to do with the song. Some songs are just, boom, boom, record, boom, touch it, boom. Let's just put it out. And some songs happen where I sat on one couple for like 2 years.
Well, that's the other thing going into that is like, for example, Riding Through the City. That was like we made that in 2019, the start of it. But it reminded me of like George Lucas when he was making Star Wars and he had to make 4, 5, 6 because the technology for 1, 2, 3 wasn't out yet. Where it was like Ryan had that idea for Riding Through the City, but at that point in time he hadn't had enough like just practice and fluency in the studio to get it as hard as it actually was, and even my production wasn't at the level to make it that good. And so that song, the original beat we had versus the one we made 3 years later or changed it, it's like that song sat for so long, like, eventually this song will be hard, but it's like we couldn't figure out how to make it hard at that point in time, so we had to just wait. And the dichotomy of that is like you and I, like when I made that record, I went to the studio, made the beat in like 40 minutes, it was real quick, wrote real quick, went to the booth to record, and I like some of the instruments were messing with me, so I just cut them out as I recorded. Did it in actually one take. The first like record that I pressed was like me just checking my vocals, and then I took that, set it, and then I just recorded it all in one take. Brought it out, left it how it was, missing some of the sounds because it just sounded better in my head. Mixed it, mastered it, took a picture, made a cover out of the picture, and sent it. And all in a matter of like 4 hours, start to finish, from the point of having nothing to like everything being played, all the drums done, all the instruments played, all the lyrics done, recorded everything, mixed, mastered, cover art, sent out, and drops like 3 days later. To you have that where it's like you song like that, and then you have Riding Through the City, which is 3 years it took to get there. So you have, it's both of those things. I think it just depends on the song.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's a good moving on point, I think. Pop back over to Jason.
Word.
Number 4 on your album is Crash Landing. It's a good, nice little setup for the next song, I think.
Is it Crash Landed or Crash Landing? It's Crash Landed, right?
It might be Crash Landed, yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And like, it kind of like continues that trend of like they don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? People are asleep.
Yeah.
And like, really, I think like I want to talk about crash landed into hard Jumo because I think like it sets it up really well because like you even at the end of the song you're like you better listen to the next song.
Yeah.
It's like you're saying like I know this is gonna be good, you're gonna like it.
Oh, yeah.
So even if like you didn't like these like other songs up here, this next one is a banger.
Yeah,
And like you're setting up the audience, so like you get your hopes up for the next song.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I feel like you definitely deliver well in the hard Jumo because like you know you got. It kind of starts with like that like disgusting like you know like how do you put it in the words like just like I don't want to say like that like
vulgar. Is that...
vulgar, yeah, it's a good word for it. Like just like vulgar, disgust. You know what I'm saying? Just,
like just kind of ratchet and
like I'm in your face about it.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nothing you can do.
Yeah.
But why did you choose not to repeat that chorus?
Man, okay, so the original recording of it was like where my verse comes in. That was happening essentially twice. I had that looped over twice, and I did it all in like I don't know if I did it in one take, like it was my first take done, but it was all recorded in one audio file. Like I didn't chop it up. It was just one. I did it all the way through twice. So the second one I had like my energy was different because I'd already done it. So I was kind of on like running on like where you're lower on energy, but you're just blasting it out, trying to get all of it out, and that's why one of the reasons why it's so wild. So that was the original thing, and then he came in. The beat was just so dope, and so he came in and laid his vocals down.
Yeah. Well, you said you was better. This is another song. It was Tell a Friend, where it was like, Boy was like, oh, you can get on it. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get on it. You know, and then you don't get on it. You just like do other stuff, and blah blah blah. Time goes on. Then he's like, I'm gonna put it out. And once it's out, right? So it's like, oh, so I'm in the studio. I'm trying to do some other stuff for the album. I'm trying to get the album done, you know. And then, but then he's like he's gonna put out his for his birthday. I'm like, oh, okay. So then, one day I'm just in the studio. I start doing this one thing, but then it's like not going how I want. So then I just like put on the beat, and I was like, yeah. So I start getting into it. So then I'm like about to record, and then he comes in and he's like, you steal my beat, bro? And I was like, hell yeah, I gotta get on it. Yeah. So I was like, if you want it, you want it. If you don't, you don't.
I was like, this guy right here, you got an album to do, and he's going on one of my beats. Like, what is he doing?
Yeah, but I had to do it because I was like, you know what, even if it doesn't hit, at least I was like, you know what, I did what I felt, I did what I could, and I was like, I can do it, and you know, and I was like, if you use one thing, if you don't use anything, I'm not gonna be upset about it. And then I guess for Tell a Friend too, it was like you texted in the group, you were like, yo, I got my thing for the last little part, and I was like, oh dang. So when I was in the studio, I just popped it up, and that's when I did my part, and I just like was like, I'm gonna leave it, like let them find it. So I like saved it.
Slid too. You slid in.
Yeah, I did. That one in projections on that one. I was on my slide vibe for sure.
Tell a Friend was cool because that's when we were like gonna go finish it. And we just opened it up, and we're like, oh, I guess Ryan laid something down. Let's hear it. And we played it, and we're like, oh, man, it's fire. So he just barely made the cut. Just slide
little gift.
I didn't even record the other verse.
Yeah, whatever it was.
Yeah, we don't even need it.
That's what I figured, you know, save you some time and stuff. But, yeah, I wanted to be a gift because I took so, but I was like, yeah, when it comes down to it, like, I'm procrastinating, but I'm going to get it done.
You got it done in the perfect amount of time, too, because that was when I was gone for, like, almost a month in Denver.
So, I did, like, the last couple of days. Like,
yeah,
so...
But
I got
procrastinated to the very end, but here we are.
Made the cut.
Yeah.
So then, to answer the question, to full circle it.
Right.
So then he laid down his stuff, and then I had mine. I was like, if I like move the beat and make more space, it's gonna be super long. So I was like, I just cut out my first half of everything that I had because I was like, I'm just gonna put it at the transition point, and then that was into audio on from there. And then his kind of lined up where it kind of fit, and I liked the way it hit, and then the hook he had as well. I liked the way it kind of just wrote in the beat. And then I had that hook, like I think I recorded it after he did his, I can't remember when, or maybe it was before. And I had it, and I was like, if I do this hook, I'm gonna change the whole song. Like if I make it this, and this is the hook, like if you got the hands down my pants, let's go on. If I go that direction, then the whole song is different. So everything that I did before, I'd have to just throw it out because I was just like, this now it's not what the vibe is different because that beat is just so weird that you could just do anything on it. So it's like if I go this route, it's gonna be this song. So the reason I put it in the beginning is like, okay, well, I'm going to show you that I had this idea of where I could have gone with it, but then I didn't. And so that was why I put it in the beginning. And then, because when it comes into Ryan's verse, it's like, and she got it, and he goes, eat steak, blessed, and it just switches on you, and you think it's going to be this ignorant, kind of thing, and it actually just comes in around and say, East stay blessed, trying to dodge the casket, I'm back with it, you know what I mean? It's coming in like hard where it's like, oh, you didn't think that was going to happen.
No, definitely switched it up on them.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like you have 2 choruses in there.
And I actually had that chorus, like, when I first heard the beat. Like, I had the chorus. Like, I had, like, the first, like, 2 or 3 lines. But it's what, like, I got stuck, and I just couldn't get past that thing. It wasn't time for me to.
And we made
get
that
the
beat
rest.
together for the rest. That was like, we were in
Canada.
Yeah, we were in Canada, and we were just like making it on the computer. We were like, and I remember when we did like the like that part. We were like, yo, this is fine.
Yeah, and I remember he was like recording that out, and I remember I was just stuck, and I was like, dang, like I'm stuck, but you know, I don't want to fuck up the vibe, you know, and stuff like that. But then it wasn't the scene to like really record it like that, and then I ended up getting it done. You know,
I remember when I did.
That was one of the ones that sat for a little bit.
I think when I recorded that, Tim was here. I think when I actually recorded it, and then I remember Tim walking by the room, and he was just like, dude, what's wrong with you? As he walks by, I just started laughing like after I got the take.
But you go crazy on it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know, like, I remember showing somebody the song because they were like, I want you to play something hard.
Oh, yeah.
And because I showed them in California, and they were like, well, you got something harder. And we're like, yeah. So I played Hard Jumo for them. They were like, that's not hard enough.
Oh, my God.
And I was just like, if Hard Jumo isn't hard enough for you, then I don't know
what is.
Want.
I mean, I don't know.
Like, maybe you want some death metal.
They have a different, hard in their mind is just different.
It's different, yeah.
It's like a painted picture, right? You're like, this is, like what you said earlier about the colors, like in a way, like it could be red or whatever, but if you're told this is like red and orange and blue, it's always going to be red, orange, and blue.
Right.
You know, but someone might be like, no, it's green. You're like, you know, and you have to talk about it and figure out why they say that.
Why is it green, yeah.
Yeah.
But unless they're colorblind, then maybe that's fine.
Jason giving
I don't think I've met.
Logic real quick.
Yeah.
I don't think I've met someone who's actually like they're like, yeah, all I see is like black and or whatever that you know.
There's
like,
always some.
in my adult.
I had a friend who was colorblind back in elementary school.
Yeah, but that's like
we never believed him, and then we went on a field trip, and his mom, we were like, "Is he actually colorblind?" His mom was like, "Yeah," and we're all like, "Oh," because we always like, "No, you're not." But you can see this.
So,
you're convinced he can.
You know, if anyone who's really colorblind and want to have a conversation, I'd be down to talk about it. You know,
I have a coworker who's colorblind.
Mm.
And like when we write in certain Sharpies, he actually has to like press his face like against the thing to actually be able to read it. So like he's like blues and yellows, I think is like what he can't really see.
Oh my God.
Like yellow and green look exactly the same.
So I wonder what the sky looks like to him.
Yeah, I have no idea. It must look really trippy though.
Yeah.
Though
like
it would be cool if they somehow steal this idea is fine, but it'd be cool to somehow like get paint, but like people who are colorblind, you can like alter the paint color, so like the people who are colorblind can like make their own colors and like see like what are they seeing.
They have colorblind. It'd be cool to do that just for people who aren't colorblind to see what colorblind people are seeing.
Yeah.
But they have glasses that colorblind people can put on that allow them to see color. Like,
I don't know too much. Like I don't know enough about it to speak fully on it, but I do. But that's why I would like to meet someone who might. Like they say like, oh, I can only see this or whatever. I met people in the past or whatever, but it's nothing like prominent in where I am now to fully like grasp what they're talking about.
Right.
So yeah.
Videos are cool. You watch them, put the glasses on, they freak out, start crying because it's so beautiful.
They can see color for the first time. That sounds awesome now.
That's
that'd be like the best gift.
What does Jumo mean?
Drunk.
So you're a hard drunk.
Yeah, but it's like a derogatory term for a drunk. Like you're a Jumo, like you're a piece of crap drunk, like drunk. So hard drunk, just drunk, being like not literally like just drunk off alcohol, but drunk. You know how you're just like sloppy.
Right.
It's like that because the song is so sloppy. So it's like just drunk, hard drunk.
Do you know what language it is in?
No, I don't.
You don't?
No.
That might be something we can look up later.
Yeah.
Add it, a little cut in the interview.
It's like what language that pops up.
You want the definition and like everything.
Yeah.
Right. That'd be sick.
Yeah, that'd be cool. How to pronounce it. You know, when they have like a little pronunciation box.
And then my last little note on Hard Jumo is going back to the chorus, right? Saying searching for something that we can't seem to find. I don't know, that message just speaks out to me. Like everybody's looking for something.
Mm-hmm.
Are they looking in the right places? I don't know. Maybe you gotta think outside the box to be able to find what you're searching for.
Yeah.
Just some thoughts that popped in my head.
Which is also cool because that ties in like in the song "Endless Destination" at the end. The hook is like we're on an endless destination, on a road that's crystal clear, and all this time we're waiting for what's already there. or so it's like that line of like being like we're searching for something that we can't seem to find. It's like the thing is already there.
Right.
We're just thinking we don't have it, and therefore we miss it. But it's already here. This is it. What you're looking for is happening. It's just people don't pay attention, so it's like they're always like, oh, it's over there, but it's right here. When you tune into like the moment that's happening, it's the only thing you actually have. The past doesn't exist anymore. It's gone. The future never will exist because you're always in the now. So all those things you look forward to, you'll get there eventually. But if you keep looking ahead, you always miss what's happening now. Definitely. So like the now is the only thing that you actually have like consciousness in. Everything else is just thoughts. So, endless destination.
It's right here. It's right around the corner.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Right around the corner.
Going into Ryan's third
yes,
song.
Sir. That's another one that sat right there. Yeah, that was one I had. I think I wrote the hooks and the first verse, and then like that was a song. It's like a minute and a half long. And then we went on the journey, and when we came back, and then through life experience and a good chemical balance, I unlocked the next two verses, which definitely is one of my favorite songs. But I think like it's the balance of like what we're talking about, that thing we want. It's really right around this corner. Now it could be that corner could be like 10 blocks up. It could be a million blocks up. It could be 1 foot away. You know, it all depends on like when is it your time to really make that right or that left to get around. And whatever and thinking about around the corner is that you can't see what's around there. You're just like you're visualizing this thing that's like, this is what it's gonna be, this is gonna be, this is gonna be, and then when you turn the corner and you see what it is, you know, we'll deal with what it comes, you know, because it might not be as grand as you might think. There might be 300 more corners you got to turn before you finally get to that.
Or it might be grander.
You know, or it could be amazing, and you know, and then I think like
you can imagine.
I had a line where it's like you can get it overnight, and I remember him one time like speaking about something else, but he basically said like, oh, you can't get things overnight, and then like, but it coincided with what I said, and I was like, well, I said you can get whatever you need, so we might want something, and we might want it, you know, but it might, and so you can't get it right away, you know, but if you really need it, if you really need that clarity, that whatever, you know, that's that term where people say you just sleep on it, right? You just go, you know, you go have that night, meditate on it, you know, and you'll find whatever clarity you need, or some random little message will pop in around the whatever, and it'll give you that like, oh, I'm thinking about this, and then someone will say something randomly, and it'll be like, oh yeah, you know. So I think if you just are aware of your surroundings and stuff, you can definitely pick up on some of those signs. You'll get whatever you need to make it to the next thing. You might not understand or realize it, but you'll get it, you know.
You have one line in there. It's like Mario, take the pipe down.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite one. It's like Mario been showed us we can always take the pipe down.
Bro, I didn't ever catch that.
Yeah, so Mario been showed us since a long time we played Mario. Mario been showed us we can always take the pipe down, and in society, people will quiet down what they're saying or whatever to get whatever the reward is, or you can do this. Also, Mario going underground, showing that there might be something underneath.
Man, that's
what
genius.
we're at.
I did not think of that.
I like that line a lot.
Mario, you know, but I'm in the overworld. I know the pipe is there. I know we can do it, but I'm in the overworld. I'm feeling super high now. Let me hit one of those boxes and grab a mushroom, you know, keep going.
Bro,
one up.
I did not
and that's why I had to, like, at first I was like, that's it, that's the song, you know, boom, easy, like, quick, like, you can repeat it. But then it was like, I felt like it needed to be more. And then when I got to the next thing, I got the more, like, it's perfect now with all the other verses in there, too. Like,
everything just flows really well together, too.
Yeah.
And that's probably why you didn't catch it. It's because, like, it's just, like, it's a very cohesive song.
Yeah, that's one of those ones you put the metaphor in, you know.
Yeah.
People, you got to find it later. But, you know, so it just depends on the vibe.
It's layered in there really nicely.
Yeah.
It's tucked in.
I'm going to have to re-listen to it.
Yeah, but the first one, like, and that's why, like, honestly, the first verse is a little choppier than the other two. Because it was just recorded at way different times. Like, I recorded that one, like, a year and a half later or something. I recorded the other two verses. And it's all aligned. And I remember the feeling I had. Like, I'll always remember what I was feeling or where I was and what I was doing when I made that song now. At least the second half of it.
Right.
You know, so that was definitely one of my favorites, too. Which is why I wanted it up at the front, too. I just felt like it's like good. You got like one taste, you know, and it's like mirror, and then it's like right around the corner. And now now you're gonna pass this corner, and now now the next is break mold. So then we kind of break into what the album is, you know, and we go.
Here we go, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And we'll slide back over to Jason's side. Hope You Die. Number 6
God.
on the song.
Yep.
It's actually one of my favorites.
It's a really good one. I mean, I remember when the album just came out on your birthday, or maybe it was like the 19th going into the 20th, right?
Yeah.
And then I was like laying down on my couch listening to the album, and like this cockroach just starts climbing up my wall as "Hope You Die" comes up.
Oh god. Yeah, you sent me that picture. You're like, this should be the cover art for the music video.
Stay away from the Roach people,
Just the music video, the Roach World.
Yeah,
Roach
opening up.
Yeah.
That'd be lit. We got a little graphic designer for that.
But
we can do it. So
you're saying "Speak Like Reverend" on the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I guess like what I took from that is like there's a lot of like deception going on, like they're through like religion, through profit, through
He's going straight for the neck.
I am, bro. I'm going right into it.
No metaphors.
No metaphors here. We're being direct.
Can't dodge it.
Yeah.
No evasiveness. Hit you with I don't know. I was trying to
The
think
tough
of a Pokemon
questions.
move. But
Swift.
right.
Never misses.
Yeah.
But like, what exactly were you thinking of when you're writing that? Like, you're dealing with religion, politicians, money, and a lot of.
Oh
know,
yeah. Well, part of that, like, I felt like it's direct, but I'm also just being really clever. Yeah. I just like that, the fun of being clever about it, where I'm saying, like, soul rebel while I'm speaking, the devil try to peek and never level my allegiance. And everybody has, like, on the higher level than the devil, but it's like they use level as in, like, this way, but I use level as in you can't level it, you can't knock me over.
Facts.
So it's like the same thing playing into that, where people say, oh, don't ever rhyme those two things together, but I did it in a different way to be like, okay, I'm gonna still do it, but I'm gonna do it this way over here. So it's like never level my allegiance. I'm revving through the sequence, speak like reverend on the weekend. So like the beginnings and the ends are always hitting the same kind of syllable ride with the words rhyming. So just being clever, but then also like,
I feel like speak like reverend on the weekend is a test. Like people are gonna go listen to this guy speak, you know. So the things that you might be speaking on would be like where people would come listen.
Yeah, know? and when you think of reverend and stuff, you think of somebody who's preaching like.
Said I never told a lie.
God or the universe or love or whatever. So you can call it what you want it, but to me it's all the same. So I just look at like speak like reverend on the weekend is like I'm saying more than just a weekend job. I'm putting out this kind of energy of love all the time. And it's like that's why like
what's geeked? I could be having a great day and that song come on and I'll still rap all the whole hook. Still hit it anyway. It's like honestly not feeling it at all. Like it's like my day right now. Like I'm not like angry or anything. Not angry, but like I'm not on that vibe at the moment. But I still, it's just catchy. And, it hits.
Back when I was
just a young man.
I don't give a.
Well, you get to those days for sure. Up down. I think we were talking about the other day. It's like you have like you're gonna have a good day. There's gonna be up days, bad days.
Yeah.
And eventually the ups will be up and the downs will be down, and
yeah.
Just like a sine wave.
Also, part of it's just like the frustration of like just dealing with like a world of like hypocrisy, where it's like you're always like just watching just the hypocritical stuff go on, then it's like, bro, like after a while it's just like becomes ridiculous. So it's like that's why I say like the difference is I never told a lie, being like you have people who actually they do that. The reverends are people who are like of that, whatever, and then but they believe it and they really feel that, and you have to respect it because they really feel it. But then there's people who just use that as a manipulation for others for money or power or whatever. And that's the part that bugs me out because it's just like, I just feel like it's disgraceful. Whatever you believe, because it's disgraceful to the people who really believe.
Right.
There's a service guy in the corner. Did you put in the box? Little pause and sequence right there. This should be a chord. It's like a, oh, you know what? It's not here. Because I said, how do you want that? It's in my Xbox.
But I'll just continue during the break. But essentially, like, so just saying, like, I say what, they sold their souls for fancy clothes and Cheerios. The wind blows through the center, bombs away. Here we go, whatever. Cheerio jump off. Where it's like the Cheerio, has a hole in the center, so it's like they sold their soul. You're missing something. So the wind blows through the center. Just being clever in that kind of regard, but just kind of pointing out the hypocrisy. Not just specifically on. I'm not trying to attack anybody, but just pointing out some of the hypocrisy and just people in general, where it's like, in music, it's like you sold your soul for fancy clothes and stuff
Right.
like that, where it's like soul being your character and clothes being what you do to cover yourself up, being like you sold what was real to cover yourself up. But if you wouldn't have got rid of what you really had, you wouldn't need to cover yourself up. Just playing into that, where it's like the idiot, like it's not very wise to be anything other than what you are, because anything you replace it with, it would have been a replacement to fill that hole you now created that you could have just been yourself
and built upon. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So just playing into that and letting off that aggression, and also just trying to be a little clever, just because it is direct in some ways, but it's also like I could have said a lot more.
Yeah.
I could have said a lot more.
A lot more.
But it's like, well, I'm trying to be,
It's like, well, how discreet do you be?
Yeah.
Is the question. And I was not being discreet when I asked the question, but...
Yeah, but that's okay, because it's like, at the end of the day, it's like everyone has how far they want to take it. And then you just got to think, what's the best way to handle everything. Plus, not every battle is worth fighting to the finish. Like, sometimes if you're fighting in a war, you do what you can in the battle, and then you got to make sure you can live to fight another day.
There's a fan. It's in there.
Nice. Nice little break. Get some AC in here.
Yeah. The universe is like steering away the conversation from
Hope You Die. It's like we're trying to warn us.
Yeah, like, be careful.
Be careful what you're saying.
Yeah.
I just put it on the lowest setting.
You can put it on 3. It's fine.
3.
I'll be able to see the waves. And just put it face down on top of the... Yeah, it's not that loud.
All right. A little break at 52 minutes, 53
break.
minutes, something like that.
That's the part where it cuts and people are like, what happened?
Right.
Technical errors, nothing big.
Right. We're human.
Yeah.
Get distracted sometimes.
I always think about that. I'm like, what did they talk about in that time that they had to cut it out? When you watch the interviews and stuff,
Yeah.
you see people like some part gets cut and like,
something happened.
Yeah.
And we're back.
Yeah, live. Well,
Not live, but
alive.
we're back. Alive,
Yeah.
yes. And feel like I've been talking to you for a long time, so I'm going to slide it back to Ryan's side.
Hurt.
And we're on break mode.
Oh, yes. Break mode.
And so only note I have on here is, like doing something new is how I kind of the vibe I got on this vibe. So.
Yeah. It's definitely something that was just more or less like, I'm not here. I'm trying to do something different. I'm here to help everyone break that, shell themselves. And let's bust that down and see what's inside, and and change what's going on, because a lot like we've been taught to just like funnel down this like system of do this, instead of like just go towards like what we're here to do and who we are. So it's more or less for me just breaking that mold within myself, and then to others, and and he liked it like off the bat. He liked it a lot. So it's definitely one of those just vibes, something different. I don't really know if I've heard another song that's quite like it. So
I really like it just because that was just all you.
yeah,
Like,
just
no
a bit
help.
honest, yeah, very honest.
So I just thought that was really cool because top to bottom he did all that, and I was like, that's fire.
Yeah, it's just one of those like a lot of the songs like there's no like real intention versus like the intention that's always there of being honest and true and and stuff like that. But it was just one of those ones that you don't really understand how you're feeling until you say it, and then now you understand. Oh shit, that's how I was feeling.
Now I know, yeah.
Yeah. So it was just one of those feel good, like you just went through like one tape, then you went through Mirror and around the corner, and there's like a lot of stuff. So there's more just like lighter, like it's like not so serious, but it's still like stuck in the same old patterns. Days go by, like that's just really like where it's just like that's what like we go through these days, and we see something like pop up on our feed or on the news or whatever however you get your information, but it'll be sad or it'll be like disappointing or disheartening and stuff like that, and then we just like put our phone down and go on with our day. All right, I'm gonna go do this or do that or go to my job, and it's the same old like mundane life.
But also just the fact the lyrics are really good, where you're like if we all sit together, we can all go far. Fulfillment comes from a life of purpose. You are who you are. You don't gotta rehearse it.
Yeah.
That just always when I hear that, it just hits me. I'm just like, man,
Right.
that's just so. It's
So that's like the second half of the verse where you go where it starts like, it starts off, days and night, but truth be told, the world is disaster. The love still black, but money masters.
No control. Oh, control.
Yeah, no control. Yeah, they have no control, full control, and then.
Are you saying that you have no like the people
So it's
have no
like
control, but like then like the power?
No control. So it's basically like the powers at B
Right.
have full control of what's going on, but they really have no control over people.
Right.
Like I can stand up if I want. I can go outside if I want. I can go and scream.
Right.
But if someone calls the police, now they have this false sense of control. Now they can grab me and control me. But there's really no full power to that besides what the people and we give them. Now, if I just go rebel against like the authorities or whatever powers that be by myself, one person is going to get absolutely destroyed.
Right.
But if the entire world, who's any person who's just a human being, let's put those together, human being. If all these people, we all we all don't go to work on this day, or we all this is not right, and we all stand together, that would be so powerful that it would change things. Now, it might not look pretty right away, but that's why I have a line that's like, we can we'll build up from the rubble. I think I'm not sure, it's later down the album, but
yeah.
It's like, even if the earth shakes, we'll build up from what it is, and we'll because we'll have foundation still, and we'll have people who can build it back up. Because right now, it's like, we were talking about how the cities were built, and some cities were built like a long time ago. So they weren't built for all the cars and all the traffic, And so instead, if it would be terrible if everything got leveled, and then everyone had to figure out what to do. But if by doing that we could reuse the space, redesign how we live, So.
But the song you were thinking about was "To Be Continued." Build
So that's towards the end. So.
Because if you think about a city like Atlanta or something, it's like you go in Atlanta, it's like you have these narrow. Some of the streets are so narrow. And only one car on each side or two cars or whatever, but this spacing was designed at a time where we didn't have the same level of transportation we have today.
Or you change how we transport. You get a big train with a bar on it and stuff like that, and people can if we're all going to the same place, like a big monorail like Disney has, we're gonna hop on. Some people are still gonna take their car because they want to be by themselves and blah blah blah. But some people would rather have if it's a nice option. Now they got subways and stuff like that, but it's not built up, so it's you feel good every time you walk in there. It could be that. You could have gondola rides through the city. You could have golf carts for taxis and stuff like that. We have the motor scooters now and stuff like that. But you could create these different transportations where maybe you wouldn't be so reliant on a car, and everyone's got to be we're all getting to the same area, but we had to nickel and dime each other for space on the road to get there, if 1 minute faster or 10 minutes slower or whatever however traffic is. So, but yeah, break mold, break what we're because it's not working. Obviously, it's not we're in this peaceful. Could be, but
harmonious.
It's not. So, yeah.
Break the mold.
Yeah.
Sliding back to Jason's side. Next song on the album, number 7, Mapped Out. And this is the one I really like Mapped Out. For the fact of and you disagreed with me when I said it, because you said, well, we had to make a censored version, but I feel that could be a radio jam.
Oh yeah.
Sure. And I don't know, just I think it's very modern.
It's I don't like it. Don't want it. Yeah.
I think it's a very modern sound, and what's what most people consider popular in music today.
Yeah.
And so but it also has that deep message inside of it too. It's I can't think of the lyrics for it right now.
The end of it, beginning of it?
It's the beginning of it.
It's F it. I don't like you. I don't love you. I don't want nothing from you. I just son you. Leave you out to dusk. Leave you out into dusk inside leave you out to rust inside the dust. When the dust sets, you gonna fuss. So I don't give up. So you won't get your back. You gonna have to trust that.
Really well.
It's definitely good. I think it's a good transition from the past ones. It was Crash Landed.
Yeah.
And so it's because the album starts here, but then you go into you don't expect it where you're going, right?
Yeah.
So then now then it transitions to how the album, because those first 3 songs aren't what the whole album is, right?
Yeah.
But they're part of it. So then, and then it makes even more sense later, because it was I think the next one's like, is that the next one where you go, run it back?
No, that's later.
That's later?
Yeah.
Next one is Money in My Pocket.
Oh, it is then.
Yeah. So right after this now, it's like, run it back. So honestly, this could be the last song, right? So now you start the next part of the album. It's like, this could be the beginning of the album, really. Because if we talk about One Taste or Living a Dream to One Taste, that loop, if you hit that loop, when you get now, it's like, after you've listened to all these songs, now you got these weird ones at the end, you know? Yeah. So it's a cool way to,
part of that is also,
nice
like, the last line is, like, read my mind. I got it mapped out, where it's, like, saying, like, you know, try to understand what I'm thinking when I'm saying these things. Like, just, like, you take the words for the words, but try to understand what I'm thinking. Because it's all intentional, the words that I choose to use to bring out certain emotions. Because you go from, like, these songs that are loving to me just saying, F it, I don't like you, I don't love you. Right. So, like, that thing, it's like, what's the transition of emotion that takes you from this to this? And trying to understand those pathways, you can kind of understand more about what's actually going on. And the cool thing I like about that record is the main synths, like the ooh, and then the ooh, which is my vocals. I did that because I was trying to find a sound that I heard that sound in my head, and I was just trying to find a sound that would do that, and I couldn't find one, so I was like, I'm just gonna do it. So I just recorded it in there and just like messed with my voice enough to make it so it doesn't sound like a voice.
Right.
And that was just me singing it, and then so that's the main synth in there. It was just me just doing that. So I just made the beat out of just sound because I was like, I can't find what I'm looking for. So that's one of the reasons I like that one. And then that like wobbly, like that sound. I just thought it was cool.
It's just a very well put together sounding piece. It's one of my favorite songs.
It's funny that you say that because in my mind, like when I created it, I was like, this is just like very wonky, but it's cool. So like,
right.
You know, the well put together thing is dope because in my mind I was like, I thought people would think the opposite. Like, this is just, like, a wonky, like, weird.
I like the speed of it, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's quick, like, you can loop it, you know?
Honestly, I think it would be, I could see, like, the old cartoons, like, flashing the old cartoons, like, different ones that make sense, you know, where they have them where it's like they're saying something, it's like Donald Duck saying something,
right?
You know what I mean? I could visualize
cool.
that.
Yeah, that'd be
cool.
fire.
That'd be a cool music video, yeah.
So that's an idea for the... If anyone wants to make one, send it.
We were fans of fan fiction.
Yeah.
So
there's some good videos out there that people made for other people too. So.
Now my favorite song on Ryen's album, The One.
The One. Yes, this goes to Mirror Mirror in a way, where it's like like asking who is it, and if I am the one, you know.
Yeah.
Then, you know, and it plays into like the Matrix where, you know, searching, like Neo's going through these doors. You got to find that right door.
Right.
You know?
You paint a really, like, vivid picture in the first 30 seconds of the song. It's like, if I am the one, then I've been here before.
Yeah.
Searching through the Matrix, trying to open doors.
Yeah.
Life is but a dream. What's it come to be?
Yeah. And that's a big one because it's like, if we are in this dream, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, why, like, the way I vision my dreams is nothing what it's like here now, you know? So it's like this, if we are in a dream, like, why is it like this, you know? Why are we allowing it to be like this, you know? Because this is supposed to be like a heaven, you know? Glory, like, beautiful, nature, beautiful, you know? One, like, people all together.
Yes, weird.
You know, harmonious song. You can hear it from one end of the earth to the other, you know? But it's like, so if life is but... What's it coming? And then if we could save the world, would you follow me and do it? You know, if this is all, written out. If this is all it takes,
do you really want it?
Yeah, if this is all it takes,
do you want it?
You know, even to myself, you know, would I follow myself?
But that's the thing about humans, is like, we love to procrastinate.
And not on social media. We're not talking about following on social media. We're talking about you know,
just doing the thing that you need to do. But like, people love to procrastinate, and it's so hard. Jason over here just
the levels.
Oh, I was just Jason over here just like bodying the footage.
Sorry, that's in the levels.
Ryan be dipping in, and then it just jumps, and then mine was too quiet.
Sorry, number 00, so we'll get it.
That sound alright though?
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, we'll get it right when
you can even go louder if you want. You have space when you talk.
Yeah. Heard.
I like the lean in vibe too, so.
Yeah, like and then he goes up. Okay. Down a little bit.
But back to what we were saying. It's like, even if I gave you this plan, I wrote it out for you, would you do it then? And like, I feel like a lot of people still wouldn't, because they're comfortable where they're at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my good friends says, and he'll probably be in the interviews later on. He gives a good quote. Said, complacency is the death of all good men and women.
Yeah, for sure. Because the job's it's not nearly done. Like, there's been a lot of people before me, and there are gonna be people after me, and they can't cut all the light out. There's always gonna be somebody. There's always gonna be something, divine force coming through.
Yeah.
Because that's what's real. So
And even if everything was destroyed, like all the internet and like all history, like everything was destroyed, like what comes from within us will always come out in some form or fashion. So somebody would just, if you couldn't remember anything and there was no history about anything, and the world was just created in some sort of like box system when everyone was doing whatever, and it was like completely controlled down to a Q, there'd be somebody who was born in there because it's in our DNA. Somebody would be like, this is weird, like something's wrong here. And that would snowball the avalanche. Yeah. So no matter what, there's always going to be some people who are just like, that we might be able to do it different. And that goes into what we were saying in the beginning of like what you know and what you think. Where it's like, the world you live in is like, what you're used to it. But then it's like just the thought that maybe you could make it better. And that slow thought can change the whole way you look at life. And it's like, what, instead of just doing the random normal stuff, it's like, well, maybe I'm actually going to try to do something different, because why not?
Right. You have one line in the one.
I was wondering if we're going to go into the verses.
It says, power, control, your mind suffers, something like that.
It's the power of control at the mind's expense. It's a test, try your best, but they sent to censor. They sent to sense ya, they sent to censor.
Right.
Attention blocked. You just lost everything you're thinking about.
Ya.
When the signal hits you, forget some. So what was I thinking about? Now you're past. You just went past what you're at, and you misjudged what you were thinking about.
Right.
Now you're passing this misjudgment. It's a world. This world prefers that you know absolutely nothing. You just go to work and find, 9 to 5.
Know just enough to be.
Exactly.
But not smart
you know
enough to
nothing.
complain
Know
about it.
something. And if you're gonna know something, I'm not running. I'm not running away from what it is, because otherwise there's nothing else to do.
Yeah.
I can't just sit on the porch and swing away knowing what's going on. So we ain't running. Essence lives on, so we keep coming. That life goes on. The energy keeps, and then metaphor of you always create more semen and stuff like that, right? So you keep coming.
Right,
Yeah.
is that just the essence of your spirit.
Yeah. So in that double, where it's like, and then that's just how it just came to me.
That's
like,
pretty
alright,
good.
cool. So
It's a really good verse.
yeah.
Slide back to Jason's side. Money in my pocket, and then I'm also doing cashing out.
Together.
Doing them together. I feel like they have kind of going what Ryan said, like the last song where Mapped Out is like, run it back, going into Money in My Pocket. Like that could be potentially be a last song on an 8 song album.
Yeah.
Which your last couple albums were 8 song albums.
Yeah.
So thinking on that part, right? So there's a break in the album, but then you continue the thought afterwards, going into cashing out.
Yeah.
But one of the things you talk about is money is a short-term thing. I feel like.
Yeah.
And it's just yeah, you might have this thing, the money in your pocket, to make you feel good in this present moment, but if
Promise
that's all
won't last forever.
yeah, so that's all you care about, that's not gonna last forever.
Yeah. But it's kind of playing into both sides of it, where it's acknowledging the fact that I'm not gonna lie, I do feel better when I have money in my pocket, even if it's just $3. Just having the physical presence of money in my pocket, knowing that if I want some quick thing, I can get whatever that satisfaction I get from that transaction is. Even if you go buy a chocolate bar or something, and you're like, oh, I just enjoyed this chocolate bar. It's that quick transaction brings you a little bit of joy. So having a little bit of pocket gives you it's the key for that little bit of joy, but that joy won't last forever. So it's acknowledging the fact that, yes, this thing won't really bring you eternal happiness, money, but having money gives you the opportunity to have that little thing. You know what I mean? And that won't last forever, but at the same time, it's even the money won't last forever. So it's it's all a tool for something. So if you have this tool that you have on ready hand to be able to access that little bit of joy in the meantime, it's not such a bad thing. It's not a terrible thing. It makes me feel better to have money in my pockets. I got options. I can do this or do that because I have the funds to do it. You got the keys to get in. It's like anywhere you want to go. If you want to go eat dinner, you got to have the keys to sit down and sit there, which is the right amount of money to pay for that dinner. If you want to go to the movie, you got to get the keys. So having money is like the keys to the kingdom in the Matrix, because that's what you need. So having it makes you feel better because you can get in where you need to be. But then what happens if it's the Matrix and you can get anywhere you want? You're just gonna get lost in the Matrix. Yeah. So it's recognizing that what this thing actually is and what it actually does, on like a realistic sense. That's like not just like, because I think people either scorn money or they love money, but they don't actually think about what this thing actually is. It's a key. It's a transition, get you from one place to another.
It's a great metaphor.
Yeah, so it's acknowledging the power of it, but not, also acknowledging the fact that this isn't really where your happiness is coming from. It's the transactions and your experience through it. But that thing, if you have a cheap experience because of what you do, not like cheap as in not a lot of money, but cheap as in what you choose to spend your experience on, then that's going to be a reflection of how you feel. So money is just like, makes you feel a little better, but you can't run your town off minimum wage. You can't run the town. You can't go around your town, like in a literal sense of go around your town and do all the things in your neighborhood or whatever off minimum wage. You don't have enough. But then it's also, you can't run your town like you can't run the shit if you don't have enough.
Yeah.
So
powerful.
Yeah.
You have anything to add to that?
And then Cashing Out, that's just a fire song. It's just a banger. Just being like, you just kind of like, and it goes into Step Aside, which we'll get there, but it's like, Cashing Out is just like a song where that was a song when I made that beat. Every once in a while when I've made enough beats, I'm be like, you know what, I'm gonna try to find the worst sounding sound I could possibly find and make something hard out of it. Like when we did the song One King way back when, there was a sound in there that I was like, this is a terrible sound, let me make a dope beat out of it. So Cashing Out, that's what I did, like that. I don't think it was the din in it. I don't think it was the guitar as the other one. Boom, boom, yeah. And when I first heard it, like when I was first pressing the keys and there's no other sound, you just hear, and you're like, this sound is horrible. And I was like, let me just make something hard out of it. So that was how I made that one.
Sometimes it's fun to do it like that.
Yeah, because then that whole thing of going from Mapped Out, where I'm like, gotta lay low till the cash grow. You know, effing all my cash off. You go from that to like money in my pocket makes you feel a little better. Then you're cashing out. It's like you went from broke to having something that you're cashing out when the chips are high. It's like but it's like way too tall to be cashing out. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, it's going up. It's like, man, I can't pull out now. So, but that's also that I don't want to say descendants, but that kind of arrangement of music is like the what happens in life. You start when you broke. You pursue some sort of career. You start to get it, and now you can't pull out. Because you spent 8 years to get to this point where you can make this much money, and now you're making this much money, but you can't switch because if you stop, you run out of money.
Yeah.
But now you can't do what you really wanted to do because you spent 8 years doing this. So that progression of 3 songs is like a story in itself of being like, this is kind of what it looks like.
You said steps into Step Aside, right? So you want to go ahead and elaborate on that.
Yeah, but both those songs, which goes into the next song after that. So, but then we'll switch it so we're not.
That's cool.
But it's like,
it's cool. It's good.
Yeah, Cashing Out. It's like where I always imagine this video where you're just like shoulders back walking, where they do the camera angle where your legs are really big when you're walking. That's kind of how I imagine.
Actually, I visualize it in like a school too, like high school vibes.
Yeah. I thought of it in American Dad.
I thought of Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty, yeah, Morty.
Yeah,
too.
Morty.
But like Steve or
and he
Morty,
sees like Jessica, and he's like, you know what I mean?
Shoot you the finger guns.
Yeah, exactly. But going into Step Aside is like where you're on that vibe. Like Step Aside is very playful, and it's like Cashing Out. It's like you like I'm way too fly. I walk right by, but you still won't catch me. So it's like I'm right next to you, but you still can't catch me. You still can't understand what I'm doing.
Facts.
You know what I mean? But even though I'm right there, but then Step Aside is just being like a little bit more ignorant, but you're just having fun with it. And
Step Aside's a really fun song to listen to. You can tell that like y'all had fun recording.
Oh, it's definitely fun. Yeah, that time we like, you know, when you like make a movie or whatever, like you have like there's like a scene and there's like an idea, like The Mummy. You know what I mean? You're like in the tombs and the stuff like that, right? But like that, like we had this like idea like Animal Kingdom. So like everything, we had like mugs that were animals. You know, we had that's where we got the coasters that are animals. Like anything we thought we put like like leaves on like the windows, you know what I mean?
We're trying to shoot a movie.
Yeah, anything that was like like just to create that like safari vibe, which is where Step Aside like came from, because we were like deep in the vibe at that point when that song came about and stuff.
You even shot some scenes.
Where did the British influence come in?
I don't know, man. Probably just messing around.
Yeah,
or,
just
like,
messing around with the characters.
Probably
Like,
just
honestly, it's probably a stretch from Australia because you're probably like trying to do Australia. You know,
I was
doing
just
the
doing
safari.
something. I wasn't. Yeah, the safari, I guess, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm
I
not
like.
100%
I don't like to specify when I do accents because
Yeah.
doing the accents. If you're like, this is this, then people. If it's not exactly accurate, be like, that's
Yeah.
not that, and like that.
Right.
It's like I'm just.
But it's just
using
the
my
idea of
vocal
it,
box
right,
to
you
make
know?
sounds, and I can
Right.
do whatever I want because it's my vocal box, just like
Right.
everybody
Yeah.
else's. So it's like.
Yeah, more or less the idea of what like you're
Yeah.
portraying versus like.
Well, I was thinking maybe you had some Pirates of the Caribbean influence in it.
Well, that's always in
Oh
there.
yeah,
We
because,
all love it.
We did that with our friend Tim, and,
Yeah.
and we're big Pirates of the Caribbean
Yeah,
fans. So
that's
of course,
just-
it's gonna be there. Yeah,
Yeah.
So I
but
was thinking maybe that was part of it. You know, that old English
mm,
like proper
Yeah.
way. Of
we were
speaking.
watching Pirates of the Caribbean around that part.
Yeah, we were.
So yeah, that might have been. That's a good.
You know,
good
it could
point.
be just subconscious in there. You know,
Yeah.
nothing like intentional.
Yeah, of course.
Aligns.
But the other thing, what I wanted to say going into the next song is that Step Aside song, because we are doing accents, and I know like in this world people could be like, you can't do that because that's not how you talk, whatever. And then also just us having fun. The next song, the first line is, I just want to tell the children, don't listen to the selfish system. They try to steal your childish wisdom and turn you into cogs in the machine. You know, I feel the need to, intervene. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's
that
why I
definitely
say,
goes into what we've been talking about too. So
yeah. Because it's like, I feel like people forget the fact that it's like, this song is playful and uppity. People can just be like, nah, we don't want that. But it's like, there's a wisdom in the childish nature of people just being able to just be like a kid and have fun. There's a wisdom in that because people forget that. And so then the world tries to take it from you and make it where like the cog in the machine is like, you have to fit in this box or you have to do this thing. And the world tries to take that childish wisdom from you. And that's why the world is the way it is, because people don't know how to play. People forgot how to just be. You know what I mean?
And
and
you talk about that a little bit in the finest too. You're saying like, I'm actually smarter than what's often spoken casually.
Yeah.
Kill my inner child, scream, mommy, are you proud of me?
Yeah.
So you talk about that a little bit in
That's
there
Yeah,
too.
and that's almost a reverse of it too, where it's like you have like the part of yourself that you gotta kind of let go, which is like the kill my inner child, screaming, mommy, are you proud of me? Is like saying like everyone has that thing where it's like, I just want to make my mama proud, and it's like, but it comes from being a kid and feeling like you just want to do right by these people, but at the end of the day, it's like I can't live by your standard, period.
Right.
Like, I have to live
Can't
by
wait
it.
on them.
Yeah, and if your mom is the person that you're always like trying to please your mom, like trying to make sure that like my mom looks at me like I'm an angel, right? You want to do right, so she's proud of you, right? So she tell her story to her friends and whatever, be like, this is my son, da 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 da. So if you're able to just like kill the fact in your mind, it's like I have to, like, I'm living in a way that's for her. If you can kill that, then anybody else, it doesn't matter, because that's your mom. So it's like,
You can't
if,
do it. We won't
you
do it
know,
for your
if I'm
mom,
not
we definitely won't
concerned,
do it for anybody else.
yeah, and that doesn't mean you don't love her. It just
Right.
means that you have to think for yourself and be yourself, and you got to be you, and you might not always live up to other people's standards. So
And we'll slide back over to Ryan's side,
Alright. That's good.
and we're on here. No, we're on.
I think we're on Who You Want to Be.
Yeah.
So technically, this is the oldest song on the album. Yeah, Riding Through the City is technically the oldest song, but then we revamped it, so it's not really anymore. But Who You Want to Be, is technically the oldest song that I made that's on the album. And now I was really just straight up like telling myself like, who do you want to be? You know, who you want to be?
Talking to yourself more in that song than
Yeah.
kind of,
Yeah,
like,
let
giving
my
that
soul be
out.
free. Like, just free yourself from all the constraints. All right, like you can do anything you want. You know. So it's just more like that. And then, why you here? What's your purpose? Who are you underneath the surface? You know. So just like, and then pull the curtains. See me with the sirens bursting. See me in the city, alerting everybody. You know, through the city, I'm alerting. Break the signal, see 'em lurking. That's for certain, I'm alerting. You know, so.
You
Yeah.
have that interlude in the beginning, just, and like that deep.
Oh, yeah, I was on my Morgan Freeman thing right there. I was just
I
like
love
that,
it.
popped my head, and then you asked me, he's like, was that you? I was like, yeah, that was me. Yeah. It was like, who are you really?
yeah,
You know?
I thought that
Who
was
do you
funny.
want to be?
Yeah, like, what is your purpose here? And then that's literally like
That's another-
right before I even record. It's like, you know, tell myself like, what are you even doing here? And then it's like, this is what I'm here to do.
Like,
Because
give-
I'm
give me
telling in the
messages.
hook, I'm like, who do you want to be? And then in the verse, I'm like, I'm telling you who I am. You know, what I'm here to do.
I
So.
love that.
And I
It's
would,
definitely,
yeah,
I like it.
that also goes into like the child, like that. I feel like that has the essence of the childish wisdom of like the exploration. Like a kid is like, if you look at a kid when they're playing and stuff, and they have the moment where they just space out, and they start doing something, it's like they've created a world in that moment, and now they're in that world. And it's like when you get older, it's harder to do that, where it's like, because you forget that you should be just a kid, and you look at something and be like, now you're in a world, you're on the moon. Or you look at this, now you're in the jungle, you're actually there because you feel like you're there. Yeah. So like the childish wisdom of the exploration factor.
I feel like another part of that's like, when you're a child, you're learning so much that your perspective changes a lot.
Yeah.
And so like, something that's not necessarily earth shattering to me would be shattering.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or to like. And these are kids that we all know.
Yeah. But, we'll have to cut that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like what's earth shattering to us isn't necessarily earth shattering to a little kid. And so like when they see that, they pause for a moment, and I guess maybe like they're reanalyzing everything they've thought of before. Yeah. And maybe it's a subconscious thing. It's not like they're having that conscious thought, because I know I didn't have that conscious thought when I was a kid, but something to think on. Yeah, because
the amount of life they have is different. It's like every one of those things, it's like it rearranges everything that they already know. Yeah. It's like they learn something and it's like calculations. Now this is reality. Yeah. Learn something. This is reality. But when you have more to go, it's like when you get to a point, it's like you've already established this much. So a lot of stuff I feel like you just write off. Like you hear something different. Go
back a couple years and revisit that instead of revisiting 10, 20 years ago.
Yeah, because if that's hard, you think about that. Yeah. You learn something today that you rather just not believe it than actually go back in 20 years of your life and realize that I might be standing on something that's not actually valid. It's easier to just be like,
Easier to just stand on your island than try to...
Then reroute it.
Yeah.
But it's wiser to reroute it.
Do another one of Ryan's. Slide into Here I
Am. Yeah. I felt like it was right to have a title track. You know, and I think when I caught the title was because it had been so long that from when I started making music to when the album was finally becoming like, okay, I got the album coming. You know, I got it working. Yeah, it's like we can visualize the end game now. Like before it was like I'm going towards this goal, but now I can see the finish line. And then I was like, you know, I'd done all this other music, you know, and I was like, I'm trying to think of like the whatever, and then it's Here I Am, like pop, because it was like, even with the pillar thing, it's like, okay, this is my pillar, Here I Am, like, you know. Now you can go look at all the other songs, like There I Am too, but like here's like just me. Now we have other people like he's on this album too, but you know,
Here I Am. Throwing yourself in front of the podium, right?
Yeah, there. Like this is my like presentation to the world, because it's the first like thing that's like on all the streaming things that is just like mine, like it was my idea, my vision, and you know. And then when I made the beat, I was like, yo, this like sound like Here I Am. So then I was like, okay. So that's when it made me draw the sketch out, because I was like, all right, I'm gonna draw the sketch. So I drew the sketch, and my sketch is on lined piece of paper with pencil. But then I had the idea, and I had it sitting up, and I was looking at it, and then so the first verse is gonna be the black and white side, and then the second verse is gonna be the color side. Yeah. And then so I wrote.
One that's like I always be vibrant.
Yeah, I always stay vibrant apart on flashy horizons, painting pictures of climates, new terrain I keep climbing, moving mountains with lyrics, connecting feel with my spirit. If it ain't real, don't get near it. If it's my place, I'm appearing.
And I feel like when I first heard that song, I was like, I do not like this song.
That's one. Honestly, after I've heard it back to you, I was like, I didn't catch it. And then you get back and you catch it. You gotta be able to hear it. You gotta open your ears up to be able to fall into that. Yeah. And that's the whole point. Because on the surface, it's not like the album's not like, if you're gonna put it next to a cookie cutter production, it's not gonna be the same, because it's not cookie cutter production. It's not. I'm not making it to fit this certain standard agenda. I'm just making the music, and I'm trying to bend it and morph it to how I think it sounds the best, or it could be received the best.
I remember we were doing the listen through right before you finished the masters, and when the song came on, I was like, yeah, cut the auto tune. Like I was kind of beating into it a little bit. Not even gonna lie. But then when I listened to it the second time, I was like, yeah, I still don't like it. But then we were listening to it in the car ride, and the third time, and I was just like, yo, this guy's bumping.
Actually, I remember I showed, I won't say his name, but I showed him when we were working, and we like had a break, and it was like one of the times he came on break with me. We went on break and we chilled. So then I played him the song, and on the way back, like, he didn't catch it. We like left the driveway and we were like 10 seconds down the road, and then he looks at me and he like caught it. And I was like, yeah. And at that point, it was a scratch. Like it was a scratch one, not like the done up one, right?
Right.
So, but yeah, it definitely was like that vibe. Like and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do the one verse, you know, black and white, one verse color, and then that's when I was like, all right, boom. That's why it was only 2 verses because it was like, boom.
Honestly,
So.
when I had no idea what you were saying till
Mhm.
like towards the end of mixing. I'm like, all right, you just gotta tell me what you're saying. I don't know what you're saying. So like me listening to it, I was just like, I'm always doing, I'm bad, I'm bad.
But that's about because that's even it. It's just like, yeah, whatever you want it to be, like.
Yeah, so I like the rhythm, the flow. Of it.
Yeah, that's what.
The part I was like, oh, this is fire.
Painting pictures of climbers, new terrain, I keep climbing. Yeah, and that's
Just-
the thing,
you just
new terrain.
bop
That's
to
the
it.
thing, right? Like this is a new terrain for me. Right? I
Right,
just
yeah.
keep climbing, moving mountains with lyrics. Like these lyrics eventually will help do something for the world, move the mountains of the earth, right? Connect and feel with me, you know. If it's not real, don't get near it. If it's my place, I'm appearing or up hearing. I'm gonna do what is required of me.
that's
I'm
hard.
appearing to my
Your appearance.
yeah. So
What I really like about that song too, and like what I didn't hear the first couple times listening through it, like it's definitely one you gotta like play back a couple times and
Mhm.
like really
sure.
capture.
just
all
like the
of it.
cover, right? You gotta look
Yeah.
at it a couple times.
I mean, I still look at that cover and catch new things.
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to like go through all mine. I'd rather have people come ask me about
Yeah,
it or
definitely.
like get their interpretation. And if they have everything but one, then I'll where's Waldo? That last little hint in there, right?
Me and you gotta get together so you can show me where Waldo is. 'Cause we
Yeah.
haven't gotten back on it.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I can blow it. I want to blow it up onto a poster, have it like
That'd be
hanging
sick.
around. So
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I'll get that in the next
but the
year.
music of Here I Am, it's just like that dum dum
yeah.
dum dum.
Yeah.
Dum. Like it's just like very like kind of puts you on the edge of your seat a little bit, you know. Because
Yeah.
there's a lot of confusing sounds that just mesh really well together.
That's exactly why it's so weird. It's such a weird song. Like you have it's almost like surfing.
yeah.
Like you could have the nicest wave, but if you don't catch it, you don't catch it.
Facts.
Or you have the smallest wave and you catch it perfectly, and it goes.
Things
You
go
just
all
gotta
short.
you just gotta find that little hit, and then once you're in it, and it's like yo.
and once you see
so-
it, you can't unsee it either.
Yeah. So usually, if you're listening to the album all the way through, you can catch it pretty easy. Like it's not hard. If you
Yeah.
just as a single, then it would be harder to. Which is why it didn't come out as a single, even though it's a title track.
It's good.
Right? Yeah.
Sliding back to Jason's side. We were on. Where are we?
We kind of went like 3, but
Yeah,
you can poke in
we're,
notes if you.
we're 13,
Yeah.
all in,
Oh yeah.
and that's more of just like kind of like an interlude.
Yeah.
But the build up is what like really caught my attention, and I can't even remember exactly how it is, but
Well, you hear the bass guitar coming first, which I played.
it's like last chance.
Oh
yeah, that's nice.
Last chance.
Yeah.
That song was like me. That was when we were at the old studio, and I used to move
Mhm.
the studio around a lot to like locate where I was at. And at that point, I had it tucked all the way against the corner wall, and I just had the bass guitar, and I played that thing, and then I had it was more of a beat. I had like drums and hi-hats and stuff, and I didn't feel like doing all the work to like put everything and do it all correctly, so I just looped over the bass that I had, and then on the recording I just put my phone out and just pressed on the voice recording to record, and then I was just slapping the bass, everything I had already put in there, and then that's when you hear the hi-hats coming, like, and I turn them off. That was like me, like the thing's recording, I like unmute the hi-hats here, I'm like, nah, I don't like them, and I turn them off, and when the snare comes in, it's loud, and that's me dragging the snare down a bit so that it hits it where it hits, so it starts loud and it goes like that. That was all just me live recording while the thing was open. And that's just what I sang, because that was just like the vibe of what I was feeling. It was kind of just like me not really trying to try to sound, like try to make it perfect, like make it this record. I was like, I don't feel like doing all that right now, so I'm just going to do this. And then as soon as I finished, like, that's what I was like, boom.
It's a short song too. It's,
Yeah.
it's just like
Okay.
it's what it is, and
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely get some.
And as an interlude being like
vibes,
last chance till the night is over, coming after, you might as well, where it's like you kind of went through these lessons that was happening, especially like the thing where it's like last chance. If you don't understand what I'm talking about at this point, like this is the last chance because it's about to change,
right.
you know.
Yeah. Definitely get like feelings of like X in there.
Yeah, that's what I thought about that.
Yeah, and that's
Channeling the vibrations.
Yeah.
And then
Rest in peace.
that slides into Back in a While.
Yeah.
And you're kind of telling the story
Yeah.
in that song. So you want to share what the story is?
Oh man, how do I start that record?
I'll be back. Man, I can't remember.
Well, okay, actually, at that point in time when I recorded that, I was listening to like Quemini by Outkast a lot. I just really like the song Quemini. It's like my favorite song off the album, and I was just like, I just really like Andre 3000, like the way he uses his voice. So that's what that was like in my head. That's what I was playing a lot and when I made that song. So I was just like kind of like, you know what, I'm like just gonna document. Like, I don't know why I made that song, but say underrated, never waited for the motivation. I'm underhated, so I make it up and turn my name in. Looking for collaboration in my appellation up there in the mountains where I claim to be half a nation. So it's kind of like just this, it's creating a scene because it's like where you have a dream or a vision, but people don't see it. That's why I say up there in the mountains, like in the mountains you're up there in your thoughts,
Right.
where I claim to be half a nation, because in my mind I'm like this, but people just see you like this.
Right.
Right, so it's like looking for collaboration in my appellation, like looking for collaboration in this thought that I'm creating up there in the mountains where I claim to be half a nation, where I'm like, well, I've already built a lot up here. You know what I mean? So I have my vision, right? So it's like I'm looking for help me build the rest. Then it goes back, but then it's like back to reality. I bought a Black & Mild from the gas station from an alien that asked me what flavor that I was chasing. Almost seen a UFO fly by at the same time that he asked for change, and I said, why? Where it's like that in that place of like, now you're back to reality. Like I'm thinking about this as I'm driving to the store.
Right.
Then I walk in the store, and now you're back, like you're in the Matrix world, you're in the world, right? And then it's like, you know, weird things going on. Then it's like, you know, when somebody asks, he goes, oh, like, here's your change or whatever. And you take it differently. Because, like, when I say why, like, people say, like, oh, you need to change, like, that form of change. But he's saying change is, like, coins.
Yeah.
But when someone says it, and you think of something different. Like, oh, do you need change? And then, but it's like, the change, like, that he's saying is the money. But for you, you're like, you take it deeper, and you're like, do I need to change? Like, he's asking me, like, spiritually, I'm being asked, is there some sort of change you need to make? And if you think of the scene, it's like where I'm saying I'm driving the gas tank on E, I spent my last dollar. So it's like these, now you're sitting and you're realizing because I spent my time in this dream world, and now I'm back in here and I'm like, oh shit, like my gas tank's on E, I just spent my last dollar. You know, probably could have been a sour taste in the Dow, you know, I could have had something else I was smoking on, but for now it's around town, somewhere else until I get back.
Right.
Dreaming about all the money I could give back. For now I'm doing sit-ups. So it's keep going back and forth from the thoughts to the reality. Like dreaming about all the money I can give back. For now I'm doing sit-ups, working on my six-pack. And even if I never made a track again, I could probably sit back off the stacks I collapse. Meaning like when you bounce a track, all the stacks you have collapse into one. And not that I made a lot of money off them, but the fact that I've made so many, even if I never made one again, eventually the shit's gonna go. And that would be that. And I could probably sit back off that alone and not do anything. You know what I mean? Because and even in the sense of not even money, just accomplished. Because I've done so much through the music where it's like I could probably never record again and still have said so much. You know? Again, probably sit back on the side. I say, and I'm probably looking bummy with the homeless, where I'm saying like I'm not really trying to like present myself in a certain way, just being myself. And that's the only difference that I see. If you ask me where my home is, I'm gonna tell you out of space, somewhere where the Jakes can't control us, and I'm on this playing it for the meantime. In a space I don't see time, and the clock keeps spinning, always pointing at the finish line. That's my favorite bar of the record, because it's like the clock keeps moving, and it's like we think time's going on, but it's always pointing at the finish line. So it's always pointing at now, the finish line, endless destination, right? Tying it back into that, but just being like, yeah. So that's my favorite line of that record, and it's and I'm finished mine. Say I'm finished this line. I'm finished this song. And I finished mine for now, but I'll be back in a while. Just kind of using the voice to like flow all the letters. So just a cool little song in there. I like the writing of it. Yeah.
Something that caught my mind when you were explaining that was like, when did you write this song?
Probably like 2020 maybe.
2020.
Late 2020. Probably.
I was gonna say I asked about any Journey influence on it, but
that was before.
It was before then. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I could think when you were saying that, like coming from the mountain, right? and like you rode to the gas station on E, right?
Mm.
Us going like through Roswell,
Yeah.
right? And then the alien asking like what flavor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. You know, you painted that scene, you know, from
Yeah,
before.
that's
so
facts. I didn't
when we
think
did
of
that, so that's a good connection.
So
too.
it's something that I just thought of.
Next time I have to listen to it, I'm gonna look about like that.
Because you always make your own connections even with somebody else's work, right? So like I'm sure like somebody else might have a similar story to share that you experienced, even like just like what I did, and even though it's completely different
Yeah.
scenarios, it's just I pulled that out of some kind of experience I experienced with both of y'all. So
Facts. Yeah, same different routes.
I think we're on pace where we can do 1 and 1 now.
Cool.
So go to Ryan next. All Night Long.
All night long.
That's one of my like I like that one a lot, and it's just like I remember you telling me a while ago that it wasn't one of your favorite songs when you first came in there. You're feeling like a little shaky on it, and you said that Jason kind of like gave you that nudge that you needed to like just go ahead and just post it on this album.
Yeah, I definitely. It was just one of like, you know, sometimes you're a little harsh. You're like too harsh of a critic on yourself, you know, where it's like the hook honestly just sounded kind of corny to me at the time. I was just like, I don't know, like blah blah blah. But then he was like, oh, I like it, and I was like, okay. So then I like gave it. I like dismissed all my thoughts about it, and I re-listened to it, and then I heard the verses again, and I was like, yeah, this is dope, this is good. So then like that little reassurance, you know, just because, you know, it's like it's hard sometimes to like keep pushing yourself to be like, yo, this is like fire. It's always fire. Because you're always, especially when you're trying to nitpick it and like, you know, get it to sound where you want it to be. You know, it's sometimes you just need that little like thing, like reassurance.
Yeah, it was a cool song. When you guys first said that like last week, when you told me that, I was like, I was what you didn't like it at first. I didn't even remember that. I was like, I didn't even remember that.
Yeah.
But
it was quick. It wasn't like. It was just like I was showing you what song I'm gonna put on. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna put this one. You're like, oh no, it's good. I like it. I was like, okay.
You had a little section of like the maybes.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's in there? We went in there and I was like, why? Like, I feel like I was like, why is this? This one's pretty cool. Why is this one in here?
Yeah.
Like, well, you're not gonna use this one?
Just a little collaborate, you know. But then it ends up going on there, and then you know, it got put in a good spot, and
I just like it. I like the songs that just make you move. You know, when you listen to them, like you just move, and that's like all night long, and it makes you just want to move a little bit. And I just feel like
out in the cold, you can catch the building fires coming close up in the warmth.
Like, imagine you're like walking home somewhere and you're just freezing outside. And you listen to that, and like your steps are lined up to the beat. All night, and you're walking fast. You're trying to get home. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's real life. You know, I like that.
I hopped in my car one day. It was like, I don't know, like whatever day we did that bonfire. Right after we finished moving all the stuff out. And I hopped back in the car, and that song was the first one that played on the album, because I just have your album just plugged in whenever.
Yeah.
It's easy, just hit the disc button.
Yeah.
But that song came on, and I was like, yo, it's cold outside, we just had the bonfire, so it was just like a cool moment.
Yeah, built the fire.
Built the fire, brought the warmth.
Yeah, it's definitely cool, because I definitely thought, like, if you listen, like, you first listen, it's like, almost like I'm talking to a girl, but I'm really talking to, like, friends and, like, people around, and just, like, anybody, so it's definitely, it's clever in a way, too, so.
And like you can we could talk all night, or we can make some music.
Yeah.
It's like talking about what you do on a normal basis, right?
Yeah. And then make some music as like we can make a song, we can just make sound, we can, you know,
make love.
Yeah.
Talking up with a girl, right? Make some music.
So so it's interpretation.
Yeah.
So.
Slide back over to Jason's side. I feel like I say that every time we slide over to Jason.
It's alright, nice transitional piece.
Yeah.
Come on, slide on over. We can
like,
go
recalibrate, because his vibe is so different.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely cool. I mean, one thing that I'll say, like, I remember I asked Jason, I was like, how many songs do you have? I was like, 25. I was like, hey, cool. And I was like, alright, mine's 19. So, what is that? 44?
Right.
So, that's cool. And then I was like, how long is it? And we go, it's like hour 9 minutes. And I was like, yo, mine's an hour 9 minutes.
Yeah.
So it was a cool balance, because I was like, well, mine's 19 songs and it was an hour 9 minutes. So I always thought that was cool, because I was like, oh, that's a nice balance. But then I did my last edit, and it's 1 hour and 8 minutes now. So it's like low key. I was like,
Got 'em.
no, but I was like, like
more songs and the longer track.
I was like, is the number like does it the extra minute on iTunes or Spotify the way it looks, does that really matter versus like how I
They
like?
be adding extra time though when you look at it. Sometimes the song is a little shorter and then it gives it the little extra oomph. Like I'll be like, this song is 3 minutes and it's 3:01. I'm just like,
You're wrong.
bro, what are you doing? Messing with me?
Messing
Yeah.
with my sound.
And if each one of those is a second longer, and then that second laps over where the minute mark is, like however whatever it is goes, then you might be 109 because it's gonna round.
Yeah, so I was like, after that I was like, I'm not going back to figure out how to make it like
add
this
some
is how.
audio tails.
We
like-
said on the new, what's it? New sound platform that JC made.
Oh, title.
Tidal, it gives you the seconds also, right?
Oh yeah, it does give you the actual. It gives you like
that's dope.
it gives you hour, minute, seconds. Yeah, so that's how because I was like hour, 8 minutes, and it's like 14 seconds or something like that. So probably what it was probably like 31 or 32, like right over.
Or
So it
some
rounded
audio
up,
tails.
But then I'll cut it down to whatever. But that was just how I was feeling. I was listening to it. I went through and I listened to it, and that's how I felt how it should be. So I was like, that's just what it is. But so it did lose that a little bit. But in my mind, it's always rounds up to. If it goes past an hour, 8 minutes, then we're gonna round up to hour 9. And then on that, you have to go and click it.
You're in your 1 hour and 9th minute at that point, right? Because you've done the 1 hour and 8th minute. Now you've crossed the 1 hour.
So we're playing soccer, and the goal scored is gonna be the next minute, right?
Right,
So.
definitely. But we're on Elevate Through the Matrix.
Mm.
I feel like that's a transitional piece in that album.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, now we talked about all this stuff that could be going on, stuff like that we're thinking up here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now we're talking about some some more material things, right? So like elevating up, going above like what this material thing is.
To the next level.
Yeah. And
after All In, right? Last chance for the night is over, and now
Yeah.
we're elevating. So it's like last chance to catch the ride because now we're elevating.
now we're elevating out of this.
Yeah.
It's a good transition. I need to think about that.
Mm-hmm. The sequencing of the album, that's like one of my favorite parts.
Yeah.
And then you're saying like they don't know shit, they're lying. They don't know shit about dying.
Yeah.
Even though like religion says like if you follow these steps you'll go to heaven, right? Or like atheists believe that there's nothing after life, right? And like everybody has like this certain fixated thing about like what happens after you die, but then you're like, nah, like we don't know.
Well, I'm not saying we don't know.
But
I'm saying they don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they don't know shit about dying.
Yeah.
They're lying about it if they do. If they're saying that they do.
Yeah, that point about the track listing, it's definitely fun to do. I think it's like a jigsaw puzzle. Like some pieces are like the same, but if you don't put them in that order, the picture's gonna be completely different.
Yeah.
So it's like getting that picture right.
I think also in this day and age, it's like it's so single driven that you forget that it's like when I was saying the albums, like when I was talking about those 3 songs that work together to paint a picture, those 3 together. If you listen to them all individually, you're gonna get a specific picture. If you listen to them in order, you're gonna get a different one.
Yeah.
And that's always been my favorite thing to do with the albums, where it's like if you listen to the whole album from top to bottom, we painted you a picture. I mean, we did that with 5 albums, doing the land, the shore, the water, the deep, and the tide. If you listen to all of them individually, you'll get your own picture of the things. But if you listen to them all together, there's a whole story. It's like a book being told. And if you're able to have the patience to do that, you're gonna unlock more about the music.
I don't think I've ever done that before.
Yeah,
That's
All
definitely.
5 of them in a row.
Yeah. So.
And I got as they released, right?
Yeah, well, we
How
released
you
4
doing?
on the same day.
Yeah.
So it was like kind of hard to
Well,
give
if
you that.
for our viewers right now, if the people that one day will go out and check it out, what would you say they should listen? What order?
Well, it's like we did it right. We did like the land, and then the shore. So you're in the land, you walk to the shore, then you're in the water. Then what happens if you go too far? You're in the deep.
Right.
And then how do you get back? The tide, right?
Okay.
And then together it's the sea. So
Yeah.
collection.
And we made the C collection as like almost like a shorter. If you don't want to listen to 56 songs, that's 56 total. We'll give you it was like 22 or 24.
Yeah.
But then 24 to give you like the summary, like the spark notes.
The original idea was having like,
that.
you know, when you like buy like if you buy like, say you bought like a collection of Bob Marley's albums, you had like 4 albums in there, right? Like something like that. You have visualized on the shelf, like you'd buy this box, got all 5. That's what I visualized when I first thought, like when we were first talking about like the C as like a general thing.
Yeah.
It's like having the collection.
We actually never did that, but we had the idea to make a little. We were looking up these CD box things.
We'll do that. We'll do that on an anniversary or
yeah,
whatever.
that'd be cool. Maybe like a 10 year or something.
Yeah, maybe 5.
Right, so I want to do a
5
song, but
albums,
it's
5
Yeah,
years, right?
Actually, that's cool.
That's pretty
So,
cool.
what was it, 2020?
Yeah.
So yeah, 2025.
It's not too far.
Look for the C
Only a
collection.
year, 2
Yeah,
years. Yeah.
about 2.5 right
So
now.
that's perfect, halfway, right?
Yeah.
We just did a question for Jason, so we're gonna.
What was the song that we were doing?
Elevate
to the Matrix.
Oh yeah, one thing I want to say on that, the last part is the outro is fire. Cause the outro is like where I say something like, so we got to find another way to elevate out the Matrix. And then you hear like you hear the phone call like in the movie The Matrix when they call.
Yeah,
to
that
get
part
out.
is nice. Yeah.
That outro
That
I
was
thought
nice,
was
ear
pretty
candy,
fire
yeah,
because
for
it's
sure.
like just and you're dialed out the Matrix. So at that point of the album, you're no longer in the Matrix.
Mm.
Yeah.
Because when I bought a Black Mile at the gas station, I was in the Matrix, and I elevated out of it.
Yeah.
So now we're in a different part.
So you gave him a chance to come with you.
Yeah, it's like now this.
Now we're here.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I like that. And then we're on Relinquish Control.
Mm.
And the first note I have on here is just like, it's just like a real piece. You know what I'm saying? Like you're speaking about a lot of, like not speaking in metaphor. You know what I'm saying? You're just speaking at like saying very direct.
Yeah.
What you're trying to get across in here. So
Honestly, the song, if you were to summarize my college experience, it was like young kid headed straight into college. Like that, I was young. I was still young-minded, thrown into the wolves of, being by yourself in this university sense. But it didn't take me long to like settle in and realize that I'm like one of the nicest people here. I could start. You know what I mean?
Right.
So then, and then everything else like going to like that's now we're in the history didn't take me long for Ballin. Is this the Peter Rabbit song?
This does have the
Yeah.
no. Is it? Yeah.
Hopped
I
out
think
quick.
you're right,
Yeah, hopped out, and now so that was basically like time like I spent a lot of time like jumping into like your world per se. Like let me see where you're at and help you. Like let me be that little diamond in the rough, or like that little picture, like that little thing that where's Waldo. Let me help you let me incept this idea of like being yourself, right? So then it was like I spent so long. That was like got real nice using trees to jump in gardens. If we roll one up, it's easy to jump into the mind, start talking.
Right.
And then I realized that McGregor, like the farm, not everyone wants you in their garden.
Yeah.
So I learned how to hop out quick like Peter Rabbit, right? So that was just a play on there, but it was really just like and then I spent so much time doing that I like lost what I was doing. Because I put so much of myself into other people. So then it took me time to, let me get these pieces back and like put them back into myself and work on myself and because if you're not right, you can't really help anybody else, right? So you gotta be good. So, so basically that whole song is, just like what my thoughts were in college, like what I would be thinking about, talking about, things like that. And that was just what I wrapped it up into. Yeah.
I like it.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, relinquish control.
Relinquish Control.
Yeah.
Now we slide back over to Jason, going to All Facts. And this is that song I've been like bumping like on repeat.
Yeah.
And like there's the very beginning it has like that pause, right? And it was some bump 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 bump. And like when you loop it, right?
This is the part where this part pauses and then like the song plays real quick so that the listener knows what we're talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
But like if you loop it, right, there's like a silence and then like it goes back into that beat.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, dum, bum,
Yeah.
bum, bum, bum.
Mhm.
And I just like I listened to it probably like 15 times in a row
Mhm.
yesterday.
Yeah, that's a lot. It's nice when you get those songs that just loop like that. Like Free to Be is like that, where it's
Yeah.
like when how I listen to it was it would always be on repeat. So like when the last, like sometimes I listen to the album, I think that like the first hit of the song was gonna hit again because like that's just how I listen to it. Like the beat ends and boom, it's perfect loop, boom, right back into it. So, but yeah, it's definitely.
When I think of that song, I think of the vibe of that song. You guys, I know you've seen it. Have you seen the movie Robots?
Mm-mm. Well, I think Ryan
Yeah.
showed me part of it, and I fell asleep like halfway at the end.
Okay, so
That's a really good
in the
one,
movie
yeah.
Robots, when they get to like the under part where they burn all like the pieces and make new ones, the beat reminds me of that. Where it's like you got these grimy like
Dum,
machines
dum,
that are
dum.
just exactly just just
Dun,
they don't
dun,
care.
dun.
They're just killing the robots that don't care because like, oh, you're not up to this part, so we don't care. And it's like that ruthlessness of it, and but also being like this thing is existing, but it's affecting other people without you even seeing this place. But this is affecting people, and that's why I say like usually I probably say I do me, you probably say you do you. We go our separate ways, but right now I'm tripping. I'm looking at the children, the way that we be living, and how these things keep killing us slowly. And that brought you right back down to that grimy bang around the world because it's numb.
Right.
The song is numb, and that's why. So even though I have this, you just go right back to being numb again because you try to do something, and then you're back to it because like. The beast is so fucking powerful.
Right.
You know? So it's like, then it's like, man around the
Well,
world.
you're thinking of those children, right? So you want to come together to help them.
And usually when people are like on a different vibe than you are, and you're not really rocking with the energy, you usually just be like, all right, you do you, I'm going to do me. It's all good. We go our separate ways, like no problem. Because it's like, you do you, I'm going to do me. It's all good. But then when that you doing you and I'm doing me, but that thing that's being done is hurting people, that's when I say right now I'm tripping because it's like, man, like it can't just be you do you and I'll just leave you alone when what you're doing is damaging people.
Right.
And I'm seeing it happen. So it's like usually I'm just like, all right, it's cool. But then when it's like that, it's like, damn, I'm thinking about the children. Like what you're doing is actually hurting people. And that's when it's like, damn, okay.
Setting us up for failure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then at what part do you say, well, now I can't just say you do you. At what part do you have to step in and make sure that machinery gets shut down? Because that is killing people. You know what I mean? But you're still numb.
Still numb.
While doing it because this is the world we live in.
Y'all want to take a short break? We're at the 2-hour mark right now.
I say we keep rocking.
Keep rocking?
Yeah, we're close.
Yeah. I think that we're
Unless
gonna.
You gotta go to the bathroom or something.
I wanted to get another drink. That was my main
Fact.
thing.
Well, we can take
I'll
a short.
take a
we can intermission real quick. But I think that we should snowball.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So.
A little quick 2-minute.
Little 2-minute breaker.
Little 2-minute break. Also, I want to note that we can watch it back and think. But earlier we were talking about the Peter Rabbit thing. You said to be continued.
I did, and I was wrong. I was
So
thinking
I
about
was
that
right
as you
from the
were saying
beginning.
that.
Relinquish controlled was it from the beginning, which confused me when we brought.
I think it was free to be is what I said. Actually.
Oh, okay, that's why it'd be what it said. Yeah. So I was like, okay, yes, but it was relinquish control.
It was relinquish control though.
Yeah.
We're gonna look back at that and we're like, yo, Eddie was wrong.
So I was right.
We can have a little lull in there.
Because I said like, oh, I was wrong too, so it's alright.
But no, you were right.
But I was right. So it's not alright.
I thought you were right. I thought about that as we were.
This is the part where we can just speed it up.
Right.
Like all the movement that happened, but then it will slow down right here for me saying this, and then it'll just be sped up until we all sit back down.
Right. Well, I know you'll catch like it would be like slowed down right for me to see the luxuries of outside peeing, and then you'll say that,
Yeah.
and it'll speed up
Like,
again.
really fast words. Yeah.
Ugh. Can't show no brands.
Brought to you in part by Oceans on Arrival. With all your ocean needs. Arriving at a store near you.
Alright, second intermission.
We had a first one?
We did.
Yeah, we did when we were
Get the charger.
plugging the vape up and
Oh.
pulling the computer off. Here we are, boys.
Back at it.
Third act.
I guess in a way we can put the whole video out and then we can do like a 3-part, like part 1, part 2, part 3, or full length.
No, each one's been about an hour or so long.
Well,
Each-
we're
between each
at
break.
2 hours. Yeah, we're at 2 hours. So
that's a good point.
We can debate it.
All right,
what song are we on?
and we're back.
Yes, sir.
We left off on All Facts, so we'll slide over to Ryan.
I think we're on
Come Together.
Come together.
Yes, we
So
are.
what do you got to say about this one now, Eddie?
What you got to
For
say?
the record, he said I
tonight?
could leave this one off.
I did say that,
Yeah.
huh?
You're like, on the last
I do
listen.
remember saying
You're like,
about a song, but I didn't realize it was this song.
yeah, you're like, oh, you
How
can leave
did
it
that-
off.
What does this one do?
It's like, it seems the world is falling down. We lost our way somewhere somehow. Feels real dark when I look around. I see the sorrow, so let go.
That's my favorite part. So let go.
It's
Hold
definitely a
I
vibe.
just want to say real quick though, one thing I really like about your album is all the different things you do with your voice. When you listen to it, it's
True.
not like the same. Like you don't have like a monotone where it's like every song you're like, oh, that's him.
Yeah.
It's like you might listen to that and be like, who is that guy? Who is that guy? But it's you.
Yeah.
And I just like all those different
True.
vocal things where it's like not just
I'll have
one
to
palette.
listen.
Like you're painting with all these different colors.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Which
Yeah,
I think
because
is
even
really
I
cool.
think that's one thing when we mix two, want to be like how we, because like at first it's weird to like, it's like, why are you here? What's your purpose?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like it kind of like it's like a cut, it's like a choppiness, but then it gives you that other side where it's like
Yeah.
not
And it
so
feels slightly like just like
cookie cutter.
what's the word, like mischievous. And we say, why are you here? It feels like mischievous, like someone's like, why are you here?
Yeah.
What's your purpose? Like
Right.
like the guy from that
that
one movie where he's like in New Orleans. It's the Disney movie. He's like the guy who cooks all the stuff. He's got all the potions. The voodoo guy, Dr. Voodoo, is that his name?
I don't know.
I don't know, but it's like that guy. He's just mischievous, like he's like things are going on, like yeah.
Alright.
But that's a different song. So.
You have a one line in there. It's like, let go of all the hate and disgust. And that's all I wrote down, so that's all I can help you with.
19, I'm here to lead. Is it in the rap part?
I think it's in the rap part, yeah.
Is it bad for me? It's been so long since we had room for thought. Through the people, they watching, I'm swerving. System built for controlling. Dangle dollars in front of faces like the kid inside the candy store on Willy Wonka. I don't know. I don't remember any of the
Maybe
stuff.
not. I don't know. Maybe
It's
it was
like-
a thought I had.
Yeah, I don't. There
So
wasn't.
come to
any.
the session.
Well, what do you feel about the song?
I think that was.
Selected. Anyone can come.
Yeah, I think it's honestly like the Here I Am soundtrack of having like the dark side and the light side without intentionally doing it. Because
Right.
you got like the dark side of like, it seems the world is falling down. That's like the black and white. It's like, so let go. You know, if you're feeling lost, all you do is just flip to this side and look over
Right.
here, you know, and you'll be found. And then it's just like 19 songs. I'm not 19 anymore, but 19 songs. 19, I'm here to lead a generation back from evil.
I didn't know
And-
if you recorded that when you were.
No, it wasn't
19.
that. No, I was like 22 or something, 23 at that point, but or 24, I don't remember. But you know, but it was the vibe of the 19. Like 19 is probably like year one for me.
Right.
You know, so in that zone, it was like out like 19 kind of wrapped around the whole album. So it was just like 19. So the whole vibe. I'm here to lead a generation back from evil. And it's really just my story. It's been so long since we had room for thought. They always feed you. Chef Boyardee all on my screen while I was watching TiVo way back when.
Right.
You know?
TiVo's like
You know?
non-existent
Now I hear telephones everywhere I go through the people or the peephole. They're watching. I'm swerving. You know? And then it goes to the rest. So it's really just like a testament of who I am at this point. So it was like dark side, light side, me in the middle. You know, my face in the middle.
Cool.
So that's honestly like what came to me just now based on it was almost like the Here I Am title track before Here I Am
was done,
yeah.
Well, I thought maybe also like, you know, it reflects a good bit, like you said, 19, right? So like you're in college at 19, right?
Mhm.
And so like the first song, the previous song before this one, you're talking about like,
Yeah.
you're the one, like you realized you were the one in college, right? You were like,
Yeah.
you had greater
The
purpose.
Neo of that Matrix.
Mhm.
And sliding to this is like that reflection of that time. I
Yeah,
feel like,
exactly. So it was definitely and that's why I put them back to back like that, where it was almost like that, like it felt like the darkest. This song feels like the darkest song to me.
No, I was
Just
gonna
based,
say
and it's
that's
not
it.
even that dark in the beginning. It's just that beginning part, but it's really just like that eeriness, you know, where you just went through like relinquish control, which is not like positive in a way. It's like more just like what I went through and like what I'm thinking about and things like that, you know. And
Yeah,
then
these last two songs I definitely feel like were like the darker elements of the album.
yeah,
And then you slide into different days, which like gives you like that light, like hopeful
it's
feeling,
still
you know?
dark, but it's light.
Yeah,
too.
Mm.
It's like
Like,
having
you're acknowledging the dark, but then you're like, yo, this is here too.
it's like a
so.
candle.
Yeah.
right?
Going to different days.
So yeah, I guess we'll slide in different
Okay.
days.
Yeah,
we
go
can
ahead.
reverse the order back and forth. Yeah, so that was definitely one that I thought I made the beat, but I remember that he made the beat.
Yeah, because he
Was
was
it-
like, Ryan was saying before, he's like, all right, I made all the beats on this album, and I was like, I thought I made that beat.
And then I was like, I said to cut my ego real quick because I was like, I
Oh,
didn't make all the
okay.
beats. So,
But I didn't know because I couldn't remember if I did that like the.
but I do remember the day because it was another one of those days we were talking about earlier, like when you're feeling stuck. It was one of those ones that I was stuck. And then he made the beat, and then I did my thing, and that was really like he was just like, you just got to be honest.
That's honestly the record that made me kind of fully embrace like your voice, because I was always like yo, you gotta come in harder, you gotta do it like this, whatever. Because early on when I was just making like I was tunnel vision what I was doing, like creating the vision that I had, and when we make music together, I'd be like, yo, you gotta do this, da 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 da. And after a while, I realized like there's like a certain pain in his voice that I was always trying to be like, yo, you gotta break through that pain. But then I realized that pain in his voice is him breaking through that pain, because it's right there, you can feel it.
Right.
And so I was always trying to get him to like be here, but he's actually just supposed to be here. Like that's where it was, not maybe just embrace this thing. And it's like we didn't even use auto-tune for the first hook because it was just like let you feel that vibration as it is and just be in that spot.
Yeah, and that's definitely one that's like that starting that breakthrough where, it's the mundane life, like different days seems like things stay in the same.
Yeah.
Feeling lost in this world around me, like we're doing this music thing, but I'm lost right now. Like, I'm
Right.
trying to figure out how to I know where I want to go, but how am I gonna get there? And time's moving. It's not like he's standing still.
Yeah.
So it's like this, like almost this pressure on myself to keep up.
Yeah.
Instead of just like let me just, once I start going, I'll move fast. So just like kind of get to that, and then once we had that song, then you listen to it, and then it's the vibe. So that transitions to the next song, but we can get there. But it's really, I liked having that there because it was like we had those back-to-back songs. It was like my time in college, it was nice, but also there was some negative to it, and then like what was the next one? Come Together. And that's why I named it Come Together. He said he wanted to name it Let Go, but that's what I thought Relinquish Control is.
Like,
Right.
yeah.
Let
know?
go, and then you come together.
And they come together because actually what's the about? Like it's the world is lost, but if you let go, like together we can like come together and do something about this.
Yeah.
But as much to have that thought and that want, different days, things feel like they say the same. As much as you want things to change, like sometimes it just doesn't change right away. Or
Well, going back to come together, right? It's like you gotta sometimes to like be able to come together with somebody, you gotta let go of something else.
Mm-hmm.
And so like you also like talk about that sacrifice. I feel like sacrificing one thing for another, which you feel like is gonna be best for you, right?
Yeah, facts. That's good. That's definitely I'm gonna take that next time I listen to it too, because there's definitely like some sacrifice in there, and the college thing, like it's like a whole nother life at that point.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm a whole different person. You realize like
Yeah.
what, almost 6-7 years.
Well, I've
ago,
always been the
right?
same. I've always been the same, but what I see now and how I,
Right.
because I was back in the day, like, like any person, I'm trying to like help everybody. I'm saying all like, what I mean? But then
Captain Save a Hoe.
eventually you become that picture on the wall where it's like they're used to you, where it's like this is this poster, eventually when you look at the Here I Am thing, like you're gonna get all the references, and once you get all the references, you might not want to. You might not look at it the same because now you see everything, right? But some people like it's easier for them to let me look at something different, and that's just what that is. Like, that's just him saying this, or he's just
he's that guy who does that thing.
Yeah. Oh, he's
Right.
just smoking in the corner. You know what I mean? Things like that. Instead of like I'm like watching everything that's going down. They don't see that perspective, right? But it's just like, that's the kid in the corner, right? So it's just a whole bunch of different like energy in there, and that's why like I think Williams School. I think I encapsulated like as best as I could encapsulate like 5 years into one song, So and then come
It's hard to do that. And there's a lot of time. Yeah.
And that's why there's no that. It's just like from the second it starts, it's just like words.
Is that the
Words.
one that has the? No, that's not Fuck Your Hook. We've been looking
No.
Well, yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. But but that other one, I had done that where I just and that was one of the things I wanted to do because I always admired that when people just like the whole song. I realized like, damn, the whole song was just like a rap basically. Like that's what the song was.
Right.
And it's not like a rap to like be like smart or like it, but literally just saying what happened, like things that happen and how I feel.
Recording life.
You know, so it's really just like instead of having conversation, here's the conversation.
Yeah, but that's art, reflection of
It's
soul.
my side of the conversation.
Yeah, so in different days, this is a beautiful song. Like honestly, like
Yeah.
you know, you could like it's one of those ones you could be happy as fuck, and that shit comes on, you still sing it, you know, because it's a vibe.
It's
you
a
know,
good song, yeah.
it's definitely one like if you're down, like it's easy, like it's a nice pick, like you know, feeling lost. Sun been shining, I've been caught up in the rain, hoping I can find my way out it. And those days that I'm feeling good, you know, and then you remember that like, oh, I was there. Just how do I get back there?
Right.
Is this thing bothering me really that important to bother me?
Mm.
You know, let me just let it go. You know, relinquish control of what is getting fed to you, versus like, and then control what you can control and let go what you can't. You know, that's just.
I feel like my verse like complements that because it's like. I say all paths lead back to the same thing. So it's like when you say like, what's the hook? Sing the hook.
Different days seems like things staying the same.
Feeling lost in this world around me, but it's
Yeah.
like that I'm saying it's like a reassurance of like, and that's like a real life, not just me writing a verse over here, but that was actually me like writing this for him to hear it. Would be like all paths lead back to the same things. All the tolls in the road ain't fair change. Saying like all the things you have to go through, all the lessons you have to pay for, it's not always fair. It's not always a fair change. It goes into the road vibe that I have in the way I was writing it. All the potholes don't mean drive slow. Sometimes that means you could just switch lanes. And that actually was a real life thing where we were driving home, picking up someone from the airport, and there was a pothole. And he drove slow to go through the pothole, but he hit the pothole and it messed up the navigation of the computer. And I was telling him to just go around it.
Right.
And he did, and he didn't listen. So we went through it and it messed with the navigation.
Hey man, fix them potholes on the roads,
Yeah.
bro.
And
We got the money.
We did that. We did that song a couple days later. And we got like a little like just conversation. I was like, bro, you could have just got out the way. He's like, whatever. And it was like this little back and forth kind of thing.
That was a little stab at Ryan in his own album.
Well, it wasn't a stab. It wasn't a stab. It was more so just
To be
pointing
fair, that
out-
song wasn't on the album at the point. It was more like a single vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was just
I think I
pointing out
added
these
that
things.
in one taste.
But that's why I said the next line, sometimes potholes don't mean drive slow. Sometimes that means you could just switch lanes. Sometimes fingers pointing out don't point blame. Where it's like I'm not pointing blame. I'm not saying it's your fault that the navigation got messed up or just anything in life. It's not like if you point out something doesn't mean that you're pointing blame. Because when people go like that, it's like, oh, you're pointing at them. It's like you're blaming them. But it's like sometimes when you point something out, it doesn't mean I'm blaming you for something. It just means that you're pointing something out. And that's like sometimes self-doubt don't mean lame. So sometimes when you're like doubting yourself and you're thinking that, oh, is it good enough? It doesn't mean just because you're doubting yourself that you're lame. And so sometimes there's a few things that you got to figure out first before you make it to the next stage. You know, what did I say after that? Sometimes everything. Sometimes I sit back and I press play. And now I'm kind of reflecting on myself because before I'm telling you, whether it's him or just a listener, like this is what I'm telling you. And then I'm sitting back to myself, me acknowledging this in my own presence. Like sometimes I just sit back and I press play where it's like life's going by, I just press play. Sometimes I can't wait for the next day. Like where I'm like, oh, I'm not happy today and I just can't wait for the next day. I'm like, man, I just want the next thing because I'm not happy right now. Wait for the next day.
Some days I just sit back and prep.
Some days see stars in the sky.
Oh yes,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
one of the best lines. Like sometimes I see stars in disguise as reminders that I'm in your plan and it's okay. Like looking up to the greater picture, the stars in the sky as like as a reminder that we're all where we're supposed to be, and I'm in your plan and it's okay. You know, all paths, and then I'm back to the beginning. All paths lead back to the same things. All the tolls in the road ain't fair change. A reminder. All the potholes don't mean drive slow. Sometimes that means you could just switch lanes. Because you're no matter where you go, it's gonna lead to the same thing. So sometimes you can just pick your route. So real life.
Different days.
Different days.
Yeah.
Let me slide over back to Jason. It's interesting because like Ryan's is all like nice and organized, all the notes, and then Jason's is like all over the place.
As it, I guess it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. The album vibes right there. Yeah.
We go into projections next.
Banger. Hardest.
That's your favorite one on there, you think?
No, I won't say favorite, but it's fucking fire, dude. That song is so hard.
I mean, we're all three on that one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a product of Oceans on Arrival right there.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of those ones that just had like one taste. You know what I mean? Just like everyone's in the right place, right time, right mindset, and it just has to happen. Because now with that song, it's like we're not pressed to make an Ocean. You know what I mean? It's not pressed to like, oh, we gotta make a song where Eddie's on. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because we have this song. You know, we have all these, we have songs, and like it's not like an unknown thing. It's like, oh, look at this song, so we can do it. You know what I mean? So even that, it's just a beautiful thing, and we all did our thing on there. And
that was a beat that was old. I had that beat in the library because beats that I just make them and nothing comes to me at the time. I'll just tuck them away, and like 99% of them, and I mean 99%, I never go back to. Like 1 of 100 of the ones that I tuck away will come back up. Maybe 1 in 50. But it's like most of them, if they get tucked in those folders, or it's like I have the tier list of tier like S tier to like E tier of beats. Like if it gets tucked in there, it's gone.
Yeah, because we're never really in a situation where we're like playing beats out, right? We're like,
no, yeah, I'm always
just like let's just make one, right?
Yeah,
so then for that reason that we were during that day that we is that vibe where we're gonna play the like, all right, what beats do we got? Boom, boom, boom. And then luckily we just
we had another person here with us.
Yeah.
And their part didn't make it on the song, but we were all kind of just feeling that beat too. Like the 4 of us in that moment, we were feeling that beat.
I think we changed the drums though.
I think we did change the drums.
There was
a 5th person in the room that wasn't feeling it, but he didn't make it.
Oh, but he left.
He left like halfway through us making the song.
Yeah.
And that was part of the vibe we were talking about earlier with like being like if you weren't there from this or if you're not part like it can change what's going on versus like, you know. And we were talking before like if everyone's pulling a rope one way and one person's pulling the other way, it's gonna be harder to get what we're trying to do done. But if everyone's pulling, even if they're pulling like it could be like the hardest they can or the smallest they can, but they're still pulling in the same direction. Yeah, you know, we'll get there a lot faster.
As long as you're not pulling it backwards.
I'll use a great example. We were moving stuff out of the crib you're all about to move into, and you had that big shelf that was like your mom's gonna put in the garage or something like that. We had to move. It was like huge, and we just left it on the dolly. I think you were there with me. And your dad was like on the other side and we were on one side.
Oh yeah, we were all there. Remember we were like trying to pull one way and he was pulling the other way and he was like, "Let's not move." He was like, "Push." We're like, "I thought you said pull." So we were all pulling, he was trying to fight it through the door.
I don't remember that.
Wow, where were we? I can't remember. Oh, it was the fridge. Maybe you weren't there. Was Calvin there instead?
No, it was the the shelf, like the.
It was the brown. It wasn't the brown.
Was it that big thing?
That was like pink and like.
Oh, that big thing. Yeah, I remember.
Wait, pink? What?
You know that thing that was in that
like
dresser?
A bookshelf or something like that. Or dresser.
That was in that little cut room right into the right, and we took it away. Well, it's not ours. Remember? It's like different color cabinets. You know.
Regardless, the point of the story was to say that
at the new house.
There was a miscommunication.
Remember when we first looked around the new house, you turned to the right.
Oh, that thing.
Yeah.
I didn't move that.
Okay, yeah. So you weren't there.
Yeah, I wasn't there.
So it was Calvin. So
I was like, I don't remember this at all.
We were there, and literally like so Calvin Calvin and Dad are on the one side, and Eddie on the other side, and we're trying to like get the weight, or like get it through the door, but Dad says to pull, so we're pulling, and he's pulling. So it's like it's not moving. We're like, why is
this thing not moving?
He's like push. We're like, I thought you said pull. Like, oh my, we all go, oh my god.
And it was so much easier at that point. So it's
like,
oh, okay.
And then 2 seconds it goes up. But so exactly. Communication and if everyone's going the same way,
funny.
It's definitely a lot easier to roll.
And that was projections right there.
Yeah.
I feel like I'll just do another one on Jason.
That's fine.
2 and 2.
Well, that's all we're gonna talk about that record.
I mean, you got something else you want to?
Because first of all, when Eddie did his verse, because Eddie, you did yours out of the 3 of us first.
Yeah.
Ryan was like in the back, and I'm in the producer chair recording you, so I'm like quiet on the set mode, and then you're doing your verse, and Ryan in the back, I was like, "Ooh, that's what I'm talking about," and I was like. But I felt the energy like that's what we need. That's him. I was like in producer mode. I'm like, what the fuck? What are you talking? Like, shut up. We got the record going. But then it was exactly what it needed to be.
Right.
Yeah.
I think you can hear that a little bit in the back, like at the end of your verse transitioning.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely.
Wait, what is it? Wait, I missed that.
It's at the end of your verse. Ryan goes like, "Ooh, that's what I'm talking about." Like after you did your verse.
Facts.
And I turned around like, bro, like the record is
I think
recording.
that's because he was trying to do it one way, and I came in and was like, "Yo, try it in like this cadence or whatever, some way," and then it happened, and I was like, "Yes."
Yeah.
That moment, but sometimes even that little ear candy, you know.
But I love those.
But I do understand what you're saying.
As a producer, I'm like, "What are you doing?" But as an artist, I'm like, "That's the best shit right there."
Right. It's a real moment.
But like, I really do transition because that's like
And that was definitely like on my that was one of the ones I was on my slide vibe during that, you know. And then we were bowling during that time, so I had the bowling references in there.
Yeah.
And I like that one because it's like I talk about everything in the beginning, and then at the end it's like, but I can spare a moment for the lessons we learn. And so even if it's not perfect, even if things go whatever, I can still spare, and I can still get that last couple pins, and it's gonna be better off at the end. My score at the end is gonna look a lot better.
Yeah.
Instead of just giving up and throwing another
bar.
ball away. You
Well,
know?
that even goes back to what we were saying with like different lanes with Jason's verse, right? With like all potholes, don't move fast, so you can just switch lanes. Like you're referring back to what you started with, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like what's the word? Reiteration.
Yeah.
Reiteration, and like you're stressing the points that you really want to get across.
Yeah. So obviously, and then his like statement at the end.
Jason.
Sometimes I wonder
Monster,
if
that
the
guy.
universe is slumbering.
You know,
No
and then,
people that I made it so much so that you could hear what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like simple. Keep it like where everything
opens
is
up. You
articulate.
hear me clearly, very,
Yeah. So,
very.
Scary tonight, just to be scary tonight.
no,
Scary
What
too nice.
how do I come into that?
Very
scene?
eerie.
Like,
Something eerie, right?
Sometimes I wonder
Only
if
having
the
a good-
people. No.
Heroes, rivers, vigos, my unicorn in one ear and out the other, just like a unicorn, graze upon the years of centuries. Many have got it wrong. Crop circles dot urban. They play along. To say you don't understand, a wasted song. Don't play the pawn, even if you make it along. Cause when you play the pawn across, I'm fucking on any queen that loved the song. When you make the pawn across, you get the queen. Hear the gong, check the board. It's checkmate in one. Tongue a loaded gun. Check the emphasis before you en passant. I'm the one. Wrapped in layers just like a damn croissant. It's legendary. I listen to Heaven's Fairy, pay respect when my voice opens up. You hear me clearly, airy, very too bright just to be scary, too nice to play it merry. My stance is Perry, 16 stems. I want the cherry. That's 16 bars right there.
Mhm.
16 stems.
Yeah.
I want the cherry. I'm gonna go the extra
Little
9.
icing on top.
I'm popping up wherever you can hit, wherever they can hear me. Move to my 20s, going into the bars that would be in the 20s. Move to my 20s. The early years I wanted money. Now they can't take nothing from me. Too clever for that.
I know I missed the 20 line.
Facts.
Like I've never like you're right. It's 20th bar. Right?
Well, the last one was the 20. Like move to my 20s.
Yeah.
In the early years I wanted money. Now they can't take nothing from me. It's like saying the mentality like, oh, if I get a bunch of money, people can't touch me. Too clever for that. I'm stretched like a rubber band, way too eager to snap.
And that's a
Yeah.
fact. And you just
Boom.
throw the
Fact.
clipboard down. You hear
Enough
it
said.
in the mic.
Because I knew I bodied it.
I've said.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good. I
Yeah.
remember all of us were sitting in the room. We were just like jaws dropped.
That's why I went last.
I do like that the title came from my verse, so.
Facts.
I will say that. But definitely, yeah, everyone's in the right space to get it done, and that's one of those ones that just has to happen,
Yeah.
you know? So, and it's not planned or anything like that, it just happens, so.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
It's a good
Definitely,
one, yeah.
definitely top tier right there.
And then we go into Sands of Time,
Sands of
which is
Time.
like just a nice little interlude of like
Yeah.
I don't know. We were just kind of feeling. You
There's a
started the
vibe.
verse.
Yeah.
It was like you hit like even
Yes,
the light
let
don't
no scene to shine.
Yeah.
Still I walk those sands of time.
Yeah, that was definitely, it's a nice little, it's a vibe.
Ain't no
Give you-
reason why.
Yeah, I mean, you started it, and then I added one of those verses on there, and then we just kind of just went in.
We just sang it. I think we just sang it together
Yeah.
at that point. Once the lyrics were there, it was just like, just sing it. And then
Yeah.
Ryan was just in the cut, and I was like, you want to get on? He's like, nah, y'all got it.
Yeah, I
So
don't
we
even
just had
remember that.
the
Yeah, it was a good moment.
vibe. Yeah. Just a cool little vibe. I think it's just expression of just like that thing where it's like, even when it's, you can't see the light. It's like even when the sun don't seem to shine, even when it doesn't seem like the good things are happening, it's like still I walk those sands of time. It's like no matter what happens, I'm gonna still keep pushing because it's like
I can
it
do
goes into like it's almost like a numbness, but it's like a feeling of it of being
Right.
like, well, no matter what, I'm just gonna keep going. So you become numb to the fact that there's gonna be shit that's going on. Like you're gonna feel the pain. So you don't become numb to the pain itself, but you become numb to the fact that you're going to feel the pain.
Yeah.
So you know it. So I already know. Like regardless, I'm gonna feel that. I'm gonna go through it, and it's gonna be whatever it is at the next stop. And I'm gonna feel that. I'm gonna go through it, and you just keep it pushing.
Well, then also like, and something I just thought of right now off the top of my head is like, there's more grains of sand on the earth than like pretty much anything else.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So like, it's like always gonna be the next thing, right? So
Mhm.
I'm like always working through this next thing. The sun might not shine, like it might not be a reason why right now, but you gotta keep pushing the next thing. Right.
And the sands of time. This is an older, because you've heard that before. Sands of time, but being like, because sand is always moving with the ocean. So like the sands of time being like time is like the sand that is constantly being swept in and swept out, and what was is no longer is, but it might come back up.
Right.
Because the ocean could bring it back to surface.
I like that.
So I just thought of that too.
Going on to the
I
12th
can do it.
12th song. Yeah, 12th song of Ryan's album. I can do it.
Yeah. I'm gonna let you start with this one.
So like what I got here from my notes is like right now you're saying like I can be the one to lead. I can be the one that like sets this example for the people. That's kind of like the feelings that I get from the song, you know. It's just like somebody has to be example. Might as well be me. I can do that.
I feel like going into that of being like the other, I feel like proclamations are, you have it's this higher calling where you're like of yourself, like this self-reflection. I feel like this one is like it's like you place it for the people, where it's like the person listens to it. I feel like that's a motivational song that people can listen to in themselves and be like, you're like, who can change it? And then you're putting this song here where someone listens to it and they think in their head, I can do it.
Yeah.
Or it's like you activate the people rather than being like, it's not really about you anymore.
Yeah.
Now it's about them. So I feel like that point is like where it's like, I can do it is like for them to hear that.
And that's why I added Let Me Hear You Sing.
Let me hear you sing.
Because like
if
if you feel me, let me hear you sing. I can do it. You know, and that is inspiration from Kendrick doing I Love Myself.
Right.
Because when you have all those people screaming, I love myself, you know, even if they don't understand what even they're saying or don't understand any of the lyrics he even said in the song, the fact that they just scream those 3 words out is everything you need right there. Because that vibration, you telling each other I love myself, is everything you need.
Powerful.
You know, so that was like part of the idea. But that for me, this was like, I made this a week after Who You Want to Be. So technically, at first I thought this was my oldest song, but it was Who You Want to Be. But this is the song that when I made it, I was like, I'm on track for the album. Like, I'm in that direction now. Because I was like, I can do it. Like, that was also me just telling myself, like, I can do this. Like, everything that I'm thinking about and all this dream, this journey, you know what I mean? Like, are you good enough? Like, yeah, I can do it. You know? And that's where it was like, I can do it. I can see it. I can see what I want, you know? I can dream it. I can be it. And then me doing this right now is I'm achieving it. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Right now, this song is telling you I can do it. It's I can do it. This is proof. You know, I let my soul into the room.
Right.
It's just a different, I can see right through the roof. It's just a different, you know. So in that sense, it was. But I do. That's a good point. And then in the album where it's put, that's exactly. It's a good place.
Make your move. Those next lyrics are fire. Don't sleep on them.
If you stray away, you tend to lose. Yeah. So, you know, when you go down the line, like honestly, this like you brought up his with the 8 songs, it could be the end. Like this could be technically the end of the album.
Right.
One taste, I can do it. You know, and then you go back to one taste, but then it doesn't end, right? But this is like a really like this is the end of where this part. You know,
completed this portion, and I agree with you on that because like it goes in like a whole different type of.
Oh my god!
It changes. You don't expect what's coming next.
Yeah.
So at that point, it's like this. Technically, this is the end of the album. But if we were gonna do like, oh, now I'm gonna drop a deluxe and it's gonna have extra songs, you know what I mean? You drop that, but nah, it's like that's part. But then this is the beautiful part because you could end it there, or you just wait for the next song and then
sliding through, and that's brings you into the interlude. To
yeah,
the next album
exactly.
with the fast lane interlude.
Yeah.
Way too bad.
But yeah, so I can do is that. So technically, I can do it is the first song, because of the album, because it was the first thing that pointed me in the direction that I am currently making the album. Like, and then I turned around, I was like, okay, Who You Want to Be can be there too, and then you know I had a couple songs. Like before I didn't make it, but Riding Through the City got reamped and it made it. But everything after that is, you know, started going through and I got the different ones. You know, I don't remember exactly how it all panned out now, you know. But I just remember that, like, I remember that once I did I Can Do It and I could, like, listen back to it, you know, that made me like Who You Want to Be even more. You know what I'm saying? Because I had Who You Want to Be for like 4 days playing it every day. And I had I Can Do It, and it was like, oh shit. And I think it was the first two I showed him. I was like, yo, this is what I got. That's all I had at the time. You know, and then it goes and goes and goes.
My
and goes.
reaction was.
But, you know, so that, and I Can is honest. You can feel it, you know.
Yeah.
But then to the point of like, yeah, telling people like, yeah, I want people to sing. That's why I put, if you feel me, let me hear you sing. It's the way we go. It's the way we find.
It's the
way we light up in the middle of the night when we're dreaming. When all that stuff. So yeah, definitely one of my. I definitely think like that's. I think someone said that was like the most like. It'll be the one like the most motivational one.
Yeah, sentimental.
So yeah,
I feel it.
and I definitely and I think
10 years from now, you'd be like, yeah, this
that was a cool
like,
song.
You know,
close.
in different days, I'm like different day. Sun been shining. I've been caught up in the rain, hoping I can find my way out. And then the next thing is I can do it. You're like breaking out. You're like breaking out of this slump that I've been in since like, well, I would say around the corner or the one. I'd say because once you go to Who You Want to Be, Here I Am all night long. You start going down this like. To
it's
like
darker.
Yeah, and now it's starting to like switch up, and it doesn't maybe go fully light, but it starts zigzagging its
Something's
way out.
happening.
Yeah.
You left the room. Now it's like a new vibe.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And then you go into the fast lane interlude. You
Yeah.
want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, we can rock that one. We actually made that when we were in California. We made California Light the Sky.
Mm-hmm.
It was like we were at a downtime and we were outside, and we were just like riffing to a beat or blah blah blah, and then we ended up like coming up with whatever, so like, oh, let's voice memo it. So we voice memo it, and then that was just like as pure. As
I
you
kept
could
messing
be.
it up.
That was just us two in the backyard or the side yard smoking, like creating this like idea and letting it in like the most honest and pure form of creation between both of us.
Yeah.
And then the idea was to bring it home and then make a beat and blah 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 blah. Because like at that point we had done California and I think we were working on Light the Sky, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
I didn't want to like force it.
No, I think we had finished both of them.
No, maybe we did. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was more like like we made what we were supposed.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's more about just like being here at this point in time.
Yeah.
So then at that point like we're gonna take it home. So then like time goes by or whatever and I listen to it and I'm like, bro, that's it. Like that's all you need. Like. And then Riding Through the City comes back and gets revamped.
Yeah.
And it's like way too bent for the fast lane. It's like perfect together. So fast lane interlude. And it gives you this time where it's like there's no beat anymore. It's just like us and like our voices. And it gives you this like pause into like that transitional. And it's like literally an interlude, right?
And that thing sat around like when I was sequencing albums, going through all those different ones I made. Like that one was floating in and out of so many different things I made. So I was like, there's so many times that I could have used that, but I just never did because it never fit.
Right.
And then like when I saw he was using it, I was like, all right, at least it has a home now.
Yeah.
You know, because that was been around. It's like you want it to come out, but you just don't know where.
And there's so much music like that where it's like you said on some stuff like you were saying like you and I you had like you did all that in 4 hours.
Yeah.
But then something like Riding Through the City, which we're about to talk about in a few minutes, took 3 years to actually get the sound that you wanted to get out of it.
Yeah.
So
Mainly go ahead.
For us, just like when it's like you see the moment here, but you're here.
Yeah.
And eventually those moments align, you seize it.
Yeah.
And that's just what it is.
Body it.
So, and that's just what the album covered, everything, just like getting it, just when I was like, okay, I gotta do the album, and now I'm here. And like, it wasn't about, because I wanted to do like, I always had this, like, I like doing like conceptual things, like when we were talking about the Animal Kingdom, like these ideas, right? But this one wasn't about the conception of the idea. It was more about what we're taught, like who I am, So here I am, and this is what I have to offer, And then the next thing will be what the next thing is. But I definitely think that the interlude though is like it's beautiful, and then it's a good stepping stone from the beginning of the album to the end. And what comes next.
When I hear that record, it just reminds me, because I was sitting like this, and I think you were sitting like this, and I had the phone, and we had this lemon tree that was hanging over the fence from the neighbors that we just plucked the lemon off, and they tasted like oranges. It was like if you could mix a lemon and orange here, that's what it tasted like. Yeah. And just sitting there in the dark with like, I don't know, the stars twinkling, and it feels like birds were chirping, but it was nighttime, so. I just remember that, yeah.
It was nice.
Weather was beautiful.
So honestly, if you really think about it, like you got California Light the Sky, and this is like the part 3.
Yeah.
Right, this is like the third song.
The third record that came out of that.
Third song that never got made, but got made.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
So.
Almost caught me taking a dive on cam.
Oh, God. Crashed the computer.
Man. I guess we should switch lanes.
Right. We'll slide back over to Endless Destination. Sliding all over the place here.
Sliding.
We're on Let 'Em All Come Home.
So let them all come home.
was just a really pretty song. I remember when we made that. We made the beat, and then you were feeling towards the Ukrainian people.
Yeah.
And you were like, we should do something about that.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
so what came out from that was let him come home. So
Yeah.
I like my verse on that a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm talking.
Not to be
about
partial.
right now.
No, you're good. You're part of it.
But
We made that together.
but I like my verse on that a lot. Like the first chorus, we each came up with our own chorus. And I did when you gave the idea of we should do this, I was like, yo, my chorus is not gonna work for that.
Yeah, I remember that. You were like, yo, you can just take my verse off, and I was like, bro, what are you talking about?
Yeah, see, that's one of those things, right? Where you're very self-critical in that moment,
Yeah,
and you just
right.
need someone else to be like, yo. It's not-
For me, it's always about honesty. When
Yeah.
you're honest, it's like, bro, you can't pass it up.
Yeah.
Like,
And I think
this is
that's
it.
another thing with nowadays. Like we were listening to the Beatles. We listened, and we're like,
I love that.
and this day and age, all the music's so processed, so cookie cutter, and so, people are trained that this is what sounds good. Not that it doesn't sound good. Doesn't mean that other things don't sound good too.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like that almost the forget that it used to be nice just to have a GameCube and you had to have 4 of your friends there to play.
Play it, yeah.
Not like you can now. It's nice you can go I can play with my cousin, or I can play with whoever I want around the world. But that simple fact you got to be in the room together versus even that little even if you're both staring at the
It's a
screen.
little smaller.
Yeah. So it's definitely those things where it's like those little subtleties where maybe it wasn't so bad when we had a streetcar through the city. Maybe we kind of went a little too far. So
Maybe it's not too late.
yeah,
You don't have to
definitely
move
not.
backwards, because I
Definitely
like
not.
all the nice stuff. I like
Yeah.
the technology. I wouldn't want to trade it up for a
Yeah.
caveman lifestyle, but at the same time, it's nice to go on a nature walk and
Facts.
soak up the sun.
Definitely. And then your verse, you're saying
What, beginning of it?
the beginning.
Military soldiers, no
Yeah.
older. Yeah, that day I really just felt, I don't know what it was. I don't watch the news, so I don't know. Something I just thought of it. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, man, the Ukrainian war and stuff like that. I'm like, what do you in this day and age, what do you actually do about that stuff? Because what protest? If I go out in the street, what is that? What is that gonna do?
Yeah.
Come on, if I'm out there, stop the war, they're not gonna stop.
It had to be a collective.
So then that's why it was very important for me to put at the end of it. It's I don't really got nothing for you, just a message and a song. But I hope it does something. Just stay strong. In the odd chance that somehow this song gets on the radio out there,
Right.
I didn't even care about here. I was like, whatever it is here. But out there, if this somehow took, I can imagine people just sitting in the cold, huddled around a radio with a little fire, eating out of a can because they're
Right.
stuck in this war. Just hearing this on the record and just feeling this sense of a reminder of what they're actually fighting for.
Right. Yeah.
For them to be like, oh, I just want to get home. I'm just trying to get home. And then hopefully that trickles up to that feeling is felt up the chain all the way to the people to the top. We're like, man, bring these people home. Bring them to their families. That's what it's about.
And then
So.
my verse, I say, forge our minds to fight an endless battle.
Yeah.
And
It fit perfectly.
yeah, and it's all the lies we're told just give us ammo. Seek a truth that needs a living channel. A damaged soul can't help but feel dismantled.
Yeah.
So it's just we're fighting. They're lying to us. We're using that to fuel
The
this
fire.
purpose that we have in ourselves.
Yeah.
But even then, we still get down.
Because it's not enough.
It's not enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for the record, we didn't know what each other were writing when we wrote it. The verses were done when we showed each other what we had. So the fact that we both felt something that felt in the same lines of the music, and to get to the lyrics to that point, I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, I remember you had your verse done first, and you were like, "Well, do you want to listen to mine, or what are you feeling?" I was like, "I'm gonna walk downstairs," and I went outside and sat in the patio outside and
Right.
finished my verse while you recorded,
Mm.
and it just happened with you. As soon as you finished, I was done, so I went up and I recorded. And
I don't think it took me long because I wasn't really trying to do anything fancy. I was just kind of
the
military
pocket,
soldiers, no
yeah.
older. Because if you think about it, it's these people are. I was 17, 18 when I wrote my first song that I recorded.
right,
Right, so you think about it, these people, 18-year-olds, are going out to war. So it's I'm thinking about these people. What was I doing at that point in time? I was putting my energy into something creative. This person's doing something way different. It's that reflection, and there's I can draw a comparison about remember days, ducking cops, hunting quotas, never really phased, always dazed, kept calmer. And then now I say, now my karma tell me my heart, now my karma tell me my heart's stronger. People need help, world war, world hunger. So it's in the sense, it's there was pressure. Not that I just like was like, oh, I'm cool, like there's no issues. Like there was pressure, but at the same time, I always kept calm through that thing. And now it's a reflective state of where I'm out of that situation, and now I'm looking at it like, but these people are in a situation that's even worse than what I was in.
Right.
Right. So it's that like that's the reflection of damn, like I'm here right now. I got to this point mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, where I can be in this space. It's just people in this war. Can we do something? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know, but let's try.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it at least.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Let's talk about it. That's the big.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Move on to the next song. It's like, Will I Make It Back?
Yeah. I remember when I first bounced that, like, I had the volume, because sometimes when I record, the volume's not loud enough because I like it blasting. And I had the volume of, like, the master pulled up way too loud, so it was just all crammed at the top.
Uh-huh.
And I played it for Ryan, because I had the auto-tune on there, and Ryan's like, you think you should add some more auto-tune to it? It's like, as a joke, he's like, you think that's too much? Because it was just crammed. I was just like, bro, like, it's what it is. Like, it's too loud, whatever. But I was like, but it is a cool song, you know?
It's like, I don't
wanna wait for something that is always changing.
Yeah.
I don't wanna be this strong when all I have is all I'm remain with. Or it's kind of a testament to like even the sands of time thing, where it's like, if you really think about it, if it was our choice, we wouldn't actually have to be. It's the strength you have to muster to make it through. We shouldn't have had to do that. Like, period. Like, we should have been born into a world that is at peace. Where
Right.
you never really had to, like, go through what you go through to build that level of strength to be able to deal with the stuff that we have to deal with, because it's like the world should have been handed to us as peaceful. Like, everyone has enough food, everyone has enough clothes, but it's not. So that's the thing of, like, me being like, I shouldn't have to be this strong. I shouldn't have to feel like I'm feeling, but I have to. You know, and what all I have is all I'm remained with, which is like the same that I started with.
Right.
Because you have the peace, you have that you find within yourself, but you also have this thing that you have to carry, which is the burden that it took you to get to that spot.
Yeah.
And you can't let go of it because it's what you've been through. And even though you can let go of the part that's holding you down, it's still part of your life. It's like all the things you did, all the goods, the bad, everything you carry it with you. And you can make peace with it, but it's always there. It's a part of you. It's a part of your spirit now. But you shouldn't have had to do it. Should never been put in this situation to have to do it, and that's what it's about. So, yeah.
I think Will I Make It Back and You Might As Well have like very similar sounding pieces in the way of like they both remind me of the Tide. And like if we were like, industry and like, well, if we were industry, half the songs that are released right now would not be released, most likely.
Definitely not.
But I feel like, because like you probably were sitting on those songs for a while as well.
I mean, I had those from before the Coldest Ocean.
And like that could have been like the Tide Deluxe. You could have them Might As Well. You could have did.
I feel like You Might As Well would have been on the shore though.
It could have been too.
Because it's like the shore we had the playful. The way it's like laid out is like the land is like dry and barren.
Right.
It's the lay of the land. So those songs are hard. Like land is hard. And it's like the world right now is hard. That's why those are those songs. The shore is like where the kids play or where people walk with their date on the beach or take a long walk on the beach. You walk in the shore. It's light. It's playful. It's not nothing crazy going on.
Right.
Right. And then the water is like where it's all people who are boogie boarding, riding the waves. It's trippy. That's what that one is. It's more like, oh, stuff's happening here. And the deep is like when you look at those people on the beach and they're way out there and you're like, damn, that guy's ballsy to be that far out.
Right.
Like, I don't want to go that far out. And that's the deeper emotions that you don't want to deal with.
Right.
Like you don't want to talk about this or feel this because that's hard to deal with, right? And that's the spectrum, and the Tide is the moves through everything. So
the reason why I said the Tide was just because like musically sounding, it sounds like that. Now when you give that meaning, I definitely can see where you're coming from in your mind.
Yeah.
But and you can even throw Broken Oceans or
Broken Waves, yeah,
on there too, and that'd be
nice
3
one,
songs
for sure.
for a deluxe, right? But here it is, like you're coming in, like you're presenting new stuff. You're saying like, hey, we still have these other sounds that like we came from this. Now we're moving towards this, but we still appreciate what we did in the past too.
Yeah.
Right. So like that's how I saw it.
Broken Waves too, especially because it's like that's the sentiment almost of Will I Make It Back. Like far along was yesterday. I sail across these broken waves. It's like it's not perfect, but you're still going through it.
Right.
You know, I leaned upon my tilted ways. Like the things that I was doing that wasn't like, we all have those things that we're not living right, but you lean upon that thing because that thing that's you're not living right, but it's helping you survive. You know, I leaned upon my tilted ways. What's the next line? Leaned upon my tilted ways, I sail into you, and that's kind of elevating. Where it's like, even though you are not perfect and you've been through whatever, you still have that place. You still have that peace,
right?
Because it's there for you, you know, and nobody's cursed to the point where you can't have peace.
That one's definitely a vibe. For sure.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
And then, ooh,
Yeah.
I just want to bring that stuff back, bro.
Yeah, that's cool.
We'll get to it though in a second.
Yeah.
We'll let Broken Waves have its moment to shine.
Because people don't do that anymore.
They don't. So we just did 2 for you. Is there anything else on Will I Make It Back?
Yeah, all I ever need is a little bit of love. Simple. At the end of the day, no matter what, just a little bit of love gets you through it.
I agree.
That's it.
Now the moment Ryan's been waiting for.
Dun, dun,
All night.
Boom, boom,
Riding through the city. We've been talking about it a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely fire. Definitely probably hardest song.
Hardest song, period.
Hardest song. Last verse I recorded on the album. I remember when we were driving, I got dropped off by them to record it. When I got the car, I was like, I'm gonna kill it. And then I saw him next, I was like, slayed it. Slayed it.
Yeah.
Took me a couple tries to get it down, but once I got it down, I just slayed it.
Feeling yourself that day.
It was definitely need to come out. It's definitely hard. Probably top.
Smash.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my best verses. So, yeah, definitely hard. Definitely I like how it came together, and
Ride through the city real quick, then dip. Won't stay too long.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm gonna let that one breathe. I think people just need to go listen to
listen
that
to
one,
it.
because the words, the lyrics are there. But when I made it like the other one was more just like vibey, riding through the city.
Yeah, and that the guitar was louder and more prevalent.
Yeah,
in it.
so it was just like a different vibe when I first made it, but I like how it came to be, and
it really feels the atmosphere feels like it sounds.
yeah. One thing is like when you're listening to the album and you don't know it's coming, when that thing comes, it's crazy, like a crazy flip from what we've listened to I Can Do It to Fast Lane Interlude to boom, and then it just comes in and just
slaps you in the face.
Yeah.
You don't expect it.
Yeah, it's definitely nice. Definitely a good one. I definitely recommend that one.
And it's on the nose too in terms of the hook and stuff.
Yeah.
Right on the nose.
Yeah.
I almost didn't get my verse because he was trying to get me to do the verse for a minute, and I was like, I'm gonna get to it because I was mixing my project.
Right.
And then I was just like, eventually I pulled it up and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this now because his was getting closer. And then I was like, I started to do the verse and I just couldn't get it to like where I like thought. And then I came downstairs like, bro, I don't know if I can do this. Like, I just can't get it. I can't get the take to be right. And he's like, bro, go back and do it. And I was like, all right. So I went back up there. He gave me that little push.
Because he like
He's
flipped.
like, no, I'm not letting you do that.
Well, he was like, it's hard. He told
When
me
he
it's hard.
flipped,
I
he
was
just like he did like some like more like singy song thing, and I was like, bro, just go back to what you were doing in the beginning.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh really? I was like, yeah, just do that.
I just didn't know if it was like I couldn't
Right.
at the time I couldn't.
So there's that little reassurance. That's
Yeah.
all you need, a little push. So it's good to have those people.
Yeah, definitely. Because
so-
otherwise it wouldn't be there. And then with that I was like, I came in with a whole new like, yeah, this shit is the shit.
Good,
Right?
it's
Yeah.
good, right?
I definitely like. I mean,
King
I
of
don't want to.
yeah.
I don't really want to speak on the lyrics
Yeah.
too much, but definitely.
I'm heavily cultured.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can say a lot about those first two lines.
Right.
But if you want
We can leave it and let's
Keep
let
it
him
like
listen
that.
to it.
Yeah, I say let's
We'll
leave it,
talk
yeah.
about the music and then
Yeah.
we'll move on.
and then I'm sure it'll come back around.
Yeah.
But and we can talk about it another light as well. But
to,
it's definitely a great song. It's hard. I want to see what other people say about it. And definitely like it's just
Calvin,
it's just honest, cutthroat, straight there.
That's like him.
Riding through the city. Hope that they feel me.
What
So-
I really liked, and I'll say this one part, it doesn't really spoil the song too much. At the ending, when you have all that sound, I'll leave it at that. Like exit sound, and you have the helicopter. I didn't realize you put the helicopter in the beginning also. And I was listening to
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
before I came here.
Helicopter.
I
And
forgot we did
the
that.
outro's cool. The outro's just
Well, the helicopter was your idea.
It was, but I mean, I wasn't gonna throw that out. It
Yeah.
didn't matter.
yeah, that's fine. The outro just paints.
I really like the helicopter.
It just paints the scene. It gives you that atmosphere, like gets you that paint, like you can't help but like you've been in that traffic before, you've been in that city, you've been on those streets, you've heard those sirens, you know, and then it's just like, you know, puts you into the city real quick.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just the vibe. So.
No,
But
it's hard.
city,
yeah, like the
real
like
quick,
the
then dip,
honking and like all the ad libs and ear candy that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the best. Dude.
Yeah.
That song is chock full of them.
Yeah.
Definitely, there's some good stuff. I'm sure we'll talk about this one again.
Man, can we do that part with the honk honk? Can we talk about that or not?
Yeah.
All right, so there's the part where the beat just goes honk honk. It was like drops for a second, and that was an accident because we were trying to do something with like the lyrics, and we kept running it back. And like the echo on one of the sounds, like when it would run at that point in time, would do the honk honk instead of like the way it normally sounded. So I was like, oh dude. So we cut the other part of the sound off to just get it like that. So that honk honk was like just an accident of us trying to do something else with the lyrics, like try to figure something out. It was like, I don't know if we were mixing something. And that just came and I was like, bro, we got to do that for one of the drops.
It's hard.
Yeah.
I like
Definitely
it a lot.
a lot of ear candy in there. A lot of definitely. It's definitely one of the hardest songs for sure. Definitely, if not the hardest song.
I wanted to feel like armor. Like you have, like, if metaphorically, if a song is a person, that song is a person with armor on. Like you have the full set, like you're fully decked out.
Like the knight on the horse right now.
Like the fit is all perfect.
Maybe
You got everything. You went all out on everything.
Maybe we'll go in depth on the lyrics when the video's out.
That'd be cool.
Facts, that'd be cool, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm definitely
Make a
trying to
podcast
I
on
want to make
just
that a
riding
good
through the
video.
city.
Like we could definitely do some cool shit with the video.
Yeah,
so.
we'll just have one of the episodes. Just have talk about it.
Yeah, there you go. On the one episode, you can bring as your idea. I want to talk about this or whatever, and
Facts.
see where it posts. But yeah, Ride Through the City. Definitely recommend that
Riding
one.
through the city.
Definitely
As
change-
much as you hyped it up, you was like, I don't want to talk about it.
Well, I think we talked about it along the way. You know what I mean? It was all like
It
this.
came through.
Well, that's why, like, you know, keep in suspense. Go listen to it. You know?
I love that record.
Let me
go
know.
listen to it.
You know, let me know, and then we can talk about it.
Here
Let's
I
talk
am.
about it. You know?
14th song.
Yeah.
Go listen to it.
So, exactly. Riding Through the City.
Moving on to the 15th song.
Free to be.
Free to be. Yes, it is.
Yeah. Yeah, that one I had the beat for a while. It was just a beat when we were driving around on the journey. But then when I got back, I just slayed it.
I wanted the
sing the chorus for Free to Be.
Yesterday I woke up resting on my shore.
on my shore.
In my hand I have my life, I don't need more.
I don't need more.
Have you ever felt like there's no place to go?
No place to go.
Look inside of yourself, go find your soul.
Go find yourself.
Been a long ways to get to the space, now I'm here and I ain't gonna stop.
I ain't gonna stop.
Climb mountains full of concrete, gonna keep going till I reach the top.
Till I reach the top.
Government watch, I was going for the block, I can see from the way they plot.
From the way they
Try to
plot.
keep us down, but I float from the ground, and I know they can't take my spot.
Can't take my spot.
Yeah, went across the map and back, in fact. Every place got this, some places got that.
And then you don't do the chorus, the hook
I
anymore.
Yeah.
wanted it, low key.
Yeah, Jason wanted it back. This is the thing, like, I was just, like, doing it.
I was like, throw it at the end, man.
That's
I
your
was
hook,
doing
bro.
it, but then,
Throw it at
like,
the
you
end.
know, and that's why the second thing hits the harder, because, like, you want that hook right there, but that's not, like,
Yeah.
I'm not here just to play the funny games. It's like, oh, just like nice little hook. Like, nah, the hook's
Yeah.
nice. The hook's been nice, you know, but it's about the lyrics this time,
Right.
you know. So,
Yeah.
and that's just and it's cool because you got Ride Through the City and you got Free to Be, and those are just hard, like boom, 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 like straight. Like you don't get a second to breathe. You had this time to breathe, fast lane interlude,
Yeah.
but now it's no longer time to breathe. You're getting pounded. You gotta go replay those songs a couple times to get them, you know, more than a couple. So.
Just so far.
Free to be, yeah, free to be. I'm free to be, so I'm here for freeing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you had like that little ambient.
Oh yeah, so actually when I was
Right.
making the beat, I had that, and I was trying to figure out where to put it, and I couldn't. So I just always, every time I did something, I just kept moving to the end, and I was like, I'm using this. Like, I fucking love these chords. I'm using them, and then it's just like a nice, because it gives you now. You had these two songs, boom, boom, and even at the Ride Through the City, you get that time where you're in the.
Right.
So I'm still giving you time to breathe after these
Reflection, yeah.
things, so you don't have to pause. You know, you can keep going. Right. So,
Yeah.
yeah, time for reflection. That's good. Yeah.
And I just like how like that transitions into your next song.
It
too.
definitely does.
Like,
I'm glad. I felt like whatever came after Free to Be had to have worked with that because I wasn't gonna take that out. I just it just spoke to me. So I just like
Might as well go into the finest then.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
So
what
the
I mean.
finest,
Because
yeah,
the drums start right away.
yeah. The finest. That was one of those ones that Wait. This is one of those ones that I make the beat and then Jason comes in and just steals the hook and just
yeah.
slides on it.
Yeah, like dick
I was
slides.
like, alright, I guess that's where we're going with the song.
That was like one taste. I heard it and I was like, yeah, I'm getting on that.
Yeah, so
What are you doing? Because I'm on that.
one of those ones. So, you know, you just go with the flow, you know. What I'm gonna do, not be on the song. So
Yeah.
you know, and then I did my part, but that's one of those things where it's like, oh, like you have this song where I could do better. You know, and I probably could do better, but you can't take away what that moment was.
Yeah.
So even if I think of better lyrics or a better way to deliver it, if it's not that moment, it's not meant to be. Like I can't force it. So I did more hooks and stuff, and just nothing sounded right.
Yeah, every time we went through it, I was like, it just hurt my feelings, bro. I was like, bro, it sounded so good. It might have been the demoitis thing, but it was like, it sounded so good the way we had it. And here, add all this stuff, and I'm just trying to figure out how do we get it there, because obviously we're doing it for him, so it's like trying to figure out, okay, like how do we get all this to work? But I was like, bro, like this sounded so.
So this is one of those ones where the demoitis was good because it kicked back in, where it was like you don't need to change
it. Had to be
it
like that.
So after that, so now like, you know, when I listen to him back, I'm like, it's not that I don't like it, but I understand why it's necessary. Right. So it's like it's good. It's like.
But the finest.
Yeah, it's not. Like the funny part is that I feel like I could do better, even though it's the finest. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but it's still good. I still like.
Irony.
I still like the lyrics. Like I got some. That's one of those the metaphors.
Right.
Like there's a lot of metaphors in there. You know, talking about Alice in Wonderland.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and talking about.
That was a dope bar.
And then.
Well, go ahead and say the bar for the.
So it's
Wonderland, because I'm Alice. Wonderland's vision.
Yeah. I'm Alice, Wonderland vision the palace. High in the clouds, our test is to balance. Malice in the palace was when the Detroit Pistons got in a huge fight. In the thing is a huge thing. There's like Netflix documentary and all that on it. Blah, blah, blah. But Ron Artest is like in the part of it.
Yeah, Artest.
So, and then our test is to balance world peace with one love.
Ron
Artest changed his name to World Peace.
Crazy.
World peace and one love, put nothing above another being on the main lands. And I'm hunting the demons, they scheming. In every single country you've been, I'm seeing they hiding the truth about what is the meaning of life. Lying with Christ, a knife right to the mind, in hopes you don't see the light at night. They cover up the stars from your sight. This earth, we got to team up to fight. We can't see what's out there. Right. They got the clouds. They got whatever else fogging up, set whatever you're doing. Like they show the pictures. Like I don't know, maybe if we go like somewhere and like in the mountains or whatever, you can see like the northern lights or whatever. You know what I mean? I would like to go see that. You know, but like here in a snowmobile day, you can't see shit out there.
No.
Except for the classic like constellations and stuff. You know, but together we got to team up and like do something about this. Like, but like, cause if I run to the Capitol individually, right? You know, you get fucked up. All those motherfuckers ran to the Capitol that one day or whatever.
That conversation the other
day
about that.
But that's why it's more or less instead of like trying to go run and cause anarchy. But if everyone just didn't go to work for a day, you know, like let's just not go in. What would happen? You know, let's just see. So something like that would have to be a collective thing where everyone's like, yo, so when he was saying like it might not, maybe it reaches, maybe this song just hits and everyone's like, yo, no way. You know, I wasn't even thinking about that.
Well, then like even like in that Alice in Wonderland verse, like in that last bit that you do, like you have that pause where it's just like you like the beat drops out and it's just you hidden.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like I can't remember whose idea it was. Because I remember we during like that editing thing, I want to say it was T's idea.
No, it was
for what to drop the vocals.
It was Bino.
It was Bino
to bring the beat back in.
Oh
or no, he was like, "Oh, you should bring the beat back." And I was like, "Yeah, I was thinking that too." Or something. He said something that got the idea. Like
they got the idea across.
Or no, I think I paused it and I was like, "Yo, I think we need to bring the beat back in here." And
at first, it didn't sound right when we were playing it and the beat was coming back in, but I was still demoitis and I was just like, "Bro."
And then Bino was like, "Yeah, that's what I was gonna say."
That's why we split it.
But yeah, then we did
like the piano with the rain feel and then the drum.
And the drums.
And then you come back in, it's just like a boom.
Yeah.
Boom, and like it's hard. Nice. I like it a lot.
Definitely not. I mean, it's good. It's one of those ones that he starts off and he just slays the beginning.
I bodied it. You know? And let's just not skip over the fact that I said I'm like, Aaron getting sacked, coming back fucked up, and still throw a couple touchdowns, suck my nuts.
Yeah.
And that was before he did the interview where he's talking about he's on all those drugs, because I fucking knew it.
Right.
I'd watch that man go down and come back like loopy as hell and rip touchdowns. And I'm a Lions fan, so like I'm watching it happen to my team.
Right.
So I'm like, look at this dude. He's in the postgame interview. He's just
Like,
eyes low as hell.
fuck.
Yeah. And I had the Aaron Donald line and stuff, and I thought it was clever.
Yeah, I did like the Aaron Rodgers line that you had in there too. It was good.
Yeah, I guess at the end of the day, I liked the verse. I think it was more like the hook, like try to get that hook. But I think when we talk about it, it like paints the scene, you know, sipping rum in the Bahamas.
And then also his line that goes like, leave that bullshit all behind. It's like my verse is very like raunchy and raw, and I'm kind of like saying a lot of these different things, and he's like, this is like where you're in the griminess of it,
Right.
and then Ryan's like sipping rum in the Bahamas, leave that bullshit all behind us. Where
He's
it's like
floating down the river.
yeah, where it's like it shows like the elevation where mine is kind of like grimy on the ground, and his is like we made it a bit higher than that.
Yeah, it's, if you need, I got the product. Leave that check and add the commas. Then it's like add the commas, fuck the drama. I don't gotta sell my soul just for commerce, you novice. You know, it's like I don't need, you know what I mean. So it's just it's I like it. So true. At the end of the statement, like I like it, and I think that because I understand why it was necessary, and I understand now why it has to be like it is. So I'm cool with it. Like that self.
But you're not necessarily satisfied.
That self-critical. Well, yeah, but then we turn around. I made Ryan through the city after that. You know what I mean? So I'm heavily satisfied with that.
I still liked it.
Yeah.
And you have a line, and I don't know where it is, but you say like, guess I'm sipping the finest, or you go like, guess I'm sipping myself.
Yeah.
I thought that was just such a flex.
That's in the
like,
to continue. That's at the end. That was like,
okay.
Yeah. So it lies.
Because I was like, you have the song called The Finest. You'd be like, sipping the finest. You'd be like, guess I'm sipping myself.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I'm the finest. I was like, that's such a dumb.
That's what we had. Exactly.
catch
Because that's
that.
when we'll get to continue. But yeah, that's when the finest was solidified in there, and what it was gonna be. And it was just one of those ones where like because I was going back and touching things and changing things. That was something I didn't really need to go back and change, but by doing it and going through it, I saw at the end like, okay, that wasn't necessary, or or I exhausted all these other efforts, so now I'm not left wondering, should it be like this, or could it be like, no, it's exactly how it is, and it's great, and it's gonna be like that for, the rest of the time. So
could always make a part 2 later if you feel like it's necessary to
Sure.
get all those other verses out.
Definitely.
But yeah, the finest.
Slide back over here to Jason's
Sliding
side.
back to the endless destination, are we?
Endless podcast.
Man, I'm gonna slide out of this camera view real quick.
Everyone's wondering what Ryan's doing off screen.
No one's wondering. We're all focused on what I'm doing on screen.
We're stretching.
We are at. Will I make it back? We are at Family Times.
Mm-hmm. I want a life worth living.
I didn't like that song when we recorded it. I remember not liking
On
it.
that
But
one?
it's like that
No.
self-criticism, you know what I'm saying?
There's one of them. Is it Yin Yang? Okay,
That's
there's
Yin
one.
Yang.
I was like, I don't think
Yeah.
I'm on this one. Then come on. Well, yeah.
I like that song. Actually, when I was mixing that, the first time I mixed it, I actually took your verse off.
Facts.
I never told you that, but I actually took it off because like you're kind of like if this is the beat here, like this, you're kind of like a little bit like you're not exactly with it.
Yeah.
Right? It's like a little bit around the beat. But then I realized as I was mixing it, I was like, you know what? That is kind of like part of the point of it. It's not supposed to be like this perfect thing where everything's lined up. It's just floating around. Just like if you're with your family or hanging out, it's like you don't really have to be doing anything specifically. It's just like things are happening, but you're
Right.
with the people you love, so that's what matters. So as I'm listening to it, I'm like, this is fire. I'll leave it in here. But I almost took it out. But then the song was really short when I took it out, and I was like, I don't know. But
When I first wrote my part in that song, and I still don't like it to this day. I will go ahead and put that on the record. So maybe like 10 years from now I can.
well,
look
good thing it
back
was
on
my
that.
choice to
Right.
put it on there.
I wouldn't have put it on my album. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I remember like the first like lines is like every Sunday it could be a fun day.
Yeah.
I remember like having the same feeling though as when I wrote hotter than sun, colder than rain.
Yeah.
Like I remember like the lyrics just kind of like sang themselves in the beat,
Yeah.
and like I feel like those are like the moments that you can like looking back on it right now, right? Like I still don't like the song. Let that be known. It's a personal reason.
Yeah.
It's because I don't like how I sound in it. I like how you sound in it.
That's one of those ones that like those songs that you might not like with someone else. Is
Yeah, that's the
really
thing, bro. I got songs out that are out. I got one like "Day You Died," for example. I'm gonna say it just on purpose for here. It's like that's a song I don't listen to that song. It comes on, I skip it. I hate listening to that song because it's for me it's horribly sad. I'm not trying to listen to that. That's just I did it. I recorded it. It's out there. And somebody had told me when I showed them the music, they like listened to a couple songs and they're like, oh, I really like that song. And I was like, word, like that's crazy because I literally skip it. I hear like as soon as it comes on, I hear that the first instrument, I skip it because I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, some people just need it, you know. Absol was one of those songs too. He was talking about in one of his interviews recently that like it was so hard for him to make it that like he like got it out and he hasn't listened to it since. You know, but people love it. You know what I'm saying? But that's because that's just a raw emotion, and some people are gonna feel that and like they can't even process how to get that emotion out. But you just laid it out for them to even just process it in their head and sing it out loud, maybe. And then now they hear it. Now they've heard it. Yeah, and that's one of those ones where it's like maybe you're just delivering a message that might not be for you.
It's like
except for that
you're
moment.
being channeled to deliver the message, but like it's not necessarily like the message that you necessarily need to get across in that moment. It's
for
just
yourself.
Like,
it's above you.
Higher. Yeah.
Definitely. It's a lot of that.
I'm good on that if you're ready to move on.
I just want to point out the one line because I like the cadence of it. It's almost in reminiscence of like Projection, where it's very simple. And I have a line in there, so I say, "See, I'm working just to keep it real simple, urgent, just to keep a new pimple perking, just to show you that I ain't perfect." And it's like that part for me was important, just to be like just show you like as a person. It's like you're not perfect. Like I'm working just to keep a pimple perking. Like I'm on purpose imperfect to show you that it's not perfect. And it's like everything I say is very slow on purpose because I want you to be able to follow along. I want you to be able to hear me, not just like be slick with it and throw the double entendres in there where it's like they go over your head. But I wanted you to understand what I'm saying very simply. And that song for me is it's supposed to be simple because it's like I want you to hear what I'm saying. It's
very direct rather than metaphoric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of imagery. I love painting pictures. But that one just had to be very simple.
Yeah. And we go on to Take Two Shots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what I really like about that one is the phone call.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that one's definitely nice. That's definitely
it's a real moment right there. You know,
it's like Fascinating Interlude, that pure moment where it's just like life happening, right?
Right, definitely.
So.
And I guess you probably people are gonna want to know who's calling you, but I don't think you want to say that. So
definitely not.
We can cut that out later. But I mean, I just like the song. It's like you take two shots. It's a 20-second song. Actually, I think it's the 21st song because I think I missed up my writing or my numbering on here.
Facts. Hold on, slight technical error. There we go. Gotta get within range. So make sure we're good. Come on.
Just backspace it all. And then let it backspace.
Did the battery die?
No, it's just farther away. And it's a delay on here with this TV for some reason. Alright, we're good. So I've been touching it to keep it alive.
Yeah, I've been noticing you every once in a while you scroll the mouse pad.
Yeah, because you gotta make sure the vocals are on.
Yeah, everything's
straight.
Alright,
try that again.
out on the
so
info.
Take three shots.
Take two shots.
Yeah.
Yeah, lit.
I mean, I just like the phone call in the beginning. It's very real. It's a very personal moment. And, you know, I heard the song before. It was repurposed a couple times down the string. I know that.
Yeah.
And,
well, okay, that one, when I made that beat, that was after we did Smooth. That was the next beat we made after we did Smooth Poppy. And so that's the vibe. I was on that vibe. So I was like, and it's almost like a contradiction of the Let Them All Come Home song. Because it's like, now I'm like, take two shots to the head. I'm a soldier. Watch my back. I'm a motherfucking lone. It's like the opposite, where now you're like, the first one is like trying to bring you closer. The other one's like, you're in the war. Like,
right.
It is what it is. You know what I mean? But the take two shots, just being clever. Like, take two shots to the head. I'm a soldier. Watch my back, motherfucker. Shit don't stop till you dead or they on ya. See, saying like, shit don't stop until they either got ya or you're dead. But shit don't stop till you're dead or they own ya. They either own you or you get killed. So it's like, or they on you, like they're on your trail.
Yeah.
So it's like no matter what, it's like the thing keeps going.
on this endless destination.
And I say I'm 24. I don't got time to slow up. Bitch, I ain't got time to slow up. So it's like, and the phone call was just, I was going through that. I was trying to do that take, and I freestyled that, and I was trying to do the that take, and I was like, I was late for something, and I was waiting for the call. I know I'm gonna get a call, and I'm gonna get it on the thing. I'm gonna put it up there so it's in the record. Then when I go there and I'm late, I'm gonna be like, this is why I'm late, and it worked. So
Bye.
that was
Nice
that.
little excuse.
Oh yeah, it was great.
It's definitely dope.
And then that's where I was like, and there ain't nothing wrong with the material fate. I left my heart on the floor. I left the rest at the gate. Well, I'm saying, like, there's nothing wrong with wanting the material things in life. Like, I want the nice house. I want the nice stuff because, like, I left my heart on the floor with these all these records that I've done and that I continue to do. I leave my heart on the floor. I put my soul in these records. It's real life. So I feel like I deserve it, and there's nothing wrong with me wanting those things. You know?
Definitely.
I say no, she ain't got no patience that I can't wait. But I say, but why would I wait for something I can just take? Because it's in my mind, I'm like, people say, oh, you got to be patient, but some things you feel like you could just have them. So it's like, why would you wait if you could just get it?
Definitely.
But it's all over the place. But that's why he took 2 shots. It's all over the place.
He's all over the place. He's a hard Yumo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And then I guess we'll slide into Yin Yang after that. That's another one that all 3 of us are on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always forget I'm on that one. I come in at the end.
Yeah, I was playing around with that. I think it's the saxophone or the trumpet. I forget. No, it's not a trumpet. I think it's a saxophone.
I think it's a saxophone, yeah.
And because we had that in there, and I was like, well, I want to keep it in here, but there was no real place for it. And if I pulled Ryan's verse up to the end of, I think it's after my verse, you don't hear the like.
Yeah.
And I like when he comes in, he goes. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna make this breakdown for like, and I kept it quiet because I didn't want it to be overpowering, but just to go into his verse. But
I think you did a well job on that for sure.
what was your verse?
It was feel the energy inside.
Yeah, but like some things they just don't.
Feel so right when it's cold at night and you're looking for your light. Just keep your chin high, you can be your ally. I know things can be so scary. Maybe you can live like Larry, or maybe you can be so carefree, wasting your life, get eaten up like a spree.
And I go, why you always look at what you don't have?
Yeah.
Smile on your face, say you're so sad. Mine just wanted to be like kind of like, you know how when someone's like faking it, and I'm gonna just like not try to sun you, but just like be like, why you always look at what you don't have? Smile on your face, say you're so sad. Like, let's just bring it to the light.
Right.
And I say I ain't really based in a dome rap, saying like, even though I have a lot of these songs that I freestyle, like just freestyle like dome raps, I'm saying I'm not really based in this, saying like, this is not all I got. And I say smack you in the face, I'm a cold cat. Running in place, I'm a home rat or a guinea pig, or the coke at. But that's like not me saying I'm doing coke. I'm just saying like the guinea pig is the one that tests everything.
Right.
So it's like where the coke at, it's like where's the shit at? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm the one who's testing it out. So I'm always trying to do try new things. You know what I mean? Not I'm not talking about drugs. I'm just talking about in life. And I say running in. I'm a shit with the bullet. Yeah, that's a cool song.
I feel like for my verse, I'm just like keep your chin high. Like, you gotta help yourself, and like every time like you get yourself down, like you can bring yourself back up too. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be scared. Live like Larry, right? That's what this much episode is. Like, living like Larry is like being able to do anything you want to do.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, I'm living like Larry.
Facts.
But then the last line is like, wasting your life, getting eaten up like a spree. Is like, a lot of people don't live like Larry. They're cool and they're complacent in what they're doing right now. They're cool with that, not trying to grow and move forward. So then they're wasting away. And it's like, life's so quick, it happens like that. You're eating up, boom.
Yeah.
It's like one pop, one bite. You got anything you want to say about your verse?
Nah, I'm let that one speak for yourself too. Yeah.
How did your verse
It's
say?
like rise from the surface, from
yeah.
underneath. I got
Okay.
overword vision, birds and trees. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and that was another song that we kind of just all wrote our lyrics and threw it on the beat.
Just
So,
jump on it. Yeah.
It's one of those ones I think the reason why we're just reciting the lyrics, we don't really have too much to say about it. It was one of those ones where I feel like it was a record that if we didn't put it out, like it wouldn't have made it anywhere. Like, it would have just got left behind and never come out because it wasn't gonna be a single.
Right.
So it was one of those things that as I'm making this album, I'm looking at all the unreleased stuff that might just get lost in the sauce after this
Yeah.
year if it doesn't come out. I'm like,
Feel that.
it still has there's some cool parts to these songs. Like, we might not be super like, yo, these songs are dope, but somebody might like them, and it's like, if you took the time to make it, somebody might appreciate it. Maybe there's something in there that has some value to take the time to finish it.
I definitely think the verse is good. Tell you that.
Yeah.
Reciting it in my head, I'm like, yeah, that verse is nice. But it's just like, speak for yourself. Just go listen to it, right?
Yeah.
So.
Definitely.
Yin yang.
Yin yang. The different elements, different sides of the coin. And then we're on psilocybin.
Speaking of all over the place.
Yeah, psilocybin's like
that's
coming to order right there.
Madness coming to order. Actually, that is one of those ones where I did go back and change the hook and work through the hook, and it got where I wanted it to be. The first one I liked too, but it was too clashy. Like, there's too much going on.
Yeah.
And it didn't like slide in there. Like, it didn't have it couldn't merge fully. So I took aspects of it and just thought how to deliver it. And definitely, like, song speaks for itself what the vibe is. But you know, I definitely went on a couple journeys to get it. But that's one, like, where we talk about the finance, where I like adding it doesn't need to be added. Yeah. But then this one was one that I added it and it gave something too. So that's why it was good that even on the finance I did do those other things. And he was like, oh, you didn't like it as much or whatever. But I had to go do those things to know. Yeah, now I did those things with the psilocybin, and I was like, this is better. This is like more what I'm trying to get. Yeah. And then it fit in better too. So, and that was one of the one we cranked up that synth to get you going. And I like that one a lot because when you go on a journey like that, it's in the beginning, it is clashy. There's a lot happening. There's a lot of thoughts going in and out. But then you get to the middle and you get to that part where you've kind of gone through the initial storm of it, and you're riding out this vibe. And yeah. So I think like both, it's two songs in one, but all the same.
It's like riding an airplane. The takeoff's always a little bumpy. But once you hit that smooth spot, no more jet lag.
You're gliding.
And that one very so much is reminiscent of like your own journey as an individual, not just you, but as an individual. Because I remember when you had one of the breaks where you had like in between verses or whatever, you had you asked me to like look at the beat, and I went in there and I was like, I started to add sounds, and I realized like the direction I'm gonna take it in is not where this needs to go. Yeah. Because I don't really, it's like I'm not in the vibe right now, so it's like. I was like, you're just going to have to figure it out.
Yeah, that was one of those ones I went through a lot, like, to get it. Like, I had to, like, and psilocybin speaks for itself, so you have to be in a certain mindset to even, like, get it across. And when I had, like, when I listen to it, I can, like, that feeling, like, that's, like, the vibe. Like, it's beautiful. But, like, I didn't want to lose that feeling. And how do I encompass this, like, all the way? So that's what, like, that, and then around the corner, like, every time I hear around the corner, like, you're just brought there. So, definitely vibes, for sure. I definitely like that one. I know some people are partially inclined to that one, too, so. But I think I embody psilocybin, I embody psilocybin. Like, if someone hasn't done psilocybin before and need to know something about it without. Now, you're not going to get the full experience because it's all personal journeys.
But you have your own personal journey listening.
You get an idea, yeah, exactly. So, I want it to be like, if you're not on the drug, you're on it.
You can still feel it. I was going to ask you about that, but I'm glad you touched on that a bit.
So that's definitely part of it. And like, that was also, it's one of those ones that is maybe it's not the most like well spoken about things, but I thought for me, like, it was necessary to portray that it was part of my life and it helped me get to where I am. And it's a good thing. So don't hide away and shy away from it just because it might not on the surface be a good thing upon. But yeah, it's definitely, it can be really good for some people and for all people maybe. So
definitely.
Yeah.
Still silent.
That's really you said your idea is like no one goes to work. My idea is everybody takes some psychedelics in the same day, bro.
Yeah, everyone takes
the craziest day in human history.
We're all gonna start
There'll be so many babies born like 9 months later.
The Super Saiyans.
Yeah, that'd be the next generation, bro. The super synchronized.
Yeah. I mean that stuff's been here for a long time.
High understanding at that point too.
Oh my god!
But like you could have a theory that chimpanzees ate mushrooms, right?
I heard it.
The Stone Age theory.
So there's a whole bunch, but point being is that they've been around, so for a reason. Yeah.
Cool.
Excuse me. Over here yawning.
So I've been in for a while.
Yeah, y'all are just boring me, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
But there's the bridge in Psilocybin is really what like catches my ear alive. It's like blowing on the psilocybin.
in a way, except for the verses, in a way, every single thing is just like from a different piece of what I was trying to get, and then it just all came together. And yeah, it's definitely I like that part a lot. I love it.
Yeah,
I love
it
that
finally
song.
comes all together, and you're just like this peaceful
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, and
That
it's like
nice.
very harmonic and it's beautiful. I mean,
Yeah, and I think it's
so
crucial that it's that at that point in the album, because if you get to that song, then you're in the right mindset to hear it. You know, if you didn't get to that song, if you didn't make it to 17,
Then you're
you
not
can't
ready
hear
for it. Perfect.
you can't be number 3. It's not gonna hit like around the corner. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But when you get
Definitely
to, if
not.
you've made it to 17, and now you can play you can play it as a single
right.
Yeah.
because you understand, right? But
It
yeah,
wouldn't be the first song I showed somebody like, yo, listen to Here I Am, play
Yeah.
Psilocybin, definitely not.
Well, you know, depends on what kind
on
of
who
person
they
you
are
encounter.
and where they're at.
Where we're at, yeah.
If they're on psilocybin, maybe you wanted it.
Yeah.
Slide them that one. That's a good question. Who? There you go. If you had to show one song off your Endless Destination, where are you going with?
Knock Knock came out of my head first.
I like
Just
Knock Knock
Yeah, Knock
too.
Knock's really good.
I think that's a good setting. I would probably show him One Taste, honestly.
To
There
be
you go.
honest, like if I'm being 100% honest, which is like the opposite of what you're supposed to say, like if someone hadn't heard anything of I wouldn't show them Endless Destination. Like if they hadn't heard the music at all, because I feel like that one, like all the songs that are on there is like hard Jumo. Like if you don't have a like an expansive listening palette, you're not gonna get this record. You're not gonna listen to this record and be like, oh, this is dope. Like if you don't have, if you have like a very streamlined palette, and I can usually tell based on like what I'll be like, what do you listen to, and I'll see what they listen to. And that's why I give people songs like California, Light Up the Sky, or Smooth Poppy. It's like, what vibe are you in? And I give you that. There's probably nothing off this record that I'd be like, go check that one out first. Because it's like, you have to, I feel like you already have to be tapped in, or you got to have an open mind to even receive it. Because you could like hear like all the Moonland and Never Have.
I'm gonna interject. I'm gonna say Projections.
Yeah.
I would show Projections.
I mean, that's a dope
Obvious.
record. I mean, if I had to choose one.
You have to choose one.
Yeah. It's still Knock Knock comes to mind just because it's hard.
Yeah, I like that one. I
But
like that. I would,
Projections-
honestly, I would probably do One Taste on mine.
Yeah. Yeah, on yours I would do One Taste.
One Taste. So
Or Riding Through the City though. 'Cause
Riding Through
I
the
really
City-
love that record.
yeah, I
Or
like
Break
that.
Mold. Cause
That's what I
like
was
that
thinking
one,
too. But I feel like overall, One Taste, I think is just like the universal vibe you could get on it. So
I feel like that's a top 5 record
yeah,
in our
But I
collection.
think you're right. It really just depends on the person too.
but it
Yeah.
definitely depends on the person.
Because like a lot of times when I'm trying to share the music with somebody, I'll be like, I'll start with that question, like, what kind of music do you listen to normally?
Yeah.
And then 9 times out of 10 you'll get the same answer from everybody. Oh, I listen to everything.
Yeah, but you don't.
But you don't.
Yeah.
You don't, because you don't know who we are, right? So you
Yeah.
don't listen to everything.
So if you, I mean,
But the point of what I was saying was, like, and then I'll narrow it down, like, what are you going to listen to on your way home tonight? Like, what's the first song you're going to play? And then at that point, that's when I'll determine what song to
True.
show them.
Facts.
that's
a
good.
good question.
I like the what you're gonna play with you. I think the catalog is so vast that whatever genre someone picks, we could probably find. So.
Oh, yeah.
Something there's something for everybody.
So that's
what
what's
I always
nice,
tell people
and that's
too.
why like these are cool because these like Endless Destination, like he said, like he wouldn't show off if you haven't heard anything off this one right away, right? So it's like there's already so much music and there's already so much stuff. These are just like the next pivotal point into whatever's next. So
Yeah. And
Yeah.
little note to add in, this could be at the end, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to say it now. It's like that this collection of music of Endless Destination I made this over the course of so many, like, it wasn't like how he made his over the course of years trying to make this like the product he made. Mine was just like this got made over the course of years because songs didn't make cuts. Like I had like The Coldest Ocean, and then like Broken Waves was a cut that didn't make The Coldest Ocean, so that got dropped here. And there's like all these records that didn't make these other albums, or Polar Bear, all the records that were on there, some got cut and didn't make it. So Endless Destination became the destination for these records that were cut from all these other records that I was working on. So it was like, for me, it was about taking these records that, well, if I don't release them, they're going to die. So I'm going to put these records out in a collection that gives them a chance to shine in their own way. And that's why I wouldn't show them to people first, because like these were records that I would show you Polar Bear and The Coldest Ocean and 8 Love. I'd show you all out of the 4 albums I made this year. I would show you those other 3 first, because it's like these are the ones. This is the records that didn't make it. So there's a reason that I didn't put them on those records, but they still have a purpose and a point. And not that I don't like them. I don't think they're hard, because there's hard records on there. But it's like I feel like it's like you got to watch 1, 2, and 3 before you watch the 4th.
Well, the same thing we said about Still Stabbing, right? Like you have to have gotten there.
Yeah.
To really get it.
It's advanced. Simple put.
So it's definitely good. I think that it definitely came together well rounded. Overall, it's a nice listen through. So
yeah,
everything they definitely got their shine in their place.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And then I think we're still on Ryan's side, so we go to
Be Continued.
To Be Continued.
Yeah, that one was one that I actually made the beat before we left on the journey, and then I came back, but I didn't have it with me in my phone. So when I got back, I just opened up this file. It says To Be Continued. So, boom, listen to it. And I said I wanted to have like a 5-verse song, right? So then this was like perfect, because it was like To Be Continued, picked it up, continued it. And I did 5 verses based off, at this point I had almost all the songs already done.
Is that the one that was like, wait, Pat, give me a little vibe? Is that one?
No, that's
What's the To Be Continued?
To Be Continued is the one where it's like,
come
see
see
what
what
they
yeah,
had to
yeah,
do this.
yeah.
And then we talked about the final. It's like, guess I'm sitting myself.
Yeah.
But no, look, so that one
I like
is
that.
all the songs had pretty much either they were done, or I had the idea of them, or it was like towards the end of the album. So at that point I was able to, pick these verses from all these different points of the album, where now I'm dropping the finest, I'm dropping different words.
Fire.
And the first verse is like pure what I'm thinking. Second verse is more like along the lines of like, what was it? But in the sea. What's the first line?
I confess.
No, that's 4.
Yeah.
Which way will we go? Behind the scenes, they always lie and deceiving. They keep the public out blinded with the blood in the semen. So I'm going to that like this, like boom, the crab. And then the third one is in this like middle area where it's like I'm still kind of referencing that, but I'm shifting away. And then 4 is like where it's like it hasn't always been great, like feeling like I've been depressed, not getting out what I need to get out, And then verse 5 comes like complete flip. Verse 5 from the Most High, just like grateful to have made it. I made it to verse 5. I've made it to this song.
Yeah.
This is song 18 out of 19. We're there at the end. We've done it. So it was a good like overall broad. If you had to give a broad synopsis, the whole album To Be Continued.
I remember.
And then at the end, it's like, and here I am, To Be Continued. Like that's pretty much the end of the album. Right there, but then I have like the outro song.
It's like when the credits are rolling.
Yeah. So here I am. To Be Continued.
It's still hard.
Then that's like boom, and that's so here I am. Here's the album, and now it's To Be Continued. What's next, right? So.
I remember when we opened it to mix it, and I look at it and I see like the 5 hooks and all the verses. I was like, all right, here we go. Like now we gotta balance all these different verses and all these hooks. I was like, all right, well,
yeah,
here we go.
But that was a vibe, because also I was like, come see what they hiding through. And then I was like, come see. I couldn't get, like, I didn't know the balance of them all was, like, really what the vibe was.
Yeah.
What they hiding through the scene.
And it changes, though, because I think it starts lower, and then you hear, at the end, you hear the higher take.
Yeah.
Because you kind of dropped off on one of them, and that one picked
yeah.
it up.
So it was, like, it's a blend.
So on that song, did you write the hook first?
I did.
Okay.
I wrote the verse like, come see what they hiding through the scene. Every time they roll the camera, they be lying through the teeth. I said, fed up with the show. I say fuck all of them poles. We gon' rise or we gon' fall. Now which way will so like we gonna rise or we gonna fall, and which way are we gonna go? And just like the poles, you go up and down. So it was just like that was energy. So then that's why you get like the second verse like that and the first verse and blah blah blah. And then and then when I got to verse 4, I was like, I already done the first 3. that had gone with the hooks and stuff like that. So then it was like, okay, then what have I not spoke about yet? You know, I haven't talked about being sad or things like that. And like, how did I get here? You know, I had to go through this. So that was 4. And then 5 was like, now that I've gone through this, how am I feeling now? You know, and I was like, like if you're at this point of the album, like, thank you, like you made it this far, like, bro, like appreciate you even listening this far, you know, taking time to get here. So it's like that's just like an ode to whoever the listener, like, thank you, even myself, like, thank you for getting here, you know, and then, you know, then it's here I am to be continued.
I just really like the chorus in that, like the hook is like it's powerful.
Yeah, it's definitely a vibe. I definitely
And it's like reflecting that dark side, but then your verses reflect the light side, and then that 4th verse is like going back to that dark side, you know?
Yeah, I definitely stand on those lyrics for sure. So, you know, come see what they hiding, baby. You know?
Telling the people to like wake up too, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, come see what
Every time they roll the camera, they be lying through their teeth, you know? Talking about we talking about all that stuff earlier, so, yeah, just
well, there's
the subtleties.
Little cut real quick. Are we allowed to reference other artists' music? We cool with that? Like, if I'm gonna reference, like, pick a line from a different artist.
I mean, you can relate to.
There's a 21 Savage line. This is like, said, smile when the flash on. So it's like something like that.
Like smile when the cameras are going.
Yeah, it's like smile when the camera's going, frown. It's like
frown when they're off.
Yeah,
vibe.
it's like something off of the. I can't remember exactly.
Like they roll the camera and they're like, and they turn off their answer like that.
Yeah, it's like instant like.
Yeah.
Well, you see that all the way down to like family photos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not even just like the super popular people, but like family photo. Everyone's like cheese and they're like.
Yeah, back to their Yes. But yeah, to be continued. That was just pretty much overall synopsis of the album, I would say, and just. Like, so this is where I am now, and then whatever's next, we shall continue as long as we have life and time here. So.
I think it's like frown on the inside, laugh when the camera's flashed on or something like that. Really
it's all good.
But sorry, I was stuck on that thought.
Maybe you'll see this and you'll reiterate the lyrics for you.
Right. Somebody will get it. Somebody knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well, I understood. I get where you're pointing. So yeah, to be continued.
To be continued. And that brings us to...
For the record, I'm frowning with the camera on as my normal face. So
yeah, you look at our,
That's all right.
our Spotify background. Jason's
That's
frowning.
Right.
No, I'm smiling in that, right?
I know Ryan's frowning. I think I'm the only one smiling.
In what?
Am I not frowning?
I
think I have a little...
I think you're like middle. Yeah. It's the bean picture.
I'm just straight face. I feel like I don't think I'm smiling.
Ryan's just like straight like
about the business.
Like not having it that day.
I was having it.
No, Chicago was a good day, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, Chicago was
cool
good.
Guy,
Yeah, that was nice.
The comedian guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was fire.
Yeah.
Shout
out.
Bro, was it rad?
Arpad.
Arpad.
I can't remember what his name. Arpad 790 something on Instagram. Comedian from Toronto.
We'll link it in the description.
Yeah.
Little shout out.
Facts. Yeah, we have to. Cause you
I said it. We can cut that out.
If
no, we'll do it.
Shout out.
Shout out. He was a cool dude.
Yeah.
He was a cool dude. I still listen to some of his stuff too. He's funny.
I actually haven't heard it.
You go on Instagram, he has some like shorts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's actually been doing more and more. I haven't seen it. I was like, yo, that's because I remember we were talking about. He's like, I'm gonna get more and more into this.
Yeah, he was because he was like a Toronto fan, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, he was cool. I liked him.
That was good. Good time.
Nice guy. Broken Waves.
we did that.
No, we didn't. We talked.
Oh, we talked about it. But is there
I was
any
talking
other
about you
one?
might as well. But we didn't.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to add? To
All I
it?
gotta add is the ooh bada bop deep bop doo.
Yeah, it's definitely a nice touch.
Not
Not so serious, not so.
Yeah, it's kind of lighthearted, like. How long was yesterday?
Yeah.
I like the. I just
like it.
I freestyled that, by the way, and like the maybe I got it or maybe I don't, maybe I want it or maybe I won't, maybe I pass it or maybe I grab it and take to the basket and score on my own. Like I just like that. Just felt fun to me.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a good. And this is the second to last one on there.
And nobody does the beat bada boops anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. Last songs.
Word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring that back.
It's definitely because you've been through all these different vibes, right? You've been through all this different stuff so far in this album. You get some lighthearted, like
Yeah, beat bada
it's not. It's all at the end of the day.
I mean, there's
Yeah,
lighthearted
that's
record.
his
We have like
vibe.
Step Aside with Cash and
Yeah.
Out. Like Cash and Out is just the biggest flex ever, and then you got
Right.
Step
But
Aside.
still,
just having
you're at
fun.
this end. You're in the last
A lot of emotions.
10 minutes now, right? You're in that. You hit that hour mark. So
Yeah.
you're listening for a while, so you need that.
Yeah.
You know, just like in
Light up.
Free to Be, you have that like that synth chord going.
Yeah.
Where it gives you that just that little time to just like.
Well, and also like Broken Waves was one of the songs that one of my coworkers really liked.
Mm.
So like each of my coworkers have a favorite song, and they're both like definitely like more electronic sounding, right? With like Broken Waves and On the Run.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So like those are like their like top 2 songs that they're like, yo, those songs hit.
You know, I just thought of that synth from Broken Waves. Just thinking of it now, and what you were saying about the electronic sound. It almost reminds me of the Forever Young song.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like that, the scrapiness of the synth with this like thing. So I can see what you say for the electric sound. It has that feeling.
Mm-hmm. And I also just like the ooh ba ba da ba dee ba ba doo.
Oh yeah.
It's just like it's very soul freeing. I feel like it's just like instead of like
Yeah.
we use words to describe how we're feeling,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Just make sounds.
But
Like a baby.
I'm getting your feeling and you're not using words. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So like, do we really need English? Do we really need language to
Yeah.
communicate with each other? Who knows? It's a
Yeah.
thought, right?
Facts.
If I am the greatest.
No, it's I am the greatest.
Yeah,
Not a
sorry.
question.
I was thinking if I am the one, and then yeah.
Yeah. That one I did. I made it. I can't remember how long it took me to make the beat. It honestly felt like I walked in the studio and the beat was just running, but that's just the process of how it was made. But then I had the chair in the middle and I was just walking around pacing, and I wrote the whole thing in my head, and then I did it all one take on the thing once I knew I had it. But that's just the feeling. I was like, I mean, the bars are very clever, and I wrote it when I wrote the lyrics down for like the Genius or for whatever, for like Spotify, Apple Music to have the lyrics. Like I wrote all the different ways that I would use the words. I would do it differently on because the verse is the same on each one. So I'd write the different things. So I say like, I live my life inside this prison cell, far from heaven, far from close to hell. I've never been convinced that I was free, not 1 inch. And I say I'm sitting on defense counsel with some criminals. So it's like I'm sitting on the fence, like you're on the fence, counsel with some criminals, like talking when you counsel with your people.
Right.
But it's also I'm sitting on defense counsel with some criminals, like you're on the defense. Subliminal messages through lessons that I live to tell. Do this off the principal. Light my spliff right by myself, but light my spliff right by myself, and then I go invisible. Some shit that you understand, some shit you gotta figure out. Some shit that you miss, and you'll get it the second time around, and that's like the second time the verse comes around.
Right.
You know, and I say ain't nobody better, nobody meeting me on my bout. Tell me how you figured out. So it's not me saying like, oh, I'm the greatest, I'm gonna prove it to you. I'm saying you tell me when you realize how you figured it out. That's how I feel.
Facts.
So like that.
Alright.
Yeah.
So I don't need to tell y'all I'm the greatest. I already know it.
Yeah.
But
you can tell me.
Tell me
When you
tell me
figure it out.
Yeah, I like that.
Because I feel like once you understand, it's like writing. Nowadays, there's not, like, nowadays with the writing of music, it's so different that it's like, I feel like the value of the art and the writing of it, people don't quite understand, because it's like everything is very literal and everything is very upfront. So when you write something that is actually, like, deeply poetic, it just, people don't really understand music like that anymore.
They just take it at face value.
Yeah, like we take Shipwreck for. I can go Smooth Poppy and like I can take you through all the different, like the first line, the first verse is a 6 times entendre, in that first 4 bars. Well, not the little part where I say, like world is burning, but right after that, like the first bars is a 6 times entendre, and we could go through it. But it's like, Shipwreck, that song, like the writing on that, I feel like is brilliant writing. Because it's like you have this like sinking like a shipwreck way out at sea. Simple. You can see it in your mind. Imagery. You're sinking. You can see the ship sinking.
Right.
I say the water's getting higher. It's getting hard to breathe. Now you're on the boat. So you went from looking at it in the distance, you can see it in your mind's eye, to now you're on the boat. The water's getting higher. Right now you're sinking like a shipwreck way out at sea, but you're the one way out at sea on this boat. I wonder if we'll make it. Oh, I guess we'll see. So that strength of emotions that you're going through. Well, one, it's like you're watching someone else struggle. Then you're the person struggling, and now you're going through that thought process of like, oh, I wonder, like what, like if I'm gonna make it, if I'm gonna be there. And that's like things about in life when you're going through rocky situations. Like I wonder if you'll make it out. But then also, without you even the words to the side being like, if you're sitting in a car and you're listening to this and you're painting this picture in your mind, your perspective is flowing from someone else struggling to you struggling. So the process of what you're doing mentally, like the mental connections you're making, is you're seeing someone else's struggle as your own, because you have to put yourself that someone else's problem is now your problem. So you're making a connection in your mind of someone else's problem is now my problem. So then when you go through life, you've been able to make one connection in your brain that what someone else is going through also affects me. So it allows you to open those channels and be more sensitive to other people.
Be empathetic, yeah.
Exactly. But I never told you that. I never wrote that in the song. I never wrote care about your neighbor. I never told you care about the next person. I painted you a picture, and it opened those connections in your mind to be able to see that. That's why I think I'm the greatest. So.
I like it. This one, I'm going to just touch on one line. You said a spliff. I want to let people know what you think what a spliff is. Go ahead and tell them.
What a spliff is to me? Well, it depends. Like, a real spliff is obviously weed and tobacco rolled in a joint paper. That's a real spliff. But it depends on, what it is, because you can call it what you want. But for me, like, I've used that word so much that if I'm like just feeling I'm light my spliff, it might just be whatever I'm smoking. Because that word for me is like what I heavily used when I was heavily smoking, and it was like, but I always spliff the tobacco or spliff the weed, because we call it spliff. It was like throw some tobacco in it, but it's more universal. Eddie doesn't like that.
I do 99.
He's like, it's this and that. I'm just like, nah. Like
there's names for stuff.
I like my spliff. You know what I mean? I like my thing. Yeah. But yeah.
Excuse me while I light my spliff.
I got to take a live.
Yeah.
From reality, I just can't.
Well, we're on the last two songs, boys.
All right.
Anything you want to say before we dive into that?
No, I'm ready.
No, I don't know. That's cool. Whose album has more streams?
I don't know. But we'll start with mine, because Jason's Endless Destination sounds like a great
Doesn't
end.
end.
I'm competitive.
Living in a Dream.
Well, you
Yeah.
start that off with like a little.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, that was. I felt like that was necessary to just like give like, just hear me just talking, just like kind of give a synopsis of what you had just listened to and things like that, and just like a motivational lesson. And I referenced like this like a relay like of life. This is the relay race, and I grabbed the baton, I ran it around, and now I'm passing it off to whoever's next. And eventually I'm going to come back, and it's going to be my turn to grab the baton again, and we'll keep it pushing. But for now, this is what I got, and this is how far I'm going to push it. And, and it's not over yet. I'm still got some more to go. So, that was definitely, and I was trying to, like, think about what to say, and I kept stumbling, and I was like, I just hit record. And then the first time I got all the way through, that's what it was. Like, just, boom. And I had that was one of those songs that I had the hook in my head for a long time. So one of those days I'm outside smoking and it just comes to you. But I had no means to make the beat to like, how do I get this out? Like I couldn't get it out. And at first I thought of it as an EDM song. Like THR-EEYE, like something like that. It's like synths are going crazy and it's like boom, like light show, you know what I mean? That's what I visualized. But then I had this beat and I was like, yo, it's more the subtle vibe. Like it's more like, layering the message just to help you see it. Not to like slam in your face, but we're gonna be subtle with it.
So it's like you're referencing even to yourself in the past, like, yo, like we were gonna come in hard on this, but now it's subtle now.
Yeah.
We're layering it in.
So and then after I made that song, I felt probably the best I felt after like almost probably any song.
Was that the last one you recorded? No, you said Riding Through the City.
Yeah, Riding Through. But this was because I had it in my head for so long, and I finally had it. Kind of came out, but it was like supposed to be the end, right? So then my boy, when I showed him, he was like, oh, it's the outro, and I was like, yo, that's true, because it's just like how the beat sounds. And
I like that, like almost like it feels like electronic caveman playing an electronic drum. Like that's how it feels. It has that like natural feeling, but it slides.
Yeah,
which is really cool.
And then it's just like it's just like a toad. If it was my last song, what would I say? I'm way past giving low vibrations, stuck in the world like a damn matrix, lost in the maze and they can't escape it. Open your mind and find your soul waiting. open your heart, can't hold the pain in. Once you open your heart, there's too much stuff. Yeah, whole world needs rearrangement. So stuck, trapped in the pavement, can't move unless they make a payment. You know, they got us trapped up with money. You want to buy a house? Gotta have money. Want to buy a car? Gotta have money. Oh, want to get on the bus? Gotta have money. Oh, you got
what Jason was saying. It's
the keys.
Yeah.
The key to the streets.
You know, so it's just yeah, and then, you know, walking to the end of
That's
time.
my favorite part of the song.
Waiting for our endless ride.
I like
Don't
that you dropped
you
the note.
realize, look around. You are here, right now.
That's such a
Floating
great
on
line.
our endless ride.
Like, we're here, right? We're here
Now, I like how I do the
now.
background. Ride. And it's like, that's just fire when I went and did that again.
It definitely feels psychedelic.
Yeah.
nature,
Yeah.
too.
Follow your dreams. So follow your dreams. Yeah, you know. So that's just like the outro. You know, that's just vibes. That's probably my favorite song. One of my favorite songs. You know, definitely think it represents me well, who I am, and embodied it. And I think it was just, yeah, it was meant to be the outro. Took a while to get that song out of my head, but it finally got out there. You know, and now it's out. And I definitely think it definitely encompasses the whole album. You know, To Be Continued is like, boom, but then it's like, here's the outro. You get that, you know, words from me, and then drop you in the song, and then the beat just rides out, and, you know, you get to the end. So, and then, boom, One Taste starts again. If you got it on the loop.
My two notes about that song is like when I first heard it, right, and I was like we were sitting down here, we're all like listening, and like I closed my eyes and I was just listening like to the end of To Be Continued, right, and then like that comes like trails in, right, and when I first hear your voice speaking, I thought you were actually speaking like right next to me. I think I
remember you saying
Yeah,
that.
and I was like, that's funny. Yeah.
And like I opened my eyes and I was like, is he like interrupting his album right now? Like, what's he doing?
Yeah.
And then I looked at you, were just like, your eyes were closed and like you weren't saying anything.
Vibing.
I was like, okay, so like that's just the song. That's hard.
Yeah, it's that. Yeah, I like. It's an ode, you know, and it's like, thank you to everyone that made it like this far, and
That's
appreciate you listening, and you know, and then it's like taking the time out to listen, and as much as it helps me for you to listen to me, it also helps you to listen, you know, too, where it's like, even the listener gets something out of this,
Definitely.
versus just like,
Of course.
you know, so should be everything, but you know, just letting you know. And then, yeah, definitely, I remember I showed a couple people afterwards, and like, oh, I like it, but you should like drop the auto-tune down. And I was like, fast, 'cause I had it like all the way up. So I was like, okay, so I dropped it down like the hooks and stuff, and then definitely it all came together better like that. So it was good.
And then the bridge was like, walking through
Yeah.
the end of time. Like,
Yeah.
you are here right now. It's like, don't you realize, like
Look
Like,
around.
we're all here.
Yeah,
We're all
right,
here in this
yeah.
moment,
And like
vibing
we were
together.
talking about, we're longing for this thing, that one taste, you know, around the corner. What's around that corner, you know? And then, but like we're right, it's right here. Everything we want is right here. You know?
Yeah.
Or everything we need is right here. Everything we want might not be here yet, but everything you need is right where you're at. So it's like, you know, but follow your dreams and be who you are, you know? And then eventually, you know, I'm the phoenix, you know, I rise from the ashes, tears heal the planet, lifetimes keep adding, I'm back with the magic, it's freedom we're after.
Facts.
And that's boom, statement, done deal. You know, here I am. Boom. So, yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
Living in a dream. And I couldn't figure out how do I do THREEYE? How do you title that?
Right.
Without ruining like the message of the song, like the subliminal side of it, with like layering the message.
Yeah.
It's called Third Eye.
So then it was just like, you know, at that point it
Well,
was,
three,
yeah.
Three,
Then I was
yeah.
just like, once it's just be who you wanna be, 'cause life is what you make it. We are living in a dream. I was like, boom, there it is, living in a dream. You know,
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
good.
you go from one taste to living in a dream.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You got that
Start
one
the album
taste.
with one taste and you just float.
You know, so it all came together. You know,
Beautiful.
it's not, if we're gonna judge based off cookie cutters, maybe not best cookie cutter, but if we're gonna compare to just overall sense of honesty and
I'm
truth.
more of a fan of cookies that you scoop all the cookie dough, you throw it on the sheet, and throw it in the oven, and whatever it comes out as, you eat that.
Yeah.
That's what I like.
Yeah, it's how it tastes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Versus how it looks. So.
Well, then I guess we go to our endless destination here.
Yes.
Number
Endless
song 25.
destination.
It's a lot. A lot of songs.
A lot of songs.
Yeah.
But I mean, I remember we were talking about the first song you ever, or first album you ever released was The Arrival, right?
Yeah.
So like you arrive here, right, and then you got
Wasn't
all
it
these songs
Spiritual
right here.
Evolution?
That was a mixtape.
Okay. Same
Well, you
thing.
call it what you call it, because technically speaking, I'm going to call the first album the one that blows up, so.
Mixtapes
Yeah,
right
they're
now,
all,
right?
well, I'm gonna
Hey.
say I like to say projects because mixtape
Yeah.
feels like derogatory.
Like it's like
a
not
mixtape.
good,
but
it's
I
like
you don't
it's slapped
understand.
together.
Yeah, like you just threw them together, but every song is track listed, produced, mixed, mastered. It's very well thought out. Everything has an idea and a concept.
Yeah.
So it's, I can't say it's a mixtape. We just threw records.
I like
together.
Project. Project's good.
I like Project. It was a project.
So yeah, but
yeah,
first one on streaming, right?
It
That
was
wasn't
The Arrival,
SoundCloud.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like you were saying this, like you start on The Arrival, and like you've been making music and doing all this, and like you're saying that like now you feel like you've done all these on time because you've done what you need to do, and if you die right now, like you're good, or you can stop right now. And you
dude,
feel
I
like you're
felt
good.
like that. Yeah, facts. I felt like I circled back on everything where I felt like if this is The Arrival right here, like I'll do it here. This is The Arrival. By the time we got to The Tide, I felt like this is the point where I was no longer making music for myself anymore. Like when we did The Tide, this is the realization I had that if I was to die and reincarnate, and I found this album, I'd be able to listen to it and be like, that's me, because it's so true and it penetrates my spirit when I listen to it.
right.
And so I felt like at that point it was no longer about like my own spiritual self-preservation, where I'm like I got to make sure I understand. It's like once I got to that point, it was like after that I was like it's for the people, so I give it to the people. And then at this point of wrapping up Endless Destination, having done all these different albums that I did, like Polar Bear, and maybe we'll do a podcast about that, and then 8 Love Signs, and then The Coldest Ocean, like going through these kind of 3 different feelings, and then coming back to all the songs that were left over. It's like a full circle of like at this point everything that I wanted to talk about up until now in my life I've talked about. Like there's nothing bottled in my chest that I'm like I need to say that. Anything that is there that I'm like, it's just not time if I recognize it, but there's nothing that I'm like holding back at this point. It's like I've let everything out. So whatever happens now is like new life. I'm not saying I'm trying to die and be that, because I haven't reaped the fucking fruits of my labor.
Rewards, yeah.
So I'm still trying to do all that, but I'm saying to the point of like everything that I needed to say has been said. And now it's like, that's why I was like, we should do, other things, because I've done what I wanted to do here. I'm still going to obviously do music because I haven't made my best album yet, but, made some great ones.
Yeah. That's how I felt after I did the mix layer. I was like, I've touched this now where all this worrying about, I gotta get down, like I've done it now, where it's like, even if I die, like he'd be able to finish it, or just put it out how it is, So once I got there, it was like, that weight just like lifted off his shoulder. Of,
Yeah,
like,
I feel that.
everything that, because for like the past 2-3 years, like, it's like, oh, what are you doing? Oh, I'm working on my album.
Yeah.
I'm working. And like, I think I was telling you this one time, and I got to the point where I realized after I was done, like, I'm way better with conversation now. Because at the time, when you have this thing that whenever you think about something, inevitably you fall back to this thought, oh, I should be doing this, or I could be doing that, or blah, blah, blah. Now, when you start thinking about that, you're missing what's going on in the conversation, and you're blocking yourself from grabbing these other thoughts that are around. Now that my fallback is through a hole, because there's no, like, fallback onto, like, this thought. If I go into one of those things, like, that stuff's already done. And now it's like, there's so much other things to think about. You can talk about anything.
Yeah.
So it's like, now
You're
that
free. You're liberated.
I'm free from,
You got what you needed to say
So,
off your chest.
Yeah. And I'm sure soon, like, at some point, there's going to be another thing's going to pop up, and we're like, we got to get this, we got to do this. So, that was what popped up. But now I'm free to do that thing, whatever it might be.
But it's like the burden. Because I remember when I first started making music, I was like, if I was to die right now, what did I do with my life? And I was only like 18 years old, but just thinking about it.
The idea of it, yeah.
I mean, like, damn, if I die right now, like, what did I leave behind? Did you say everything you had to say? Did you get everything off your chest? Did you let it all out? Did you say everything that you felt? Even though you can't always say everything you feel to the people all the time, did you leave it in a place that it could be found? You could be felt. And that was I had this, it's why I made so much music. Like, it's almost like, I think it's about to be over 500 songs on SoundCloud, period. Because I was like, I gotta get it out, gotta get it all done. So that if you do die, you left something behind for people to be able to see. Like, there was a life here. Like, you had a life. This was what you had. This is what you did. This is your life. This is what we have. So you left something behind. You made something. And however people respond to it, they respond to it. But you did something that was worth doing. And so now it's like the point where it's like, I can close the book. Like, I'm like, not on life, but I can close the book on that feeling of like, I got to make sure I say all these things. It's like, you can just listen to all these albums. Even if I never made a track again, I could probably sit back off the stacks I collapsed.
Right.
Like, all that's a lot to digest. And it'll take way longer time than the time it took me to make it to understand it, even for myself. Because I don't, you peep it, it comes in, and you don't always understand everything. It just feels
the fact
right.
Of like, we're at 4 hours in this podcast right now, right? And we'll be cutting, editing, and stuff like that. But like, your album's an hour and 8 minutes. Your album's an hour and 9 minutes.
Yeah. Talked about it longer than the music is.
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of ode to the music itself. It'll be talked about longer than, than it actually, like, than the era of itself.
Well, even like the production of it, right? It's like an hour and 9 minutes. The amount of like time and labor that goes into that, like probably like 30 hours.
Way more,
if not more. You know
Way
what I'm
more,
saying?
yeah.
But I'm saying like a constant like actual studio time, right?
Of like
Definitely
mixing
more.
itself, I give it 30 hours for mixing.
Yeah.
Facts.
Depends, because some songs go like that. Like, it just sounds great. And you're like, oh, wow.
Well, I have 44 tallies. And here I am, completion sessions. And those sessions lasted from an hour to 8 hours in between. So even if you did half of that, 4 hours each, 44. What is that? 40, 80, 120, 160, like 200 hours.
Right.
Give or take. That's just averaging, so it's a lot. On top of the fact that you're
about 1 hour of
like,
music.
on top of the fact there's other stuff going on in life, right? Like, you don't
Right.
just have like 200 hours just to chill and no one's bothering you, you know?
Facts.
There's other people are going to call you. Yeah, you got to eat. People are going to call you, if you
Gotta
don't have,
eat.
you got to eat. And if you don't have money, how you going to eat,
Right.
So it's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into it in between, but
You gotta get the keys, right?
it's about like time management, balancing out what's important, priorities, and a lot of things, like, especially when you get close to the end, it's like, oh, I just want to get it done. Then you have to like keep yourself settled. You put in all this work already. Might as well finish it to the end instead of just trying to rush it to get it done, right?
Yeah,
So that was a balance fact I had to get. Like, it's not gonna get done in a day, but don't try to rush it just because it's not gonna get done in a day either. Just like let it happen, and then it all happened, and the timing worked out fine, and got it done, and it's out now, and so.
Great.
Yeah.
On an endless destiny.
Got it.
Y'all got anything else you wanna?
Yeah, physicals if you want it.
What's the?
All streaming platforms.
Yeah, I think that's pretty
Endless
much it.
Destination. Here I am.
Oceans on Arrival.
Oceans on Arrival 2022.
2022.
Final.
2023 OOA takeover.
Yeah.
Final things, yeah.
Do what you want with your life.
Is there anything else we say about it? Appreciate anyone who's listened already. And if you listen after this, I appreciate you as well. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, guys.
I feel like I want to have a bold prophetic statement to just end it on, but then it's like you can't just calculate the conjure.
There was one question I feel like I missed.
That was the bold prophetic statement.
Really cut it right there.
So you
So
can't
follow
just
your
calculate
dreams. Be who you are.
I want to look through my notes
Just
real
quote
quick. It was
yourself.
for Ryan.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what it was. And I thought it was a good question. Oh, okay. It was on who you want to be, and I missed it. I don't know how I missed it.
Okay.
It was
One little bonus question.
you said I can't remember exactly what you said, but like something about manifesting like what you want, right? And it was like, do you think
manifest the goals, be the spectacle, see the road that I'm on.
Yeah. Do you think that you manifested your path that you're on right now from whatever point in time that you set this goal for yourself, right?
For sure. Definitely. Probably hand in hand, universe / me. Universe will set out a path, but you got to walk it. And you got to see it or have an idea of what you're going for, And then once you do that, you start moving on that path, and then eventually you get there, step by step. You know, one day it's not gonna happen overnight, unless you really need it. Then it will.
I feel like it's just recognizing what's happening. I think it's more so like it's already there, and it's just if you realize what's going on, then you can actually. It's like swimming in a river. If you realize you're in a river, and you realize it's already going, you can swim with the river, and you can do what you want. You can go here, you can go there. You're free. So you're still gonna go. You know, all paths lead back to the same things. You're still gonna go to the same place, but you can choose how you want to get there. If you don't realize it, you just be flopping around or floating, just getting pushed by the river wherever it takes you, or trying to swim against it and fight it and have a horrible experience. So I feel like it's just about recognizing. You recognize what's happening here, recognize what's going on, then you're free. If you don't, then you're always going to be a victim. That's how you do.
Seems like a good place to end it.
Cool.
All right.
That's it.
Love to the world.
To the world.
Go by Ryan.
I go by
Jah
Eddie.
Sun.
Jah Sun.
Oceans on Arrival, 2022 album review.
2022
Oh, I go by
takeover.
Dwin. I don't go by Eddie. It's my.
Got a lot of names.
Throwing out my government name.
My social security number is.
My mother's maiden name is.
Don't rob me. Alright, love y'all.
Peace.
Peace.
4 hours.
The little outro can be all of us reaching and putting our phone up. Yeah, 4 hours. I don't even want to know how getting this onto the computer is going to be.
Pause the
video.
recording there, mate. You want to pause the recording there, mate?
Oh, yeah.
That was fun.